Hold up, this isn't just any story, it's a manhwa, meaning some of the content is gonna be wildly different from the original novel. Han Su Kang's mind is reeling, trying to make sense of this insane situation, when it hits him, 15 years just vanished. Then, he confronts the void, demanding to know what's going on, only for some voice to casually mention they're just trying to buy some manhwa, a character image flashing on a phone screen. He slaps his forehead, calling himself an idiot, then gets serious, telling the unseen listener to pay attention, because he used to be a hero on Earth. He spills the beans, admitting he was just a normal college kid obsessed with comics and anime, wondering why this happened to him, just like that other loser. His eyes narrow, a silent challenge to the void, demanding to know if they also think this whole thing is messed up. A beat of silence, and suddenly Han Su Kang is geared up in dark, combat-ready armor, his face a mask of intense focus. He nods, recalling the earlier chatter about being alive, then dryly comments, "Yeah, sounds like a real picnic." But then, a fierce determination ignites in his eyes as he declares, "Alright, it's time to take down the Demon King and end this." A fantasy world, brimming with raw power, flashes before his eyes. This is his story, the chosen hero, the strongest of them all, a saga he thought would end in triumph. He dreamed of a normal life, a peaceful finish, but reality hit hard. His mission, obliterate the Demon King, save humanity. Now, that destiny is staring him down. At the base of a massive staircase, Han Su Kang locks eyes with the colossal figure above. His determination burning brighter than ever. The Demon King's voice thunders, shaking the very foundations of the hall. Finally, he's here. Han Su Kang, the chosen hero, glares back, no doubt left about his ultimate enemy. "You're the Demon King." Crimson eyes blazing, the Demon King revels in his power, "That's right. I'm the prince of all demons." The Demon King's voice absolutely thunders, declaring everyone will die the same way. He then proudly declares, "I am the Demon King Petinar." But Han Su Kang quickly corrects him, revealing he didn't choose his title, he was chosen as the Apostle of Justice, and he's been here for 15 years. His eyes blaze with a fierce red glow, a symbol of his journey, his train ticket to Earth. Petinar processes this, realizing some guys weren't even trying to hide their true intentions. He remembers their grand pronouncements about saving humanity, then suddenly stops himself. Han Su Kang, looking utterly fed up, cuts him off, asking if he can just ask one question before they throw down. Petinar looks completely taken aback by the sudden interruption. Han Su Kang then explodes, demanding to know why he's always summoned to these damn worlds, emphasizing he's been here for 15 years. He walks away, dropping a bombshell. He's the Apostle of Justice, a hero chosen, but not by his own will. He reveals his companions died again, and Petinar, with a chilling glare, challenges him, asking if he's just blaming bad luck. But Han Su Kang fires back, revealing he was destined for this from the start, insisting he wouldn't have made it here otherwise. He recounts how Petinar lost countless subordinates and companions over a decade, and with every fallen comrade, he only grew stronger. "I want to say that you're my biggest benefactor," he declares, but the Demon King, unimpressed, shuts him down, calling his arguments pointless. Petinar adds, "They didn't know," then demands to know if he truly grasps the situation, ordering him to stay silent if he doesn't. Words are clearly useless here, and Han Su Kang's decade-long question won't be answered until the bitter end. Petinar, with a finality in his voice, states it no longer matters, and Han Su Kang retorts, certainly." He finishes his thought, with an unyielding gaze, vowing that he will escape this fantasy world. He unleashes a torrent of purple energy, declaring his intent to return to Earth as a cultivated being. The raw power tearing through the air. As a massive burst erupts upwards, shattering the very structure around him. He needs no fake, cheap tricks to achieve his goal. The debris settles, revealing the aftermath of his power, and he realizes that Petinar's words about his strength were no lie. Meanwhile, the Demon King snarls, his crimson eyes glowing with frustration, uttering a sharp, "TSK. He's." The other heroes watch, their faces etched with concern, as a voice observes that even for powerful beings, the end of life is a tragic occasion. But the protagonist simply looks down, his resolve unwavering, and dismisses the sentiment with a firm, "No." He stares down the chaos, a smirk playing on his lips, knowing this is all part of his grand design. He's the hero, the Apostle of Justice. But Petinar, eyes blazing crimson, can only watch in stunned realization, muttering about "that guy" and a colossal mistake. A monstrous claw slams down. As Han Su Kang stands his ground, ready to unleash hell on the towering beast. He challenges the very universe, daring it to stop him, declaring he'll face his end head-on, pushing past every boundary. The beast's claw lashes out, and he lets out a sharp, pained breath. But with a furious cry, he reminds the very god of this fantasy world that he already fulfilled his promise by slaying the Demon King. He demands to be sent back, his rage boiling over at the summoners, the Demon King, and even the so-called god of this realm. He promises them a reckoning, a brutal regret for ever labeling him a hero, because he's just a man, nothing more, nothing less. He's a hero, the chosen apostle of justice, but let's be real, he definitely didn't pick that title himself. Suddenly, a mysterious, glowing figure appears above him, taunting him about his suffering. The glowing purple silhouette, radiating power, demands to know his identity. He's absolutely stunned, staring back in total disbelief, utterly speechless. The figure keeps talking, her form getting a little clearer, as she drops hints about past hardships. She confesses to moments of despair, when she lost all hope and dreams, and just wanted to quit. Then, a shocking vision hits him. The Elf King, Sword Princess, Mercenary King, Sage, and Lenovo, all looking totally devastated, as the voice drops the bombshell, report card. He's utterly blindsided, only managing a bewildered, huh. The voice demands he check his report card now, and a glowing, smartphone-like device materializes in his hand, flashing the shocking message. A system window pops up, flashing Kong Han Su's report card. His combat power is an insane S, achievements are A+, but his character score? A shocking F. And the remark? Why did you kill your perfectly sane comrades? Those words hit him like a truck, and Han Su Kang's face twists in pure disbelief. Then, a chilling image, the Sword Princess, gone, stamped with a brutal, dead. Next, the Elf King and the Sage flash into view, both tragically, dead. And then, the Mercenary King's face appears, his fate sealed with a crushing, dead. The brutal truth. Yes. He tries to speak, but the memory floods back. Before Pednar, his comrades knew they couldn't beat him, so. Flashback. Han Su Kang, radiating dark power, absolutely demolishes his former allies, their desperate attacks just bouncing off him. He finally admits it, his voice chillingly calm, he ambushed and killed every single one of them. Fists clenching, a raw fury ignites within him as the system's brutal judgment slams into his mind, 2 years of torment flashing before his eyes. He flashes back to his comrades, Sword Princess, Elf King, Sage, Mercenary King, all of them dead by his hand, because they were utterly useless against the Demon King. They were nothing but dead weight, a liability he couldn't afford. He even remembers the archaeologist, Lenovo, who dared to draw a sword against him, a pathetic move that only proved his point. The system's revenge judgment. He scoffs, utterly defiant, declaring it a total failure to grasp his true nature. He recalls the Demon King Pednar's chilling words, a dark philosophy that still resonates, about great power bringing great responsibility, but also the absolute right to use it however you want. The system dares to claim he killed his comrades for world order and peace. He explodes in furious disbelief, screaming for a retest of this absolute garbage judgment. Villain or not, he won't break. A raw, potent purple energy erupts around his hands, swirling with destructive force, ready to obliterate everything. He roars that his comrades were just pawns, that only he holds the power to save this world, the purple energy exploding around him as he charges his ultimate attack. A system message flashes, target acquired, all the facility. He's absolutely radiating raw, purple power, stomping through this twisted, shadowy realm. The system's voice just keeps taunting him, rubbing his success in his face. Then, a chilling, robotic voice drops the bomb, a professional instructor has been sent, and their word is now the absolute law. Boom. Next thing he knows, he's in this sterile, glowing chamber, surrounded by these mysterious robed figures, with a giant sign screaming, RE Test Day 1. His face just goes completely white with shock, eyes bugging out, as that same purple energy still hums around him. What just happened? Just, dead silence. He's got one burning desire, ditch the books, ditch the grind, and dive headfirst into a fantasy world. Forget textbooks, he's dreaming of rescuing princesses and getting paid in gold by kings. But this wasn't always his vibe. Just a few months back, he was a total knowledge junkie, devouring every bit of info he could get his hands on. Or maybe, just maybe, he secretly wanted to be the hero who saved the world. But a stern voice from his past cuts through, asking if he's just chasing fantasy for cash, insisting a real hero should be selfless, not greedy, and certainly not armed. He remembers the sheer frustration of fantasy world logic, like, why is it so hard to learn a basic circle magic spell and just obliterate everyone in one go? He used to think the fantasy world's hero was the absolute GOAT, and then, bam, the teacher's voice hits him with, Kong Han Su, what about you? His eyes spark with a faint glow as he grapples with the question, desperately trying to pinpoint that one thing he truly wants to achieve in a fantasy world. He just stares at his phone, totally zoned out. His eyes blaze with a renewed glow as he murmurs about his dream, a dream that's been burning inside him for a decade. One moment, he was talking to his teacher, the next, he was ripped from his world, summoned into the unknown. Mid-transfer, his phone, a relic of his old life, crashed to the floor. Suddenly, he was on a throne, bathed in an ominous purple glow, utterly bewildered. A massive magic circle glowed beneath his seat, and a chilling recognition dawned, the very same place, a decade later, yet unchanged. His face contorted in disbelief, because no doubt about it, this was a full-blown dimension transfer. Then, the horrifying realization struck, the infamous hero kidnapping magic circle. A hand seized his wrist, and a surge of panic hit him hard. His brain pulsed with a painful transfer, as if he was back to a time of utter insignificance, his memories stripped bare, leaving only his past foolishness. He glares, a fierce resolve hardening his features as he growls, "You failed. Don't mess with me." His eyes widen in a sudden, furious realization, as he exclaims, "It's been 10 years. No less than 10 years." A memory flashes, showing a group of figures, including a younger version of himself, standing together, and he reflects that in that time, a baby could have grown up, gone to college, and even seen their own elementary school graduation, or a middle schooler could have graduated from university. Talk about a glow-up. His younger self's face contorts in a grimace, enduring the frustration and humiliation from his damn comrades. Back in the present, his expression shifts to surprise as a voice warmly greets him, "Welcome, Hero Nim." His gaze falls upon the outstretched hand of the summoner, and he exclaims, "Lenovel." Another memory surfaces, recalling his very first summoning, and it was this girl, Lenovel, who had spoken to him first. In that past moment, Lenovel had asked if he had come to his senses, to which he had defiantly replied, "No." Now, in the present, her voice carries a hint of disappointment, Is that so, Hero Nim?" He remembers that it was the archaeologist and summoner who had brought him to this place. The plot thickens. Lenovel's voice cuts through the chaos, trying to calm the hero, knowing he's probably totally lost. And telling him to snap out of it, because he just landed in Fantasia, a whole other dimension, far from his home world. She flashes a sweet smile, a soft glow radiating from her hand, looking all ready to be his guide. In the distance, the epic structures of this new world loom. But the hero, rocking a sharp modern suit, just cuts to the chase with a totally fed-up look, already over it. Lenovel, totally unfazed, rattles off the bullet points, Demon King Petinar, disaster, and his summoning, like, "You getting this, dude?" She's practically glowing, calling the whole thing wonderful, and he just deadpans, "Yeah, no kidding." His thoughts race back to the faces of his old crew, the Demon King, Elf King, Sword Princess, Mercenary King, and Sage, remembering the decade of pure agony he went through just for telling Petinar no, and then, oh yeah, he forgot to introduce himself. Meanwhile, Lenovel, still rocking that bright smile, finally drops her name, 10 whole years after everything went down. Lenovel, whose name literally means truth in the ancient tongue, finally turns to him, and even after a decade, she's still absolutely breathtaking. The kid he was, just hitting puberty a decade ago, was totally captivated by her looks. But now, he just snaps at her, "Don't smile so brightly." He finds it totally annoying, and she just blinks, yes. He keeps going, telling her to stop acting cute, and then asks why she's even bothering with someone who was doing fine before getting snatched away. His eyes flash with a faint red glow as he practically shouts, "Do you find this funny?" And then, "Are you seriously about to burst out laughing at my misery?" She's completely stunned into silence. He finishes his rant, declaring it's a total waste that her name's meaning doesn't match her attitude at all. Lenovel, looking genuinely sorry now, manages to stammer out, I'm sorry," and he finally thinks, okay, now that's a better face for a conversation. Suddenly, an imposing armored figure steps forward, declaring, "Your Majesty is waiting for you." He's got that look again, utterly fed up, glaring down with pure disdain. Lenovel's jaw drops, completely blindsided by his audacity. He pauses, a flicker of thought in his eyes, probably calculating just how irreplaceable he really is. Then drops the mic, only he can take down the Demon King, and Lenovel's practically nodding her head off in agreement. He lays it out cold, without him, it's game over for everyone, and Lenovel's practically begging him to get it. That smug grin again. He's setting the rules, telling them if the Demon King wants a meeting, he better show up personally. Then just brushes them off, daring them to go fight the Demon King themselves if they've got nothing better to do. The Elf King steps up, clearly annoyed by the hero's attitude, and decides he'll just take the message back to his own king. Han Su Kang's face just totally breaks. His epic comeback. Crickets. After the last confrontation, a voice cuts through the air, laying down the law for the hero, declaring that no one would ever defy him and practically kicking him out. A look of pure shock flashes across his face, as if a sudden system message just dropped, the ones who hype themselves up never actually get anywhere, but helping others. That's the real cheat code. Then, without warning, the space around him warps and twists, and a mysterious woman in a striking red dress just pops into existence right in front of him. His jaw practically drops, the spatial anomaly totally throwing him off, and he's racking his brain, thinking, wait, did I ever meet this girl in a past summon, because this isn't just a normal entrance. He just gapes at the mysterious woman, barely able to stammer out a word, then snaps, "Who are you?" The masked woman, cool as ice, simply replies, "I'm the special instructor." A subtle smirk plays on her lips, hidden by the mask, her whole vibe just radiating calm, cool confidence. She then drops the bombshell, explaining she was sent because of his unique personality, and vows to give her absolute best to help him out. As his instruction qualifications were being processed, a moral professor was already making waves in the fantasy world, leaving Han Su-kang completely stunned. He could only gasp, "Oh my god." As the sheer absurdity of a moral professor in a fantasy world hit him like a truck. Seeing his jaw drop, the special instructor coolly stated it was natural to be shocked by someone who aced the test, then dropped the bombshell, "You didn't know about special instructors." Han Su-kang shot back that even the overachievers usually just bored him, and now, the moment he thought would last forever was here. He demanded, "So you're telling me I'm the one who aced the test?" The special instructor confirmed it, revealing that a special instructor was dispatched to this world just to keep an eye on his every move. She pressed on, declaring it was a done deal, and he had absolutely no choice but to take her on as his instructor. Still processing, Han Su-kang could only manage, but, why? The special instructor's answer was a mic drop. She'd personally taken down the Demon King as a hero, and it was a flawless victory, leaving 0 loose ends. And apparently, that was the whole problem. The special instructor's bombshell drops, and Han Su-kang's face just shatters with pure, unadulterated shock. What just happened? Pednar, the Demon King, dropped some serious wisdom, claiming his foe should have seen this coming from a mile away. But Han Su-kang isn't having it, firing back that Pednar just won too fast. Elsewhere, a mysterious masked woman with vibrant pink hair drops a philosophical bomb, reminding us that failure is the ultimate teacher. Han Su-kang keeps the conversation going, pointing out that Pednar's lack of failure means he missed out on that crucial life lesson, then has a sudden aha moment. He then locks eyes with the masked woman, looking for validation, and she just nods in agreement. Just like water effortlessly flowing everywhere, sometimes the easiest path is the winning one. Suddenly, a powerful purple aura explodes around him, his eyes burning with determination, as Han Su-kang vows to make Pednar stumble, claiming he's the only one who can save him, and the real game is about to start. He's absolutely floored, a single word ripping from his throat. "What?" he screams, while Pednar just coolly drops the bomb, "I'm not going to make you fail." But Han Su-kang's mind is already made up, a fierce resolve burning within him, "No, I'm going to make you fail." A memory flashes, a desperate voice pleading, "We don't know the side effects. Tell us immediately if anything happens to you." But he knows the grim reality, his thoughts racing, "Even if I tell her, my worries won't just vanish." Elsewhere, Pednar challenges the masked figure, "Are these hero-raising professors just like wardens, keeping students in a classroom or a cage?" He presses on, proposing, "Wouldn't it be more efficient to just toss ordinary people into this world and force them to become heroes?" Han Su-kang's thoughts turn inward, a grim realization dawning, "I don't know the experiment's purpose, but their intentions towards me are anything but good. These are the ones who sent me, who know everything." With a heavy sigh, he makes a calculated choice, "For now, I'll play along." He's still calculating, playing the long game, knowing he's gotta play along for now. Until he can find a clear alternative. Lenoble just stares, a silent question hanging in the air. After all, he's the key to the Demon King's whole deal, and with a groan, he lets himself get dragged, a frustrated grunt escaping his lips. This isn't just a walk, it's a power play, a fight to grab the initiative from the king himself. Strolling through the halls, he mentally declares he's no citizen here, and Lenoble quickly chimes in, reminding everyone she's not bound by her captors either. He's a human, and he's ready to fight for every single one of his rights. The bottom line is simple, if this world goes down, he's stuck here forever. Finally, they're at the throne, and a guard immediately barks at the hero Nim to watch his mouth before his majesty. The king, in his gleaming golden armor, just stares, a heavy, unspoken question hanging in the air. He can only think it, but the thought somehow leaks out, a defiant challenge to the Demon King. Even as he stands before the imposing figure, he declares himself the one and only hero capable of defeating the Demon King, then questions what his opponent will do if he is wrong. A guttural growl escapes the Demon King's lips, a chilling boo. Hero, echoing through the space, dripping with menace. His voice, deep and resonant, acknowledges the hero's good spirit with a sinister edge. Then, a hand, glowing with ominous red energy, reaches out, promising to hit you like you wish. A terrifying declaration. With a powerful surge of crimson aura, Pednar unleashes his devastating attack. The blow connects with brutal force, sending him flying backward with a sickening impact. He crashes to the ground, his mind reeling, wondering why this powerful foe appeared here and realizing that with this innocent body, he cannot face such a bastard. A blonde woman, witnessing the scene, cries out in distress, "Mr. Alex." Her voice filled with panic. A hulking armored knight, radiating pure menace, unleashes a thunderous challenge, demanding to know if his foe is truly ready to face oblivion. Meet Palace Knight Captain Alex, the man who thinks this is all just a game, laughing off the tension as a mere courage test, a twisted joke. With a bone-rattling thud, the captain looms, his eyes burning with disdain for the one he's about to crush. But the unassuming student, glasses askew, seethes with a burning fury, his mind consumed by the monstrous acts of those who prey on the innocent. Captain Alex, sneering at any notion of hero treatment, effortlessly hoists the student by his collar, utterly dismissing him. But the student, remembering his past as a chosen hero, a mere pawn in a cosmic game, declares with chilling resolve that this time, everything has changed. And then, his eyes ignite with a terrifying, crimson glow, as he unleashes a chilling declaration: his entire life is a battle for self-preservation. Before the knight can even blink, the student explodes with a burst of raw, red power, slamming Captain Alex to the unforgiving ground. With his eyes still blazing with that terrifying crimson fire, the student stands victorious, his resolve now an unbreakable force. His eyes ignite with a furious crimson, a raw, explosive power erupting from him as he unleashes his devastating attack. But a frustrated sigh escapes him, his current body just can't keep up with the sheer power he's trying to unleash. He flashes back to the sheer terror of his past as a hero, a primal roar tearing from his throat as that red energy just explodes around his glowing eyes. But even with the struggle, one thing is crystal clear: he's still got the power to make others bleed. The sheer force of his power twists Alex's face into a mask of agony, veins popping as the knight fights against the overwhelming, invisible pressure. This whole showdown flashes him back to the very first round of his orientation, a brutal period of exclusive physical training. He stands before the towering, armored figure of Alex, a truly formidable presence. Under Alex's brutal instruction, he got absolutely pummeled, taking a beating from day one. Alex, the very man who was his sword teacher, had shown him absolutely no mercy. Lenouville is freaking out, kneeling beside a clearly injured Alex. She's demanding answers, wondering if the hero actually tried to take him out. But hold up, we're flashing back to an assassin with a terrifying grin, who's straight up bragging, flexing about his steel body and how he's an absolute beast. Back to the present, Han Su-kang, stuck in Alex's body, is absolutely fuming, jaw clenched tight as he remembers that whole mess. Flashback: Alex is absolutely raging, yelling at the hero to get on his knees and apologize, his voice practically shaking the ground. Han Su-kang, watching this memory unfold, just scoffs, calling Alex's words a total lie, as he sees his old teacher get absolutely wrecked, never even giving his opponent the time of day until the very end. Chibi Alex, still in the flashback, is hilariously poking fun at the hero's guts, telling him to stop messing around. Snapping back to his current thoughts, Han Su-kang is seriously wondering if his situation is really that bad, a deep frown on his face. Lenouville is still trying to help the wounded Alex, totally freaked out and wondering if the hero just had some kind of divine meltdown, like his stress finally blew up. Han Su-kang, staring at his hands, shuts down that idea immediately, declaring that just because he's weak right now doesn't mean he's actually weaker, it's just this body holding him back. Han Su-kang's fist tightens, his mind racing, as he grapples with the crushing thought that a decade of his relentless effort could all be for absolutely nothing. This is beyond ridiculous. The hero's face contorts in a furious snarl, a raw, unbridled rage burning in his eyes at the sheer, utter ridiculousness of it all. Then, a booming voice cuts through the air, echoing across the castle, declaring to the majesty that the hero himself demands an audience. But the hero's internal monologue immediately contradicts the declaration, a silent, defiant "No, I never asked for this," ringing in his mind. A massive door creaks open, revealing a lavish throne room where an ancient king holds court, surrounded by his loyal, or not so loyal, advisors. Han Su-kang strides onto the opulent red carpet, his eyes locked onto the regal figure awaiting him. The king, with his majestic white beard and gleaming golden crown, exudes an aura of serene, almost cute, authority. But Han Su-kang can't help but find him utterly annoying, even with that surprisingly cute face for an old man. He flashes back to a time when this king, now just a dumpling with a crown, was a true warrior, bravely facing down the demon king in battle, a stark, almost tragic, contrast to his current state. Meanwhile, the surrounding court members are clearly not amused, their annoyed faces a testament to the tension in the room. Suddenly, a guard snaps at Han Su-kang, sternly reminding him of the king's royal presence. He flashes back, remembering the first round, it was a disaster, but he'd played it cool, showing the king respect. Because let's be real, he already knew how this whole story played out. But the king? He's totally oblivious, just stewing in his own thoughts, desperate to figure out how to finally take down the demon king. Suddenly, a stern-faced palace guard, all business, cuts through Han Su-kang's thoughts, demanding he show some respect and lower himself, hero or not. A barely audible "tch" slips past his lips, a clear sign he's not thrilled. But then, a switch flips. He decides, alright, game on. Today, we're playing humble. But beneath that calm facade, a monstrous power begins to churn. A silent, terrifying vow, he will become an unstoppable ocean, and utterly drown them all. Han Su Kang, with a barely concealed sneer, drops a sarcastic, "I thank you for your hospitality, your majesty." The king, completely missing the sarcasm, actually thinks Han Su Kang's etiquette is top tier, a fact the hero can only scoff at, given his decade of fantasy world experience. He's definitely not doing it because he likes it, it's pure survival, playing by the rules of this ridiculous world. The king, completely clueless, just shrugs it off with a smug, benevolent grin. Lenovel, ever the diplomat, bows low, practically gushing about how honored she is by the king. Then, the king's gaze snaps to the hero, the single word, hero, echoing in the silence. He demands a demonstration of Han Su Kang's powers, a challenge the hero silently accepts. Suddenly, a status window pops up, flashing his pathetic stats: human, level 1, hero job, 0% experience, and just one measly skill, interpretation/contextualization, all listed as normal. He muses that interpretation is his only normal skill, but a dark hint suggests there's far more lurking beneath the surface. Alex is totally locked in, watching Han Su Kang with a mix of worry and pure bewilderment as our hero starts dropping some serious truth bombs, radiating this wild mix of confidence and a touch of "I'm better than you" energy. Inside, he's making a silent promise to absolutely obliterate those annoying orange text system alerts, and for a split second, his eyes blaze with an intense, fiery red, totally betraying his chill exterior. Alex lets out a tiny, shocked gasp, his jaw practically hitting the floor as he tries to wrap his head around what the hero just said. Han Su Kang keeps up the act, faking total distress and wiping away a single, dramatic sweat drop, whining about his zero skills with this super pathetic, trembling face. Inside, he's totally freaking out about how impossible everything is, feeling completely worthless in this body and wondering if he even deserves the title, hero. Alex is just staring, eyes bugging out in pure disbelief, totally stumped by the hero's bizarre, self-deprecating rant. Even King Pednar is absolutely floored, his jaw dropping at some insane 500% reveal that just blew his mind. A confused buzz spreads through the crowd, but Alex is still totally bewildered, trying to figure out what the heck the hero is even doing. But Han Su Kang, deep down, is actually thinking this whole situation isn't so bad, because even if he's short on skills, he's got this raw talent that no one else can even touch. He could just rip off his clothes and become a hero, like it's just another day at the office. He lets out a breath, remembering when legends were born from legends, and he was just a part-timer, not the big-shot hero everyone thought. But then, bam, he got slapped with the title, Chosen Hero. He flashes back to the terrifying news, the whole country in chaos because the Demon King was invading, and it still makes him jump. The mission was simple, take down the Demon King and level up his skills, a challenge he faced with a wild mix of fear and fire. The big boss was Demon King Pednar, a name that just screamed raw power. But he was like, no way. Why me? I'm just a part-timer. He totally didn't want the job. Even without the Demon King, this country was a mess with tons of problems, a total headache that he couldn't shake. He's the hero, the apostle of justice, even if he didn't pick the title himself, and with a deep breath, he declares, I'm an ocean. Han Su Kang, looking sharp in a suit, confronts an unseen figure, laying down the gauntlet. How much support are you really bringing to the table? His challenge is met with an immediate, enraged, red-faced backlash. As the furious figure fires back, claiming they've already poured their absolute best into saving their nation, their people. But Han Su Kang's thoughts flash back to a brutal past, a moment where he, the hero, was engulfed in crackling blue power, demanding answers from a grotesque monster. The flashback hits its peak with a chilling declaration, he's out. His face, a mask of exhaustion, he simply tells them to go find someone else. A stunned gasp rips through the air from an unseen woman. Her wide, green eyes mirroring pure shock and disbelief at his audacity. Back in the present, Han Su Kang coolly brushes off the entire crisis with a dismissive gesture, flatly stating it's none of his business. The king's voice absolutely thunders, declaring their attitude towards the hero is completely out of line. His hands clench, making it crystal clear that in this situation, they should be on their knees begging, not giving orders. But Han Su Kang just smirks, giving the king an almost mocking, dismissive look. The king's face darkens instantly, as Han Su Kang boldly declares he's not even a citizen of this country. Suddenly, Alex, a knight, rushes forward, desperately urging everyone to heed his majesty's words. But the king's face twists into an absolutely furious snarl. Han Su Kang remains totally unfazed, a dismissive hand gesture punctuating his words, as a nearby courtier visibly recoils in terror. A sharp, dismissive KGH escapes him, as he flat out asserts that he is no hero. Both the king and Alex are left absolutely stunned, staring in disbelief at his blatant disrespect. He throws down the gauntlet, a chilling challenge echoing through the hall, kill me, if you can. Alex, the knight, is stunned, his mind screaming, crazy. Alex's thoughts spiral, the sheer audacity of the hero's words forcing him to confront grim possibilities, his mind calculating, if the king dies, the prince can replace him. His eyes drop to the polished stone, the chilling succession line unfolding, if the prince is lost, the princess. The terrifying cascade of power vacuums plays out, if there's no one left, then that believes. His hands ball into tight fists, the desperate, final solution crystallizing. A cold, calculating glint enters Alex's eyes, the full weight of the situation settling. If it's like that. Unmoved by the knight's internal turmoil, Han Su Kang's neck chords, a silent, ironclad declaration of his unyielding will. His gaze, a blazing inferno, radiates pure, unadulterated defiance. But the king, Pednar, is beyond mere anger, his face a mask of absolute shock, his voice barely a whisper, "You cut the demon king's throat." With the system's efficiency principle in mind, 1 hour of repetition equals 5 hours of work, Han Su Kang confronts the tiny armored figure, demanding to know why it questions his lack of modesty, asserting that these savages deserve no such courtesy. He fumes internally, the thought burning in his mind, it's like dragging a dog to a hunt and expecting it to perform alone. He knows they want to pin the blame on him, stuck in their pathetic, monochrome reality. Strolling with a heavy heart, he remembers his city, emptied because he stood alone, and the crushing realization that he was the only one capable of clearing it. Sometimes solitude is a blessing, but often, it's a curse. His eyes blaze with defiance as he internally rages about being a hero amidst such colossal miscalculations, vowing that no matter what these fools throw at him, they'll never break him, and even if hope itself dies, if his soul shatters, if his body gives out, he'll remain, refusing to ever surrender. His fiery declaration makes the tiny armored figure flinch, looking up with alarm, cautioning him that such words are incredibly dangerous. A commanding voice booms, laying down the law, "I summoned you in order to protect this country." Lenovo, looking stunned, hears the full scope of the command, from general, merchant, and hero, and commanded Lenovo to call you into the world. Han Su Kang's expression hardens, a clear mix of fury and frustration brewing. The Red King, a colossal entity with blazing red eyes, unleashes a thunderous declaration, "You are the possession of this kingdom." Pure, unadulterated power surges through the space. Lenovo, Alex, and the tiny armored companion hang on every word as the Red King presses on, demanding, "The owner of this kingdom who fought, but I'm a hero now, right?" Han Su Kang's jaw drops, his face a mask of utter disbelief as the ultimate, soul-crushing order is given, "Announce it to the whole world." The tiny armored companion stares up, a silent gasp escaping it as the Red King's chilling words reverberate, "Let's see what will happen to this kingdom." The Red King's gaze is chilling, his words a dark prophecy hanging in the balance, as the armored companion can only watch, powerless. With the Red King's shocking words still echoing, Lenovo and her attendant watch from above, their faces etched with worry. With a commanding gesture, the Red King boldly declares his plan to conquer and make the hero his own personal weapon. But Han Su Kang, refusing to be a pawn, fires back, asserting that no one can imprison him because he's far stronger than any faker. The Red King's menacing silhouette dominates the scene, his words a dire prophecy, "The hero is humanity's final stand, and without him, this kingdom is doomed." Then, a chilling, triumphant cackle tears through the air, as the Red King's glowing red eyes gleam with pure, unadulterated malice. The armored guards stand frozen, their silent presence amplifying the Red King's terrifying authority. Lenovo's alarm skyrockets, as Han Su Kang looks up, a bewildered, "Huh?" escaping him, and she desperately calls out his name. Then, the Red King's voice slices through the air, challenging the hero, "What support do you even want?" And then, in a shocking twist, Han Su Kang's face splits into a wide, confident grin. Han Su Kang, now in Alex's body, stands before a grand, red-carpeted door, reflecting on the previous occupant's foolishness despite his strength and equipment, noting the military's exploding mana. And with a confident smile, he gestures forward, declaring his intention to take this. Looking up, he questions if anyone else is present. Then winks, making an "okay" gesture, as his thoughts turn to the money. Coins rain down onto his armored companion, clattering loudly. He muses internally that a role-playing game already cleared was bound to be boring. While his companion looks up at the clear blue sky. He concludes that they should simply use the cheat key and walk on the flowery road. A majestic castle dominates the horizon, a symbol of power and perhaps, a new beginning. Inside, the reborn hero, now in Alex's form, drops a bombshell, his companion and a red-haired woman hanging on his every word. He reveals his shocking rebirth happened in less than a day, prompting a stunned, "Huh," from the woman. He lays out the harsh truth, financial backers always come with strings attached, yet the payoff is undeniable, a bag overflowing with gold. He challenges their perspective, asking if a bad omen isn't actually preferable to a good one, ultimately declaring that even this twisted scenario is a victory. The woman urges him to just endure a little, but he's already mentally checked out, wishing he'd had a heads up before his death to prepare for this curse of students that's just too overwhelming. The woman gasps student, as he coolly elaborates on his strategy. The very soil of this world will nourish his ambitions, making his plans flourish effortlessly. He drops the bomb. He is Kang Han-soo, the hero candidate, and apparently, there's already a whole graduating class of these students out there. The woman's face contorts in shock as he delivers his final, cutting remark about the so-called heroes who've returned to Earth. He sarcastically envisions them living their best lives, helping out their neighbors, a picture of perfect, almost sickening, heroism. He's pushing his limits, a single, burning thought driving him, try harder. Purple energy crackles around him, and he's internally screaming, I'm the millionaire. I'm not the chosen hero of this world. His mind conjures a cartoon of a tree growing on Earth, and he's not letting anyone mock his grind, declaring he's using practice to level up. The whole thing feels utterly ridiculous, and sprawled on his bed, he's just done with this educational story on a dimensional shift nonsense. It's too dumb for him to even process. Then, out of nowhere, a soft voice cuts through his mental rant, asking if something's bothering him. He glances down. Her blonde hair flowing around her, and locks eyes with a wide-eyed, surprised Lenovo, kneeling right there. Her revealing outfit is definitely accentuating her form. A detail he definitely notices. He's still reeling, internally fuming at the sheer audacity of this world, as a tiny, terrified figure clings to him, and another just can't stop crying. Back in his old world, a hero would have already swooped in to save the day, he thinks, remembering how even one annoying professor was enough to take him down. But his mind snaps back to the present, and he turns to Lenovo, demanding to know if she's absolutely sure he's the only hero summoned here. She confirms it without hesitation, explaining that Professor Morale is swamped with a new curriculum, training fresh heroes and globetrotting to take down the Demon King. But here, in this world, he's the only hero, and that reality hits him hard. The words, parallel worlds reverberate in his head, a sudden blue glow in his eyes as the full weight of it sinks in. He can't help but wonder if the heroes from his own Earth, the strategy world, are as skilled as his students, like some kind of open-world RPG he can just jump into. The whole situation just keeps getting crazier, a furious purple aura erupting around him as he grips his head in disbelief. He makes a firm decision to hold off on anything rash, vowing to figure out the fastest way back to Earth. He's calculating the grind, realizing that just 1 hour of intense repetition could supercharge his progress to 5 times the normal rate, and he's not about to let any rule stop him from doing it too. A soft thud echoes as he closes his eyes, locking in on his next move. But then his eyes snap open, and he commands Lenovo to follow, who's instantly on board, just needing to know the destination. A chilling, confident grin spreads across his face, his eyes burning with power as he anticipates the coming chaos and the allies he'll gather, knowing he's ready for anything. The Demon King, chilling on his throne, dropped a bombshell condition for the hero's cash flow, declaring that before he'd even touched the royal treasury. There was one massive catch: Lenovo herself would be in charge of all the heroes' money. Alex, watching the whole thing unfold, internally debated if he should just ignore the dumpling of a situation, secretly admitting he'd probably pull the same stunt. Later, out on the super busy city streets, Lenovo's hype was absolutely off the charts. As she practically vibrated with joy, asking if she could snag a magic orb she'd always dreamed of owning. Alex, on the other hand, was just internally facepalming, totally resigned to the fact that Lenovo was actually the one in charge of the cash. He snuck a peek at a paper flashing a balance of 100,000 gold. While Lenovo absolutely exploded with joy, clutching a fat bag of gold and screaming her thanks. He's thinking, this isn't even my money, as he takes in the kingdom's absolute trading hub. And out of everything here, anything with magic in the name. Pure gold, ridiculously pricey. It's just like back on Earth, where high-tech gadgets sold for insane amounts just because they were new. Then, out of nowhere, Lenovo pops up, grinning ear to ear, showing off her new purchase and yelling, "Hironim, I bought it." She's absolutely mesmerized by the glowing, rainbow orb in her hands, letting out a little humph of pure delight. But the hero? His face just screams, "Oh no, not again," a silent "oh" of pure dread escaping him. Lenovo starts strolling off, casually telling herself, "Alright, Lenovo, once you're done, get back to me ASAP," and the hero just sighs, "Yes, Hironim." He's thinking back, to the first round when he just strutted around in his school uniform, basically begging for trouble. But now, he's sprinting, full of resolve, telling himself, "No way am I making that same mistake twice." The marketplace hums with energy, and a dazzling pink dress in a shop window practically screams for attention, a beacon of this world's extravagant charm. Lenovo's eyes are practically sparkling as she points, completely swept up in a shopping frenzy, while Han Soo Kong just looks like he's seen a ghost, or maybe just his bank account. "Whoa, Hironim," she gushes, absolutely thrilled. She spins around, already captivated by the next shiny object, a delighted gasp escaping her. She pivots back to him, completely missing his silent plea for mercy, insisting he doesn't need to butter her up, because she's just a commoner, Hironim. He just grits his teeth and bears it, his mind screaming about the real reason they're here, to make sure her comfortable shopping continues. A shop assistant can't help but snicker as Lenovo shoves yet another item in his face, demanding his approval, but he's completely checked out, probably calculating the damage to his wallet. His frustration boils over, solidifying his earlier thought, these goods are so high-end, even a fat bribe wouldn't get them for regular people. He's practically begging for a secret way to make cash without anyone noticing his shopping habits. Lenovo, completely clueless about his inner meltdown, calls him out for ignoring all the amazing clothes, accessories, and everything else, demanding to know where he's even headed. A chilling, almost evil grin creeps onto his face as he finally drops the bombshell of his real destination, the black market. Lenovo's mind races, trying to figure out who they'd even be trying to impress here. While a text box drops the bombshell, the righteous hero facing legal action. Han Su-kong just cuts her off, deadpan, Lenovo. He then drops another bomb, her magic orb. Totally illegal too. She fires back, but I bought this thing fair and square, with my own money. Han Su-kong, with a smirk that screams gotcha, reminds her, yeah, but I was the one who let it happen. He drives the point home, laying out the cold, hard truth, what I'm saying is, we're both in this. We're accomplices. Lenovo's face twists in pure anxiety, the full impact of his statement hitting her hard. But then, with a strained smile, she tries to spin it, convincing herself that if it means making bank, then it's all good, hey, if it helps us get rich, then what's the problem? Han Su-kong, seeing her surprisingly easy acceptance, tells her to just follow his lead if she gets it. Lenovo, however, has one crucial question, okay, but seriously, how are we even going to find this black market? She confesses she's only ever heard whispers of the black market, never actually seen it, since it supposedly only opens its doors once every few years. He scoffs at her worries, declaring that if some fresh-faced summoned hero showed up, she'd be totally lost, asking herself, who even am I, even though she's literally the chosen hero Nim. He challenges her to think bigger, asking, what if I was the bad guy? He lays out the ultimate power move, if I could take down the Demon King, I'd get a massive experience bonus, way more than any ancient fairy or dragon could ever dream of. The real power of a hero who's crushed the Demon King, he declares, isn't just about their stats. It clicks for Lenovo, and she's totally on board, exclaiming, I get it, Hero Nim. He just barks, shut up and follow me, and she's practically bouncing with excitement, desperate to find that black market. Then he drops the bombshell, we can find it at the pub I used to hang out at. And just like that, they're off, making their way to the pub. He bursts into the pub, and it's exactly as chaotic as he remembers. A full-blown brawl is already going down, with patrons getting slammed and shouting for blood. But amidst the chaos, the bald bartender is just chilling, taking orders, and a server somehow weaves through the madness. He just takes it all in, a smirk spreading across his face. This place is exactly the same, and he's totally here for the familiar chaos. Then, behind the bar, a bearded guy with dark hair is just casually wiping a glass, totally chill amidst the madness. Sitting with Lenovo, Han Su-kang's eyes suddenly go wide with recognition, a huge grin breaking out as he calls out to the bartender. Turns out, this bartender is a retired assassin, a total legend who taught Han Su-kang everything back in the day, a true friend and mentor. He glances up, a chibi assassin flashing in Han Su-kang's mind, throwing daggers with deadly precision. Rocking a fresh wizard fit, Han Su-kang and Lenovo hit the bar, and he immediately lays down the question, what's good here? The former assassin takes a beat, but Han Su-kang's mind is already racing, flashing back to his dungeon grind, where an hour of repetition was like 5 hours of pure gains. Back in the room, the bartender, clearly thrown by Han Su-kang's sudden appearance, asks if the legendary Tony liquor finally dropped today. Han Su-kang's like, hit me with your best shot, if it's what I'm looking for, and the bartender just grins, good. Your luck is on fire. Then, with a dramatic reveal, the bartender pulls out a bottle, dropping the bomb, we just got in a 27-year-old, Black Dragon, stout. He pours it like a pro, then drops the pro tip, this stuff explodes with flavor if you pair it with grilled sheep. Han Su-kang's gaze sharpens, his whole vibe changing, as he drops the bombshell, Black Dragon isn't just a drink, it's the secret location of the black market. The bartender's jaw drops, knowing the black market is no joke, but Han Su-kang isn't backing down, laying out his terms, this bottle's yours if you help me figure out what's up with the Demon King's castle. Weighing his options, the bartender eyes Han Su-kang, then the drink, and asks the million-dollar question, so, how good is this stuff, really? With a knowing smirk, he promises his friend an incredible payoff, dropping the code phrase, grilled mutton, revealing it's not just food, but the illicit heart of the black market itself. The chilling truth is laid bare, grilled mutton means slaves, a dark trade fueling the underworld. The former assassin, his face a mask of stone, simply reiterates the order, mutton for 2. But Han Su-kang just grins, his confidence unwavering, clearly having planned for every twist. Han Su-kang, ever the pragmatist, calculates the insane power of repetition. 1 hour of focused effort. That's like 5 hours of normal work. He lets out a frustrated grumble. As the view dramatically shifts to an opulent building bathed in sunlight. Inside, Lenovel is practically screaming at him to hurry up. Demanding to know why he's suddenly in such a hurry. He's completely exasperated, like, seriously, you're asking me that, before deadpanning that they ate because, well, they were hungry. But Lenovel isn't having it, firing back that he complained the meal was too greasy, and then he made them even later by ordering an extra dish. Meanwhile, the former assassin, now a bartender, gives a polite thank you to the hero, but Han Su-kang hilariously calls him Tony. Han Su-kang then sets Alex straight, explaining that this legendary bartender is actually the cool guy who taught him the law of the jungle. Han Su-kang's secret weapon, repetition, is a game changer. 1 hour of effort. Boom. It's like 5 hours of grind, instantly. He's laying it all out for Lenovel and Alex, revealing that when he first landed in this world, he only snagged 9 abilities, while everyone else was swimming in them. His repetition skill, a total sleeper hit, lets him crank out the same action 5 times over, turning 1 hour of basic work into 5 hours of pure gains. But seriously, is that even a hero's power? Out of all the heroes, only one from the King rocks an S-class experience bonus, and only one hero, like him, has this kind of power, which is clutch because it's still crushing it even on his second go-around. Lenovel, totally locked in on him, asks if he can also spot an ability, and he just drops a casual, it's obvious. Her status screen pops up, Human Summoner, level 200, and get this, her status is, interested. But here's the kicker, she can't even feel the Demon King's power. Even with that blind spot, she's still crushing it as one of the top-rated players. Han Su-kang watches Lenovel, who's totally bewildered, and thinks, man, her potential alone is terrifying. Thinking about his first run and what's next for this girl, he's left wondering, why isn't she saying anything? A powerful thud echoes as a foot slams down, a fist already coiled, announcing a dramatic entrance. The hero has returned, no doubt about it, now standing with Lenovel, their combined presence absolutely electrifying. And just like that, Lenovel's hand cradles a softly glowing, light blue orb, its power practically humming. Her eyes go wide with shock, a sudden gasp escaping her as the scene unfolds before her. No time to waste, he and Lenovel burst forward, a blur of motion with a single, urgent goal. The orb in her hand flares, and another appears, floating beside it, both radiating an otherworldly glow. Her foot hits the ground with a soft thud, the glowing orb still gripped tight as she keeps her incredible speed. He's moving at impossible speeds, a pure blur, leaving trails of light as he rockets past. Meanwhile, Alex is left stunned, his eyes bugging out at the sheer, raw power on display. Bam! A brutal impact sends Han Su-kang reeling, a guttural cry tearing from his throat as he clutches his gut, a mysterious glowing orb having just slammed into him. The sheer force of the hit sends him flying, crashing hard onto the unforgiving ground. Meanwhile, the mysterious mana disc hovers, pulsating with energy, its true significance in this chaotic arrival now undeniable. Lenovel, holding the now calm orb, looms over him with a worried look, dropping a bombshell. If he doesn't get this treated right now, he's looking at chronic pain for life. He lets out a frustrated groan, the grim reality sinking in, his daily life would be a nightmare with numb legs. Lenovel, a faint smirk playing on her lips, just watches him, impressed by his sheer determination. Still down, Han Su-kang pulls up his status window, and the truth hits hard, level 0, unemployed, and his only skill is, checking his status. Lenovel, orb still glowing, clarifies, her strength is enough to summon him, sure, but this orb? It's basically just a fancy throwing weapon. His eyes burning with pure rage, Han Su-kang rages at the insult, 0 level difference between him and a freaking bat. He flashes back to cruising with friends on a beat-up bike, a far cry from this humiliating reality. Han Su-kang, deep in thought, realizes he's got a whole new edge now, a burning resolve to never back down, unlike the weak who fold for cash. Out of nowhere, a dark-skinned warrior, face etched with red markings, lets out a primal scream, absolutely refusing to be underestimated. Han Su-kang just sighs, eyes closed, like he's already over this whole thing before it even starts. This guy's fury. It's been building for 10 years of pure grind. He charges, unleashing a torrent of glowing blue energy, straight for Han Su-kang. But just as he strikes, the dark-skinned guy flinches back, grabbing his face, his eyes burning red as an intense, itching pain hits him. Before the attacker can even blink, Han Su-kang's eyes ignite with white-hot power, unleashing a devastating counter that sends his foe flying. A choked gasp rips from the dark-skinned guy as he grabs his lower back. Han Su-kang's hit landed perfectly, right on that weak spot between his 6th and 7th lumbar vertebrae. The attacker hits the dirt, totally out of it, and Han Su-kang notes that without a decade of fighting under his belt, that hit would have been game over, but even like this, the guy's still got some fight left in him. He lets out a dismissive humph, surveying the scene from a towering balcony. The whole situation is quickly laid out for the guards, as he and Lenoble stand side by side, taking it all in. But he knows the truth, rumors are gonna fly across the kingdom in days, making any cover-up impossible. A sly grin spreads across his face. The hero, it seems, is a seasoned killer. Lenoble, though, is having none of it, practically screaming at him not to treat people like murderers. He reaches out, his hand gently cupping her face, and she lets out a shocked yelp, quickly apologizing. It's just a habit, he thinks, to deal with any opponent as a threat. But then he pivots to Lenoble, dropping a cryptic question: do you even know the average age of a great man? He's sizing up the masked figure, thinking about how even a basic farmer, if they've got a weapon, suddenly jumps up in threat level. But the level of that punk who actually attacked him was a shocking 8. And checking out Beck Rant's skills, this guy was definitely no ordinary hunter or soldier. He gets it, realizing Lenoble's already figured out the whole crime thing. Lenoble, looking totally stressed, shouts that he, the hero Nim, just stopped another victim from happening. And he's like, what? She keeps going, reminding him that a hero's heart protects the weak, and that's the compliment she gave him. Then, Lenoble spots something and asks if his level went up, making him pause to check, especially with that 9x skills booster active. He pulls up his status screen: Archhuman, level 4, hero job, with S-rank skills like improved item crafting, repair, and weapon mastery, all looking good. Lenoble drops a bombshell, revealing that in this bizarre realm, people can't even touch certain beings. They're like literal ghosts, only showing up when they flex their power, and get this, they level up by stealing from others. Han Su Kang's mind races, connecting the dots, and he blurts out, if hitting level 4 means he could go toe-to-toe with Earth's elite athletes. He can't help but think this whole situation is straight out of a fantasy novel, especially with that high-level thief who just swiped his skills. Then, with a subtle katak, a jolt of power transfers between them, and the rush of experience from this hunt is absolutely exhilarating. He closes his eyes, a triumphant grin spreading across his face, and declares, this first hunt is giving him an incredible feeling. Beck Ran, the masked thief, is utterly flabbergasted, shouting, what the hell is this? Meanwhile, Han Su Kang is practically vibrating with excitement, pumping his fist and yelling, yes. Then, Han Su Kang makes a quick getaway, yelling over his shoulder, don't you dare follow me, leaving a completely bewildered Beck Ran to just manage a stunned, oh. Suddenly, a jarring sound rips through the air, snapping both Han Su Kang and Lenoble's heads up in pure shock. A subtle, metallic scrape cuts through the tension, and Han Su Kang's hand tightens, ready for anything. His eyes narrow, a fierce determination burning in their depths. Then, a serious-looking man in a sharp suit steps forward, his voice cutting through the air as he demands, are you Tony's customer? Han Su Kang instantly flares up, his voice booming with defiance, I'm no customer of his. I'm an archmage. But the man doesn't even flinch, just turns coolly, and motions for them to come with him. This was the shadowy domain of dark commerce, a secret world operating just beneath the surface. Following the mysterious suit-clad man further into the unknown. The guide keeps them moving through the maze-like halls. Then, he just stops at a super-plain door. Behind it, a massive staircase just drops into the abyss. They hit this crazy circular room, floor glowing with wild patterns. The man spills the tea on their hosts. Lenoble's mind is blown by how huge this operation is. Then, with one last command, Han Su Kang slips into the new gear. With the magic roaring to life, Lenoble, now cloaked in a golden horn mask and shimmering new gear, threw up her hands, ready for the warp. Just moments before, Alex had handed them the stealth gear, telling them to suit up. Han Su Kang, now a shadowy figure in his dark cloak and white mask, had given a curt nod, Lenoble by his side, equally transformed. Back in the glowing transfer circle, a deep thrum filled the space as the magic surged around the masked pair. Then, a blinding flash. The entire world just exploded into light. Just an echoing void for a second, a total sensory blackout before they started to come back online. They landed in total darkness, the air practically buzzing with unseen energy, as glowing eyes pierced the gloom, a hushed voice whispering a warning to stay hidden, then another coolly greeting them as customer. Alex, now rocking his own ornate dark mask and cloak, stood with Han Su Kang and Lenoble, dropping the intel that the transfer was all about keeping a low profile in this new, wild place. His masked voice continued, spilling the beans that this whole black market operation was hidden deep on the capital's western edge. This market was a hub for all things forbidden, even the very sites where cultists summon demons, places that sometimes hit the trading block right here, all under the chilling stare of a colossal, masked boss on a throne. Deep within the shadows of the black market, Alex reveals this isn't his first rodeo, proudly declaring it an honor to even be invited to this secret hub. He keeps going, dropping the bombshell that the auctions are about to kick off, and the tension is palpable. Then, a slick guide, glowing orb in hand, cuts in, announcing that since time is short, he'll just give a quick tour before heading back to his VIP spot. He lays down the market's cash rules: you can swap money right there, but be warned, it's all upfront payment, gold coins or jewels, no exceptions. Alex jumps in, dropping the hammer on their liability policy: if you mess up, any losses from your own negligence are on you, not the market. He then snaps to Lenovo, checking if she actually got the guide spiel. Suddenly, a tiny rabbit merchant nearby, catching wind of the extra comment, puffs up and shouts, declaring they're no mere background character, before getting hilariously cut off. Back to Lenovo, a stark warning echoes: guard your cash, because in this black market jungle, the only friendship you'll find between merchants is cold, hard profit. The guide, seeing the rabbit's little tantrum, glares and demands to know what they think they're doing acting like that in a black market, then smoothly tells Alex and the others to keep moving. As they finally get going, Alex drops one last, chilling warning to his crew: do not, under any circumstances, cause trouble here. A mysterious, red-robed figure unleashes a chilling warning, their voice amplified by a pulsating magic circle. And the air crackles with raw power, the magic circle throbbing with an intense crimson light. This isn't just a threat, it's a stark reminder to those who think they're safe, to look beyond the surface, or risk being devoured alive. Then, a blinding golden light erupts, illuminating a massive stage. Signaling the main event is about to drop. The auctioneer takes his place at the podium, ready to kick things off. Among the eager crowd, 3 prominent figures watch intently, each one eyeing a profitable score. With a dramatic flourish, the auctioneer booms: all right, folks, let's get this auction started. He proudly unveils the first item up for grabs: a veteran warrior, straight from the demon territories. Barely clinging to life after a brutal fight with a powerful demon, this warrior was miraculously found and patched up, and now he's on the block. First up, the auctioneer unveils a battle-hardened veteran warrior, scarred and shackled, who literally sold himself into slavery to clear his debts. The gavel hangs in the air as the auctioneer drops the bombshell on his status: a level 11 human, a battle mage, now a slave, who somehow lost a highly ranked skill. The auctioneer hypes up the crowd, declaring that no one in their right mind would pass up a chance to own someone with such a high-tier skill, even if it's currently locked away. Then, with a deafening crack, the gavel slams down, and the bidding war officially begins. A voice from the audience snickers, observing that everyone here is clearly loaded. In the crowd, the masked rabbit merchant nudges the masked figure next to them, exclaiming that they've totally figured out Hieronym's master plan. The rabbit merchant then points a finger, almost accusingly, reminding the hero about their ironclad contract with the ancient merchant. The masked hero just stares ahead, a quiet escaping them as the bidding frenzy rages on. He's flashing back, thinking about how this whole thing felt like a game, and how trying to clear out some trash actually landed him with a major headache. He's just thinking about her annoying habit of hating humans, and you can practically hear him grumbling about it. He remembers her worrying about someone being cold, but also admitting they were strong, then immediately shutting down the idea that guy could ever be a hero. Alright, the real auction is kicking off now, and he's already thinking strategically, knowing you gotta get in early for the best stuff. And now, the next big reveal: a skeletal knight, apparently destined for a massive role in the story, a knight born without memories. The rabbit merchant is telling the hero straight up, that lady isn't here for a free ride, and it's definitely not their mission to rescue nobles. Han Su Kong pauses, wondering if he should even say it, just imagining the chaos if that girl showed up at this auction. He pictures her barging in, stopping the auction by force, without even asking him, and then demanding every single slave be set free. The hero is literally grinding his teeth, totally fed up just thinking about the massive mess he'd have to clean up after her, a sound of pure frustration escaping him. The auctioneer's voice booms, dropping the bombshell: this is the next good. The curtain dramatically pulls back, revealing just the shackled feet of some poor soul, and the crowd goes wild with a collective. The sheer audacity of the reveal sends shockwaves through the room, with everyone screaming, "Amazing dash!" But Han Su Kang's reaction is next level, his eyes practically popping out of his head, as he gasps, "It came up dash." A gaunt, muscular man, bound by heavy chains, stands before him, his body scarred and his spirit seemingly broken. His eyes, once full of life, now hold only a vacant stare. Observing the figure, Han Su Kang thinks to himself, those empty eyes, and he's quivering from recognition. But as his appraisal skill activates, a brilliant blue light emanates from his eyes. He can clearly see the warrior's true worth. A translucent status window appears, revealing the man's details: a human, 28 years old, a mercenary with skills in spearmanship, tenacity, surviving, camping, and cooking, currently hungry and weakened. Han Su Kang muses, it's the guy's luck to have all the other skills. He's probably a born mercenary. Han Su Kang is not your average hero, he gets bored fast, can't stick to one thing for too long. He's checking out this chained warrior, thinking how annoying it usually is to get a suicidal slave to cooperate, which totally tanks their value. But not him. He's built different, seeing this warrior as the ultimate raw material for his plans. Han Su Kong, all business, tells the rabbit merchant to bid for Lenovo, and the merchant is hyped, shouting, "Oh yes." The auctioneer's voice drops the final countdown, those glowing orbs ticking away the last moments. The rabbit merchant is totally shocked, announcing the suicidal slave just got snagged for a steal, and congratulating the guy in the wolf mask. Alex, nearby, is absolutely floored when he hears the warrior is level 286, shouting that this guy is practically his rival. That kind of comment. It would definitely make the future Sword King crack a smile. This warrior's insane level. It's simple, he's been everywhere, killed everything, a true legend forged in endless battle. But hey, that's still no walk in the park. And just like that, the guide wraps up the contract, appraisal over. Deep in the black market's shady corners, all sorts of deals are going down. The black market contract sign screams out, this is where the real shady stuff happens. Han Su Kang's about to bounce, and Lenovo's like, Hieronym, you're seriously leaving? But he just tells them to keep shopping, he'll be back. Then, a sharp, metallic clang. A hammer slams down with absolute finality. The sound ringing out as Han Su Kang suddenly feels sick to his stomach. He then casually drops the bomb, I bought it, my lord. Alex is absolutely floored, never imagining the hero would actually buy slaves from the black market, that anything goes den of illicit goods. The rabbit merchant is absolutely buzzing about his latest haul, calculating that an hour of this intense trading is like 5 hours of regular grind. While Han Su Kang's eyes ignite with an intense, electric blue flash. Elsewhere, Lenovo is just standing there, her dress draped perfectly. Her mind reeling with disbelief as she remembers his earlier commitments. He swore he'd pick up his crew and head back to the continent, even become a professor of ancient ruins. A tiny, snake-like thing wraps around her ankle, and she's thinking, more than anything. With glowing particles swirling around her feet. Back at the black market, the rabbit merchant, looking absolutely stunned, is still pushing his deal, hyping it up as a once-in-a-lifetime chance for anyone looking for an old-generation slave. Lenovo's mind is fixated on the idea of an elf, the ultimate race, the very core of humanity itself. Her eyes narrow as she finally realizes, it was a huge mistake to ever think of this world as just some fantasy without the elves. Masked and focused, Han Su Kang is locked in, gripping his tool with absolute determination. Failure isn't an option here. He's got his eyes on the prize, an unmarried noble elf, and he's already calling out everyone else's delusions. Elves are considered noble, right? But that's because their fertility is super low, a harsh price for their insane lifespans. Their birth rate is practically non-existent, like they're on birth control. And now, right here, is a bound elf, her stunning light hair a stark contrast to her captive state. The rabbit merchant spills the tea, she fled straight to the black market of the forest, and get this, they called her prey. The merchant turns to Han Su Kang, practically shouting, that this elf is seriously weird. Then he hits Han Su Kang with a question, asking why he's so chill now, after being totally disgusted before. Behind that mask, Han Su Kang's mind is racing, figuring the elf probably felt the same way, especially since she's clearly an incredible magician. His final thought is clear, this elf is absolutely special. He's locked onto a glowing purple system window, revealing the elf's insane stats, level 651, a master archer with top-tier archery, agility, light, and magic. But hold up, she's also cursed, sealed, poisoned, exhausted, and totally knocked out. With all those insane debuffs, he's thinking there's no other way. If he doesn't snag her now, it's a massive L for him. Her looks? Totally irrelevant to his game plan. He's still deep diving into that system window, level 651 and all those nasty statuses, thinking the most uncomfortable option is usually the winning move. Those curses, mana drain, skill seal, physical weakness, mental confusion, pain inducement, are so brutal, it's like she's in a hospital. He's already figured out that first curse had to be demon-made. Alive but mentally gone. That's messed up, and he's already questioning who's really pulling the strings behind her capture. The rabbit merchant spills the tea, confirming those brutal curses were slapped on her by the dark commerce just to break her will. That sneaky merchant, with a grin, shouts out another bid from the gentleman, hyping up the elf's already sky-high price, then tries to pressure him, asking if he's really got no other choice. He's staring at this stunning, unmarried noble elf, and it hits him, finding another one. Impossible. And he knows everyone else is thinking the exact same thing. Han Su Kang processes the situation, realizing the merchant's game. Since they're clueless about the elf's true power, they'll never go above a fair market value. But the rabbit merchant, ever the opportunist, tries to bait him, asking if anyone else dares to outbid him. Then, a chilling countdown pierces the silence, hitting 2. A guttural ugh rips from Han Su Kang as he feels a tremor, his eyes snapping to the ceiling. The rabbit merchant, caught off guard, stares in wide-eyed terror. Then, with an earth-shattering blast, the entire entrance is utterly annihilated. Outside, the earth itself cracks and glows with raw, destructive power, and Alex, witnessing the unfolding disaster, demands to know what the guards are even doing. Inside, Han Su Kang's face hardens, instantly recognizing this as an undeniable invasion. The rabbit merchant, now utterly terrified, screams that the tunnel is caving in, convinced they're all about to be crushed. A small, glowing green elemental tries to make a break for it, its form a blur of energy. But then, a colossal force just rips through the ground, tearing open a massive crater and blasting debris everywhere as an earth elemental unleashes pure destruction. The little elemental lets out a shocked gasp, its glowing eyes wide at the sheer power on display. And just like that, even more of these glowing green blobs pop into existence, their eerie auras pulsing with energy. These earth elementals. Just the warm-up act for a full-blown invasion, and seriously, do not underestimate them. Han Su Kang is absolutely floored, staring wide-eyed and asking himself, what in the world is happening? The shocking truth drops, it's elves. A full-scale elven invasion is tearing through the underground dungeon. Alex, always ready to defend, charges forward with a fierce look, barking commands to hold the line and shield their comrades. But on the other side, an invading elf smirks, spilling their secret plan. Some idiot noble made it too easy, letting them just waltz right in. Steel flashes and eyes gleam with deadly intent, as three armed elves stand poised, ready to unleash chaos. Han Su Kang is an absolute beast, a dark blur tearing through enemies with insane speed and power. He sends them absolutely soaring, their screams fading as they fall, but someone's already yelling to capture him. Then, with an epic power-up, his eyes blaze electric blue as he unleashes the raw power of the elements. A blinding blue aura explodes from him, ripping through every enemy in his path. A red-haired enemy gets absolutely rocked, his body spinning uncontrollably from the impact. Then, he unleashes a focused blast, smashing an armored foe with a final, explosive blue energy strike. A mysterious masked figure drops a bombshell, a royal family member is lurking in the shady market. Meet Elf Queen Sylvia. She's a princess now, but a coup d'état is coming for the Elf King, and she's next in line for the throne. She'd even quit adventuring, but destiny called her to the throne. She's not just the future elf queen, she was a previous member of his party. Here she is, with a little elf by her side. She quit adventuring to save her people, a true hero. But she hasn't joined his party yet, so her level is still low. Even with a low level, Sylvia unleashes a devastating, glowing attack, her war cry shaking the very ground. Just as her attack is about to land, a hidden enemy strikes back with brutal force, sending her flying with a shocked cry as a shadowy assailant appears. The Elemental S. Oh, it was a total nightmare, an absolute devil. Navigating the chaotic black market, a guide points the way, pulling the wolf-masked customer further into the shadowy depths, his words barely audible. He can't help but comment on how messed up this market is, putting dirty money ahead of actual lives in these crazy times, dripping with professional disdain. Watching Sylvia, Han Su Kang debates internally, Hero Nim, should we jump in and save her, a silent question hanging in the air. That look in her eyes is pure fire, a powerful surge of determination. He gets it now, she's all about helping the elves and making the black market pay. Sylvia spins around, telling him to just go to the evacuation shelter and chill, which totally baffles him. His eyes blaze red with fury as he snorts at her suggestion, yelling, "Are you serious?" Elsewhere, the rabbit merchant stares up at a captured mercenary, wondering what to do next, and if they should just let him die. In the heart of the black market's pandemonium, a masked Han Su Kang confronts the rabbit merchant, who can't believe the commander's moves, declaring that this isn't how anyone should live. Debris litters the ground, a grim testament to the danger, and they're the only ones left, the last customers who haven't bolted. Countless others have already been caught in the crossfire and died, but the rabbit merchant, with a fierce resolve, vows to take matters into his own hands. Close by, Sylvia, the elf queen, lays down the law to Han Su Kang, telling him to chill in the evacuation shelter with their last few elves. A deep thumping reverberates, mirroring Han Su Kang's boiling frustration, his masked expression clearly showing he's not happy about this command. Meanwhile, Alex is caught off guard, his eyes wide with shock, as he shouts, "Customer," in utter disbelief. Sylvia, completely unfazed by Han Su Kang's attitude, pushes him harder, insisting on an answer. "That elf is your companion, right? Tell me, that's right." Han Su Kang, after a beat, finally gives in, admitting that since she's been by his side all this time, she's absolutely his companion. Even with his confirmation, a defiant humph escapes him, his masked gaze still radiating a stubborn dissatisfaction. He's crunching the numbers, and the hero realizes his unique skill means 1 hour of effort is actually 5 hours of grind. Talk about efficiency. But before he can dwell on it, Alex chimes in, "You're seriously capable." The hero knows it's a setup to dump more work, so he plays it cool. "Oh, you flatter me too much." Alex, with a sly grin, announces, "Right, I'm off to tackle my other duties," and makes his exit. A sharp "ka" sound effect punctuates his frustration, clearly fed up with Alex's games. Watching Alex and Sylvia depart, he can't help but think, that guy looks like a fancy performer, but he's seriously dangerous. Their footsteps echo away, and he grimly realizes, okay, I'm starting to get where this is all headed. Then, a terrifying vision hits him, the future elf queen is going to be captured right here. And it gets worse, she'll be turned into a slave. He then has a chilling thought, if his past with the elf queen ever comes out, he's toast for rebellion. He also processes some black market intel, a cut of the auction profits goes to the families of fallen guards. He thinks, that sounds good, but... leaving the rest unsaid. Han Su-kong hits Sylvia with a greeting, and she's instantly on guard, but he's already locked in, ready to drop some truth bombs. Her eyes snap open, a jolt of shock hitting her. He lays out her future, predicting her surrender, and she gets it, the dark truth hitting hard. A heavy sigh escapes her, as she confirms his chilling prediction, utterly resigned. The scene flashes, Sylvia getting snatched by armored goons during the epic Hero Demon King showdown, a battle she wasn't even in. Grief-stricken, she'll betray her own, surrender, and live only for herself, the ultimate twisted gift from the story god. This grim future crushes her, her face a mask of pure, agonizing sorrow. Han Su-kong grips her hand, seeing the chilling resolve of self-sacrifice in her eyes. A fierce, sharp glint of resolve hardens his own face. The premonition flashed, revealing a tender, almost sacred embrace between Sylvia and another elf, a fleeting moment of calm before the chaos. But then, a brutal, shocking interruption ripped them apart. Sylvia's eyes snapped open, wide with pure terror and disbelief. And then the tears came, her face twisting into a mask of utter despair. Han Su-kong could only watch, a chilling truth dawning on him, this elf's very heart, her essence, was being passed down to him. He was inheriting her fate. The vision snapped back to Sylvia, her face a silent, agonizing scream of pure despair. He instinctively reached out, a desperate, raw plea tearing from his throat as the vision dissolved into a chaotic, swirling void, her name echoing in the darkness. But her voice, ethereal and distant, resonated with his own thoughts, she would no longer bear the crushing weight of her lonely existence. Her ring pulsed with a final, defiant glow. Her ultimate wish, for him not to be sad, but to find happiness, a final, heartbreaking image of her smiling with a child, a poignant farewell, her last words a powerful blessing for his future. He feels a gentle touch as Sylvia, her voice soft with emotion, offers her thanks. He simply replies, don't mention it. But then, a sudden surge of energy causes Sylvia to cry out, Master. His own eye glows with an intense light as he thinks, he could enjoy this moment too, because of her. Sylvia recoils, a vibrant aura flaring around her as if struck by an unseen force. Her face contorted in distress. He catches her as she falls, the weight of the moment settling upon him, realizing he had easily handled the curse of the devil, especially after killing a level 852 person. His own status remains unchanged, a human at level 1, with no hero experience, and a normal status, interpreted as a mud. A system notification flashes, Deep Fortitude E, and he lets out a heavy sigh, the full weight of this messed up system hitting him hard. A masked hero, absolutely radiating with crimson power, recounts how he skyrocketed in strength by taking down a high-level elf. His armored form, draped in a majestic purple cape, a clear sign of his insane power-up. He knows this kind of progress would take forever the normal way, but he's found a cheat code to power up without needing any special talent or bloodline. Standing triumphantly over his defeated foes, he's convinced that by just taking out stronger enemies, anyone can become incredibly powerful. Creating a world where everyone has the chance to get strong, a total open season for power. He's picturing a beautiful fantasy world, absolutely bursting with dreams and hopes. His glowing red eyes burning with resolve as he states this dream can only come true if he wins. Even as the hero, who had absolutely dominated the monster-slaying game, he couldn't shake the feeling that the EXP system was totally rigged against him. But hey, there was still a ton of EXP just waiting to be snatched up, and with a massive blue energy surge, he was ready to grab it all. He stared down at a shimmering blue portal, a direct gateway to insane challenges and massive gains. From its depths, a small, glowing hand shot out, heralding the arrival of something totally unexpected. A small, white-furred creature with glowing red eyes and razor-sharp teeth exploded out, clutching a tiny, menacing sword. With a sharp, chuck sound, it locked its grip, totally ready to strike. The creature lunged, its voice absolutely shrill as it shrieked, "How dare you speak to Master?" He just casually thought, yeah, not the kind of master I'd ever want, and realized this thing would be perfect for noob low-levelers who couldn't even land a hit. As the blade zipped right past his neck, he coolly reflected on his insane power, his level now a whopping 165, making everything he couldn't even fathom at level 4 totally doable. He remembers the ultimate sacrifice, a promise echoing in his mind, the Elf Queen's master will not have died for nothing. His eyes blaze with an unyielding fire, a vow etched into his very soul, the Elf Princess will never be enslaved. A guttural groan of impatience rips from him, it's time to make his dream a reality. Then, a crimson blur tears through the sky, Han Su-kong plummeting like a meteor. Below, Sylvia and a fierce elf warrior brace themselves, weapons ready, eyes locked on the incoming threat. Every muscle tensed, they prepare for impact. But in a flash, he slams down, not just landing, but utterly annihilating an incoming arrow with a single, devastating stomp. A blinding surge of energy erupts around him, a silent declaration of his arrival. Yet, even as he dominates, a flicker of frustration crosses his mind, his body still can't keep up with his overwhelming will. He's sizing up his own power, questioning if he's still got that primera juice. Those eyes? They're practically on fire, showing off the raw power just waiting to explode. And check out Princess Sylvia. She's locked and loaded, her stats are off the charts, but what's her game plan? Boom! A surprise hit sends blood flying. Even the hero can get tagged, and this one was way nastier than expected. But before they can even think about a follow-up, he explodes in dark energy, blitzing them with insane speed. He didn't even charge up his dagger, keeping it close for maximum impact, and let's be real, he's usually just deflecting arrows, not getting into brawls. Now, that dagger is dripping, ready to deliver the ultimate payback, and it's looking sharp. He screams, driving that blade right into the elf warrior, a lightning-fast, brutal counterstrike. The warrior reels back, screaming in pure agony, cursing the hero as the hit connects. He's hit. A brutal, unseen force slams into him, ripping a scream from his lungs as he's sent flying. He's airborne, tumbling helplessly as the attack's raw power sends him flying. Suddenly, a masked assailant materializes, uttering a chilling hello, as he's left speechless, utterly shocked. His eyes snap open, a mix of agony and disbelief etched into his face at the sight of his foe. But before the masked foe can even react, Han Su-kong unleashes a lightning-fast counter, a pure explosion of speed. His blade flashes, sinking deep into the elf warrior's shoulder with brutal precision. A savage yank, and the blade is torn free. The elf warrior screams, stumbling back as blood gushes from the fresh, gaping wound. High above, Princess Sylvia stares down at the bleeding warrior, her mind reeling, trying to comprehend the sheer power of the attack she just saw. Boom! A fiery explosion rocks Han Su-kong, sending him flying back with a scream. But he's not down. Han Su-kong snatches the masked elf, snarling, "You think my waist is just a piece of meat?" She doesn't even flinch. The elf warrior's body ignites with a furious red glow, channeling her power for another devastating strike. The inferno around her explodes, a vortex of pure power unleashed. But Han Su-kang's got a trick up his sleeve. Thinking about mortality and the friends he's made, he flips her own attack back, unleashing a colossal explosion with his elf body shield of friendship. Princess Sylvia, watching from afar, can only gasp in utter disbelief at the sheer power of his counterattack. The elf warrior, totally wrecked from that blast, is scrambling away, her footsteps pounding with pure panic. But then, a voice cuts through the chaos, demanding, if she's seriously going to fight again. Han Su-kong looms over her, sword out, a shocked expression on his face as he realizes this elf is still breathing. He raises his blade, a sharp impact sound following his swift motion. But instead of a killing blow, he clamps his hand over her mouth, a thought flashing through his mind, he couldn't actually be serious about ending her, right? He lets her scream, a dark thought echoing in his head, her beautiful scream could totally go on for a bit longer. Han Su-kong hoists her up by the neck, his face set as he declares, he absolutely cannot let her die. Calling her my friend, he's seriously worried that she can't just die from something lame like blood loss. He lets out a grunt of pure effort, as he starts to stabilize her condition, whatever it takes. Even as he's saving her, his mind is racing, calculating the true cost. If she just dies naturally, all that sweet experience he's about to rack up. Gone. Poof. A masked version of himself flashes in his mind, and he can't help but think, that's like throwing away 5 hours of grinding, just like that. But the elf warrior, her eyes blazing with pure, unadulterated rage, unleashes a primal scream, a desperate, furious order, kill this human. A whole squad of elves, absolutely seething, scream that they will never forgive him. And just to drive the point home, pure, unadulterated magic explodes, a terrifying mix of purple and orange light. Watching it all unfold from behind his mask, Han Su-kong just gets it. Elves, with their crazy long lives, are masters of hiding their real feelings, practically growing up as one giant family. He figures this whole family thing is both their biggest power-up and their ultimate Achilles heel. He's seen how losing someone can make them snap, and then it hits him, he's not alone out here. The guards are in a panic, desperately trying to seal off the escape route, one of them yelling. Screaming for them to block the exit and cover the wolf-masked customer, telling them to hurry and support his flank. But it's too late. A massive surge of power explodes from the masked figure, a primal roar tearing through the air as he unleashes a devastating, fiery attack. blasting through their defenses with insane power. The guards are stunned, realizing there's no way to stop him. The impact rips through the air. But just as fast, the masked figure gets blasted back, reeling from a sudden counterattack. Elsewhere, even though they're cornered, the elves are still fighting like absolute beasts, one of them screaming about the elementals. From afar, Sylvia watches the mayhem, looking like she's about to snap, her voice barely a whisper as she says, "Today will be my." Then, she throws down a challenge, demanding they reveal their true selves already, because this isn't the time for fighting cowboys. The fight is relentless, a hand caught in the chaos, blood exploding onto the battlefield, a brutal testament to the struggle. But Han Su Kong is relentless, a blur on his beast, his wolf mask a terrifying sight as he tears through the enemy lines. Then, a brutal blow slams into him, a guttural cry of pain as he's sent flying. He hits the ground, but his eyes blaze with resolve, ready to unleash a torrent of experience to turn the tide. Unwavering determination. But elsewhere, a hand ignites with raw, green power, as Sylvia prepares to unleash her devastating magic. Suddenly, a menacing, dark-armored figure steps out of the gloom, his glowing red eyes burning, locking onto the elf queen with predatory intensity. He challenges her directly, his voice a chilling growl, demanding to know if she's a demon, then quickly correcting himself with a sinister smirk. Below, the battlefield is a raging inferno, countless warriors locked in a desperate, brutal clash. Amidst the desolate ruins, Sylvia, now an arch-elf, stands as the sole survivor, but she's not the same, she's been fundamentally changed. But a chilling voice cuts through the silence, boasting that his interference has completely rewritten history. The fallout is brutal, with black magic, once almost wiped out, now on the verge of a terrifying comeback. Witnessing the sheer devastation, Han Su Kong, now an arch-human, can instantly grasp the immense death toll and the world's radical transformation, just by feeling the shifted power levels. The villain smirks, realizing Sylvia leveled up big time, but so did he, thanks to his timeline meddling. With a chilling resolve, the Dark Mage boss announces there's only one path left. As the stakes skyrocket, Han Su Kang's gaze sharpens, he absolutely cannot mess this up. The Dark Mage boss, eyes blazing with pure evil, dominates the crumbling landscape, roaring that his foe's end is here. Unleashing raw, dark power, he conjures earth elementals, shattering the very ground beneath them. The entire cavern groans, then violently collapses. Amidst the chaos, an elf warrior screams for everyone to flee to the surface, as another elf grimly acknowledges their dire predicament. Suddenly, the Dark Mage boss emerges, cloaked in a sinister horned mask, his aura dripping with pure malice. Sylvia, horrified by his unfolding scheme, confronts him, her voice a mix of disbelief and fury as she grasps his vile intent for the elf corpses. With chilling composure, he lays out his gruesome intent, exposing the dark truth: elf corpses are a high-value commodity. He elaborates, chillingly detailing how their very blood, purity, and bones serve as potent catalysts. And with a sinister knife in hand, he concludes, comparing the dismemberment of elves to a butcher's work, a truly horrifying declaration. The elf warrior is absolutely horrified, her mind blown by the Dark Mage boss's sick declaration, completely unable to process such evil. She's like, "Are you seriously gonna turn our home into a mass grave for everyone?" But the Dark Mage boss just laughs it off, totally enjoying her misery. He keeps on mocking her, saying she's the one who led her friend straight into a death trap, like a bunch of ants walking into a spider's web. His creepy masked face gets right up close, a chilling grin spreading as he asks if he's not totally right, his voice oozing with pure evil satisfaction. Then, bam. Sylvia's voice explodes, her eyes blazing with pure fury as she yells that this is all on him, shouting that if he hadn't messed with everything, none of this would be happening. But the elf warrior is still stuck in total despair, her mind consumed by the terrifying truth of their situation, whispering about how there's no way out. She keeps on freaking out, realizing the Dark Mage boss has been watching them forever, and has been cooking up this nightmare plan all along. Meanwhile, in some super bland, grey room, Han Su Kong is just standing there, facing away from us, staring super hard at this giant, blank wall. Somewhere else, a bald guy and a blonde woman are totally bugging out, staring at something off-screen, their faces screaming shock as one gasps, "Wait, it actually stopped." Imaries, Bao Tot, confronts Sylvia, demanding to know why her request is being ignored. Her face contorted in raw anguish, she screams, "Why are you protecting that demon?" But as the warrior collapses, Sylvia catches her, a silent promise of protection in her embrace. The Dark Mage boss, a cruel smirk twisting his lips, spits venom, all for some pathetic excuse of a friend who uses others for murder. His voice dripping with malice, he twists the knife, "You only care about your precious Hieronym." A chilling realization strikes the elf warrior, her eye reflecting the horrifying truth as if shattered by 1,000 shards of light. With the warrior broken in her arms, Sylvia's gaze hardens, challenging him, "And you expect us to protect humans? They're nothing without their hero, not even their king." A terrifying, triumphant grin spreads across the dark mage boss's face, his crimson eyes blazing as an ominous, purple-red aura erupts around him. And with a sickening crunch, his boot comes down, utterly obliterating a helpless creature beneath his heel. A sinister voice drops a chilling challenge to Sylvia, meet a third time, Sylvia. But elsewhere, the hero is already on the scene, standing tall after a brutal clash, his boots planted firmly on the blood-soaked ground. Imagine this, if you just kept doing the same thing for one whole hour. That would actually be like getting 5 hours of work done. Seriously. And after that epic, fierce battle finally wrapped up, it all just ended like this, no big deal. Honestly, it was a super privileged ending for her, right? A deep grumble rumbles from him, and his face just screams, I am not happy. Like the idea of a privileged end itself is just a personal attack on his entire being. Legend has it, a bizarre phenomenon only births witches, daughters branded as nothing but trouble and pure selfishness. But if you dared to ask the ancients why, their blunt answer would be, the god is a total idiot, a completely useless father. This explanation, as simple as it sounds, just leaves you staring blankly, totally baffled by the sheer audacity of it all. Elsewhere, Han Su-kang, radiating a subtle purple aura, can only sigh at his future, realizing his graduation is going to be an absolute nightmare. The injustice of it all sparks an outraged shout from the purple-haired guy, who just can't believe what he's hearing. Over in a lecture hall, Professor Sylvia, looking majestic in her red gown, hears a blonde student whine about aggressive elves starting a fight, as a rabbit-eared classmate calls out to Han Su. Still deep in his own head, Han Su-kang ponders the bizarre idea of pajamas bringing world peace, and cynically asks if he wouldn't have done more good by just conquering everything. Sylvia, on the other hand, is thinking about that idiot god who can't even handle his own kid, while a mystical text declares that pajamas and the hero, Han Su-kang, are the chosen ones of the god of magic. The rabbit-eared student, still talking to Han Su, tells him to snap out of it, and demands to know what he's actually seeing. A woman admits she's got no experience, and Han Su-kang is just straight up fed up with it all, letting out a frustrated grumble. But then, the professor, a small, round creature, pops up to challenge the whole idea of experience, while Han Su-kang just brushes it off, saying that's not what I'm after. A tough-looking guy chimes in, also admitting he's got no experience, but the professor quickly shuts down any negativity, warning against looking down on your teammates. The professor drops some deep wisdom about paradoxical sizes, dwarves as big as giants, giants as small as dwarves, and Han Su-kang is totally locked in, trying to process it all. With a powerful, glowing gesture, the professor lays it bare, Han Su-kang's knowledge is way too basic to be a real hero. And just like that, he hands him his homework assignment. With a purple-haired woman watching, the professor pushes him to rebuild, to smile through it all, even if everyone else laughs at his efforts. The professor totally gets it, this assignment is no joke, it's seriously tough. Later that night, totally wiped out on his bed, Han Su-kang finally processes the professor's words, giving a tired thanks for the homework. Still reeling from the professor's challenge, Han Su-kang can't shake the feeling that Sylvia totally dropped the ball, leaving him to deal with the fallout and a mountain of stress. But just as he's spiraling, a voice snaps him back to reality, demanding to know what's up. He looks up, and who else but Sylvia is just chilling, floating above him. He's like, what are you doing here, and she just casually drops that she's here to assist the hero Nim. But Han Su-kang is not having it. He's like, hold up, I left you to handle the black market. Your job was literally just to send those elf corpses home. He can't believe she messed up such a simple mission. Sylvia, looking totally busted, quickly blurts out that Professor Pajamas told her to come. She almost spills the beans on the professor's secret identity, but catches herself just in time. The focus shifts to the elf corpses, which are apparently super valuable magic materials, and Sylvia's earlier claim that she just couldn't leave them to rot on the black market. With a mischievous grin and glowing eyes, Sylvia drops the bombshell. She just wants to stop those elf corpses from being carved up and sold for a fortune, declaring that the dead don't deserve such respect. Sylvia wasn't letting up, demanding confirmation that he'd handled all those black market elf corpses he'd racked up in battle. It was a massive undertaking, hauling all those elf corpses from the 11th floor straight to the royal palace. And why? So he could snag those elf corpses for a steal. He'd paid off the black market to get the bodies to the palace, but Sylvia was all over him, demanding to know how he'd sweet-talk the elf princess. He shot back that elves were super touchy about their kingdom's dignity, but he'd already cut a deal with them, then demanded to know her angle. He'd just handed over all those black market elf corpses, and now he was stuck, with no easy way to get more. Just because he was the world-saving hero. Didn't mean freebies from the citizens, a chef declared, pushing his food. No travel funds meant he'd starve to death, even as a prince. He's still thinking about how everyone totally misjudged his power during the third summoning. Thinking he was just a measly level 4. This misjudgment was so huge, even the Elf King couldn't wrap his head around his daughter attacking the hero and getting taken out, which, honestly, worked out great for him. He's telling Sylvia that, conveniently, there were 0 witnesses when the Imperial Guards got wiped, and he even made sure to tell Lanwell it was a draw, all part of his master plan to spin the story. Elsewhere, a dude with a seriously angry grin catches wind of a wild rumor: the hero's job title apparently got switched to Undertaker. His face just gets even angrier, he's definitely not happy about this. Just as he figured, Han Su-kong can't do a thing about these rumors flying around, and Lanwell is absolutely loving it. He brushes it off as no big deal, telling himself there's no need to react to such childish taunts, all while eyeing a dropped snack. But Lanwell, grabbing him by the collar, is like, "Why are you even here?" and Han Su-kong just coolly answers, "No reason. Just strolling through." He calculates the sheer efficiency of his skills, realizing that just 1 hour of focused repetition could unleash the power of 5. But Lanwell, a sinister grin spreading across his face, practically snarls his excitement, his eyes burning with dark anticipation. Han Su-kong, however, just meets that challenge with a cool, almost mocking smirk, his confidence radiating. But before Lanwell can even blink, he explodes into action, a blinding glow erupting from his hand as he unleashes a lightning-fast counter. A bone-jarring thwack echoes as the hit lands square, sending Lanwell reeling back from the sheer, unexpected power, his smug grin instantly wiped away. His stats flash into view: a level 191 human swordsman, boasting swordsmanship, stamina A, and iron wall skills, with a status, expectant. This guy is a total powerhouse, ready for anything. Meanwhile, in a completely different dimension, a mysterious masked figure, radiating a soft purple aura, materializes against a stunning cosmic backdrop, her vibe totally otherworldly. She drops some seriously cryptic wisdom, advising to build harmony with a smile, but then warns that your opposite might just hate your guts. Lanwell, looking absolutely furious, drops a chilling declaration. "I've changed my job," he snarls, to Undertaker. But then, a confident, almost smug smile flashes across a young man's face. Eyes still closed in pure amusement, as he fires back, "To build your coffin, Alex." That taunt. It absolutely sets Lanwell off. His teeth grind, veins pop, and his eyes blaze with a terrifying, blood-red glow, barely containing a monstrous scream. Imagine, just 1 hour of repetition, and it's like 5 hours of grind. That's the kind of efficiency he's craving, and you can see the frustration on his face. But hold up, because elsewhere, a legend is being forged. The Sword King, Alex, isn't just tough, he's a born tank, an absolute wall of power. Forget what you heard, raw strength doesn't make a sword master, a weak swordsman is just dead weight, but Alex? He's got way more than just muscle. When you're the shield for your squad, you gotta be able to carve through enemies for ages, and Alex? He's a red-glowing enemy-slaying machine. And not just that, he's gotta bounce back like a boss, with insane endurance and grit, always standing victorious on the battlefield. Why will Alex be crowned a Sword King in the future? It's obvious, just look at those burning, fierce eyes. He's not just a human shield for his crew, he's out there crushing solo missions like it's nothing. But soon, he's gonna get a reality check on who's really at the top. Because the ultimate, top-tier Sword King is actually the hero. With his eyes burning crimson and dark markings blazing across his face, Han Su-kong flashes back to a pivotal moment, when a mysterious voice dared him to seize ultimate power, to become the Demon King himself. He just gives a casual shrug, a tiny pink-haired companion letting out a cute little laugh, as he coolly replies, "Who knows?" Looking back, he confesses he was just a rookie, admitting the Demon King was a master of manipulation, a verbal showdown he would have absolutely been crushed in. He would have been utterly annihilated in a battle of silver tongues. But even with that, the hero knows this is a massive win, a total flip from his old mindset that lies and deception were just for the pathetic, a belief he used to cling to like crazy. The scene cuts to 2 furious demons, one purple, one red, bickering about an apology and gearing up for the Demon King's big night, their shouts ringing in his mind. Cutting back to the present, Han Su-kong turns his gaze, a deep thought crossing his face, muttering, "I'm not so sure." He then dives into the ultimate efficiency hack: 1 hour of repetition equals 5 hours of grind, and now, the time has come for a game-changing decision. He knew the game, gotta keep up the level 4 charade. Deep in those ancient ruins, he could finally unleash his true power and level up in secret. Old him would have gone ballistic at any slight, but now, he's a master of endurance. He'd put up with a lot, especially from her, and a massive level up was just around the corner. His patience was stacked higher than a mountain of bodies, a true sign of his insane self-control. Then, a voice cut through his thoughts like a knife, demanding to know what went down with their new comrade. He noticed her subtly guarded vibe, and wondered if the black market had totally ripped her off. Elsewhere, a shadowy chamber was packed with towering stacks of sacks and barrels, a secret stash or forgotten path. With a worried gesture, she pressed again about their new comrade. Her face was serious as she clarified, pointing out that mercenary. He was just an EXP orb waiting to happen, but the professor, always looking out for his weak elf squad, had a whole different scheme in mind. Nah, this guy was gonna be a luggage carrier, a tool to dig up some ancient civilization secrets. Han Su Kang used to solo Fantasia, but now? No time to waste hunting for the perfect spot. He just knew it, all he had to do was hit the spots with what he needed, and he was golden. The professor was totally bugging out, wondering if the Sword King even saw him as an heir, especially after the news dropped that the Sword King, not him, was the real hero's heir. Talk about a motivation boost. He was practically shouting to his crew, the Sword King's power-up was so insane, even the palace chief was freaking out. But Han Su Kang, chill as ever, just thinking about how insane levels were and how his new strategy blew the old one out of the water. Seriously, 5 hours of grind in one. Why would anyone do it the hard way anymore? He mentally pulled up his stats, defense, attack, speed, magic, luck, and thought about intensity, realizing the total impact was just insane. Legendary gear, artifacts, power-ups, 5 hours of work in 1 hour, easy. No one could even keep up. The professor, still totally blown away by the news, couldn't help but notice how much the rapidly powering up Sword King looked like the legendary old Sword King. The brutal truth of his past return had forged an unshakable resolve within him. A chilling reminder that the puppet masters, the training staff, could, with a flick of their wrist, wipe out all his levels and skills at any given time. He scoffed at the hero's S-tier experience boost he'd once been granted, seeing it now as a total sham, a cosmetic illusion, a mere figment of a grand deception. With fierce determination, he declared that magic, sorcery, martial arts, elementals, engraving, and blessings were absolutely not his game. No, for him, science was the ultimate truth, the only power. From this moment on, he vowed to slash his experience gains and shatter his reliance on anything but himself. Han Su Kang stares down his gear, knowing it's all just temporary, destined for confiscation the moment he steps back on Earth. Even the legendary hero-exclusive Holy Sword is just another temporary trinket. Because let's be real, after taking down the Demon King, there's no way every single hero is getting a portable nuclear weapon to take home. A smirk plays on his lips, the gears turning in his mind. Elsewhere, a bald, bearded man with serious glasses eyes something off-panel, a silent observer. And a fiery red-haired woman, equally focused, watches the unfolding scene. Back in the chaotic market, Han Su Kang sighs, unimpressed by the meager offerings, while a tiny, blonde girl gazes up, her voice bubbling with excitement. Are you getting ready for the big adventure? He throws up a peace sign, a casual, almost mischievous grin on his face. Oops, forgot to tell you. No biggie, can wait. But the girl is all business, declaring, from today, we prep for the adventure. We're out as soon as those elf delegation papers clear. He's not walking. No way. He's all about that efficient, comfortable travel, even if it means dropping some serious cash. And why not? He's absolutely loaded. But watch out. What if some villager bails on safety, or a bunch of adventurers just won't listen? But it's all good. Money buys time and safety, a lesson he learned the hard way on his first run. This is gonna be a long trip, and they're gonna need the king's permission. But no worries, the king's a sure thing. He knows exactly what the Dumpling King wants. The king will totally give the green light, as long as Han Su Kang promises a quick return after his mission. But wait, is Alex gonna be a spy on their trip? Nobody knows. The kid asks if they're headed to the ruins, but he shuts that down with a firm no. He's locked in, ready for the next challenge, because they're about to face a truly mighty being. And who is this legendary figure? His spiritual teacher, Tony, the pub bartender. The guy's a total legend, a true master. He's also the ultimate physical power mentor, the one he's been searching for, the key to unlocking his true strength. He just randomly met him at the pub, but now, the stars have aligned. He can actually go back and train with him for this epic run. Flashback. A younger Sylvia, totally shocked, asks Elder Dongmin if it's even okay to compare someone to a filthy human, because, that's just super rude. She's totally confused, asking herself, why would Hero Nim, of all people, admire someone like that? Elder Dongmin, strolling through some gnarly ruins, just scoffs, straight up saying he looks down on humans because they totally deserve it. His face twists in pure rage, yelling, how could you even live among such filth and still talk about equality? Sylvia's jaw drops, but Elder Dongmin just offers to spill all the secrets, if they just get ready for the insane journey coming up. Suddenly, a royal messenger sprints up to Han Su Kang, urgently announcing that the Majesty needs him. Han Su Kang's eyes widen slightly as the messenger drops the bombshell. The elven delegation from Elfheim has officially landed. Elsewhere, Elder Dongmin manifests, his eyes blazing with an ominous red glow as a potent crimson aura erupts around him. It hadn't even been a day since the hero showed up, and already, people from other worlds were pouring in. Maybe it's because their precious hero is already out of the picture. A mysterious golden crown-like artifact hovers, and a thought screams through the void, Princess Pajama's man. Han Su Kang's eyes widen in shock, but then a sly grin spreads across his face. Perfect. No more waiting around for me, he thinks, clearly up to something. Cut to Han Su Kang, coolly sitting at a table, giving orders, tell the king he can make whatever deal he wants. My mission? Rescue the princess. And get this, a whole delegation is now demanding to meet the hero. But elsewhere, Princess Sylvia is stuck in a glowing prison, desperately telling a guard, tell them I refuse. The guard just shrugs, yeah, that's gonna be tough. Han Su Kang's eyes snap open, a look of pure shock on his face as he hears about the delegation. And here they are. The delegation, led by none other than Elphium's first prince, makes a dramatic entrance, their every step echoing with power as they march down a lavish red carpet, surrounded by mysterious hooded escorts. Han Su Kang, cloaked in the shadows of his own resolve, declares his unwavering commitment to power, swearing to level up while everyone else is sleeping, because he literally has no other option but to go all out. But across the realm, as twilight descends, a massive castle looms, its ancient stones ready for a new arrival. And inside, the opulent hall is set, chandeliers blazing, ready for the main event. Then, through the grand entrance, Elphium's first prince strides in, with Princess Sylvia right by his side, her face giving nothing away. The prince shoots her a look, and Sylvia just barely manages a soft, no. He keeps his eyes on her, a clear sign that the prince himself is leading this delegation of royal elves and arch-elves, and it's clearly a huge burden. Elves. They're basically immortal. Anti-aging, disease-proof once they level up, and they only die if someone actually manages to kill them. Seriously, even the most terrifying monsters out there struggle to take down these royal powerhouses. His level is gonna skyrocket. And even though some might lose life levels using crazy powers, the Elfheim first prince. Nah, his will just keeps growing. So, hit max level, and you're basically immortal and infinitely powerful, right? Skills and magic scale with rank. But for arch-elves like him, they've got all that power on tap, always. He's standing there, in this epic glowing archway, and his status? It's undeniable, he's an arch-elf, a total powerhouse with insane potential. A being of immense power, a monster of a different kind, is unleashed upon the world. This is the power of an arch-elf, a complete antithesis to their ordinary kin, hitting an insane level 999, letting them unleash even the most epic, time-consuming magic instantly. This inherent luck also grants them an invisible power level, making them absolutely untouchable, even by the wild elves. Meanwhile, in a completely different scene, Han Su Kang and another guy are locked in, watching something go down. Back in the ethereal void, the Elfheim first prince is just radiating power, glowing with an otherworldly aura. His eyes blaze with a fierce, red light as he flashes back to a past confrontation, thinking the demon king Fedenar was way weaker than he expected. Later, chilling in a grand hall with two other dudes, the prince thinks back on the danger he's faced, and realizes the handsome guy in front of him is way more dangerous. He figures it's probably because his last opponent wasn't someone he had to fight to the death for the demon king, hinting at a much deeper, more personal threat from this new guy. The stage is set for an epic honorary ceremony, celebrating the hero and the elves. And then, a new player steps into the spotlight, introducing himself with a flourish, Nasus. Nasus, now the Prince Regent of the Elves, addresses the hero directly, and Han Su Kang can't help but think this guy is surprisingly cool, a stark contrast to his initial impression. But then, a chilling memory of Sylvia flashes through his mind, a stark reminder that not all elves are as chill as Nasus, some are downright terrifying. Snapping back to reality, Nasus is practically radiating good vibes, super hyped to finally meet the legendary hero. Han Su Kang, feeling the weight of the moment, offers a silent prayer, hoping for the best in this new alliance. A powerful handshake seals the deal between the two leaders, and the crowd goes absolutely wild, celebrating the new era of human-elf harmony. Nasus, now fully embracing his new role, is totally digging being Prince Regent, even with the old-school knight as his mentor, and he's even leveling up his skills with his visual teacher. With a triumphant, almost cheeky grin, he raises his drink high, while in the shadows, the dark mage boss looms, a chilling reminder of battles past. The new Prince Regent, Nasus, is seen with a glowing orb, a powerful symbol mirrored by the hero, Han Su Kang, who also wields a radiant sphere. Moving to a more formal setting, Nasus is stoked to finally meet the hero, and Han Su Kang is just as hyped to meet the Prince Regent. Nasus, with his eternal life, knows the deep truth: eternity is a double-edged sword, a blessing and a curse, because if you're not careful, time just slips away. Han Su Kang is totally shocked, and Nasus drops a major compliment, recognizing the hero's awesome qualities. Nasus confesses he actually loved seeing the hero's wild side, and Han Su Kang blames his own rowdiness on pure excitement and maybe a few too many drinks, but Nasus just shrugs it off, saying it's all good. Han Su-kang takes a moment to process all this, a deep, thoughtful look crossing his features. He's totally won over, liking Nasu's even more, finding absolutely nothing to criticize about his level, looks, powers, philosophy, or manners. The guy's flawless. Nasu's, on the other hand, is thinking about the hero, seeing him as the ultimate gentleman, a total modern man. He ponders that the kindness in someone's eyes is the real treasure, the ultimate currency. He's diving deep into the archives, remembering how some ancient figure got completely wiped out for holding on to something totally worthless. For thousands of years, the elven bloodline has been untouchable, a race that's literally lived for ages, never really messing with Fantasia, and even today, their blood is like, super sacred. He's thinking about Sylvia, who was so beautiful she made other elves look basic, but she was always holed up in her lab, like, that was her whole life. But even with all that beauty, Sylvia was the one who just trashed elven tradition, seriously believing that being born an elf was a total disgrace. And if a human showed up, she'd totally flirt with them, but it was all just a front for her messed up experiments. She was a full-blown witch, experimenting on humans, and honestly, he finds that kinda messed up, but also, weirdly fascinating. No wonder she was impossible to track down, and he's even thinking, can I just get a drop item to drag her to my lab? He told Sylvia countless times to stop looking down on humans, but she just always laughed it off, like it was a joke. He always knew this day was coming, but it still hits him hard, a deep sadness as he processes it, his internal status flashing, max level. As the Elfheim first prince, Nasu's, reflects on Sylvia's path. It all clicks into place for him, the Elf King's long-standing illness paved the way for his own rule as first prince. And even if he stole the throne, everyone knows he's an incredible forest elf. Now facing the hero, Nasu's drops a bombshell, he's terrified Sylvia's death is going to become the future. Reaching out desperately, he practically begs Han Su-kang, the hero Nim, to help Elfheim. He asks if Han Su-kang is clueless about all this, but the hero just gives a confident, bring it, ready for anything. Han Su-kang's eyes widen in shock, a clear, escaping him as the weight of it all sinks in. Then, Nasu's unveils a stunning, emerald green blade, declaring it his personal chest sword, Endymion. He clarifies that Endymion is one of their kingdom's 3 holy swords, and makes a crucial request, bring it back after you get the holy tree. Beneath the massive full moon, Han Su-kang now grips the holy sword, poised for his next epic mission. Sylvia can't help but let out an awestruck gasp, her eyes fixed on the blinding radiance of the holy sword, Endymion, now in the hero's grasp. But then, as the prince waits for his response, Han Su-kang drops a bombshell, coolly stating, I won't forget your sincerity. And then, with a shocking, unyielding declaration, he flat out says, I'm sorry, but I have no intentions of returning the Endymion. A sly, knowing smirk spreads across the Elfheim first prince's face as he shoots back, oh, I really won't forget that. Behold. One of Elphium's legendary 5 treasures, the elemental sword Endymion, radiating pure power. A weapon so crucial to the kingdom's destiny, and get this, he was there, helping Sylvia defeat the enemy to claim it. Even as the Prince Regent, he'd never been able to wield a blade this epic, but now, a new opportunity for the kingdom's comeback had arrived. He just couldn't fathom losing it so fast. He just knew the hero was built different, capable of pulling off the impossible. A wave of guilt hit the hero for not just giving up the sword, but he had to stick to his own game plan. His choice wouldn't shatter their trust or friendship, even if Prince Nasu's had explicitly requested Endymion's return once the holy sword was secured. But here's the kicker, he had 0 plans to get the holy sword, let alone take down the Demon King. A blinding flash erupts, tearing through the void. And he sees himself, engulfed in a furious crimson aura, proclaiming that this raw power is absolutely enough to obliterate the Demon King. Back in the present, Sylvia checks out a new artifact, commenting that the hero is totally going to love it, and Nasu's is right there with her, agreeing enthusiastically. It's a sword, its hilt gleaming on a plush cushion, and someone reveals that its sheath is forged from actual blue dragon scales, prompting an awestruck ooh. Sylvia then shares her personal taste, declaring that she's all about sword-type weapons because they're just so much more provocative. But then, after a brief pause, she concedes that this purple one isn't half bad, and she'll totally get used to its vibe in time. Nasu's, now gripping the radiant purple blade, practically glows with excitement, feeling an undeniable bond and shouting that they've formed an epic team with Endymion. Still hyped about the elemental sword, the Elfheim first prince declares, Hero Nim is seriously strong, by the way. He boasts, a smirk playing on his lips, as a level 4, I've always been pretty strong, you know. But Han Su-kang's mind is elsewhere, a shadow crossing his face as he muses about the weapon, Endymion would be tough to wield. Unaware of the hero's deeper thoughts, the prince just laughs. His booming laughter filling the air as he exclaims, totally what I'd expect from Hero Nim. The two share a brief, jovial moment. Yet, Han Su-kang's mind snaps back to a darker truth, a chilling thought forming, this guy, he actually sensed my power level. His gaze falls upon the unconscious Sylvia, and the chilling truth hits him, he probably figured out that the human who took out his little sister, Sylvia, was the hero. The Elfheim first prince stares out, a chilling thought hitting him. Was this whole treasure exchange just a test from the hero? If that's the case, he realizes, this hero is seriously scary. How did he even know that the prince's power would drop the moment he got everything he ever wanted? Back with Han Su-kang, he's standing before the Elfheim first prince, and it looks like the deal is done. Days pass, and a whole convoy is cruising down a long road, taking the hero far from the Elven kingdom. Han Su-kang lets out a satisfied sigh, thinking, that deal was totally worth it. He went from zero to hero, literally, in just 3 days. His status screen pops up, confirming the massive travel funds and his new level, a whopping 204. He's a high-ranker swordsman, totally owning the elemental sword skill. His grip tightens on the legendary elemental sword Endymion, a symbol of his insane new strength. He's leveled up, now a porter and an archaeologist, ready to hit that gold grade. But hold up, a voice in his head is screaming, disagree. Elsewhere, a horned, red-skinned demon is absolutely raging, screaming that, save me, is only for those who've already hit rock bottom. Back at the Elfheim Palace, the first prince is deep in thought, totally sure the hero has some master plan behind everything he's doing. But Han Su-kang is on a whole other wavelength, declaring, he's not about to be a slave forever, so he's pushing back his return by a full 100 days. Later, he turns to a new companion, a blonde woman, and casually drops, Lenovo, let's hit up the Magus Tower. Chibi Lenovo's jaw drops, asking, if he's seriously going to use the spatial transfer magic circle. But Chibi Han Su-kang just shrugs, thinking, wouldn't it be way cooler to just go on an adventure instead? And just like that, the preparations are done. He checks out this massive, muscular dude, fully geared up and ready to roll. After a serious glow-up, with plenty of food and care. Now that he's buffed up, he's perfect for carrying stuff. So, he gets straight to the point, asking. The big guy thinks back to his past, how after becoming a slave. He bows his head, totally submissive, and says. He's already over it. No way he's wasting time on a slave, even a super strong one. Lenovo, with some tech in hand, just casually renames the muscular guy, Porter, because he's gonna be their travel assistant. Talk about a quick rebrand. She thanks him, and Porter's already on it, suggesting they head straight to the Magus. Check out their destination. A massive, epic tower piercing the heavens. They've arrived. Lenovo makes the call, and Han Su-kang is just staring up at this colossal building. This place is like a magical airport, buzzing with endless flights. This is it, the Tower of Magus. The official HQ, and you can practically feel the raw magic radiating from it. Han Su-kang's like, why is it called a tower when it's this huge? Turns out, the first founder built it. Sylvia drops some knowledge, being a Magus is super man-intensive and takes forever to craft stuff, so the tower's basically their essential home base. Staring up at the colossal edifice, Han Su-kang can't help but ponder the age-old clash between magic users and city dwellers, a volatile mix just waiting to explode. The old-school magi knew the deal, magic could blow up at any second, making focus impossible, blocking out the cosmos, and demanding constant watch over mana surges. So they cooked up some wild ideas to live right in the city. Their answer. A totally radical building design. First, they thought, hey, a short tower, but being too close to the ground was a recipe for disaster with all that raw magic. So, they came up with the ultimate hack, a tower built way up, a mind-blowing floating fortress in the sky, ready to greet anyone who dares to show up. The moment they step up, a mage in slick purple robes drops into a deep bow, giving them the VIP treatment at the Magus Tower. Taking it all in, Han Su-kang gets it, the sheer power and grind needed, it's why only a total legend can ever hit Archmage status. Then, the mage demands proof of identity, and a hand flashes out, showing off an ID seal, a permit, and a personal letter from the king himself. Seeing the royal letter, she instantly figures their whole visit is tied to whatever's written inside. Han Su-kang is in deep thought, calculating the ultimate efficiency hack. He figures if he just repeats something for an hour, it's like getting 5 hours of work done. A quiet escapes him, as the genius of his idea sinks in. But back in the chamber, the old mage is already at work, standing over a pulsating magic circle as a voice calls out to him. He spins around to face Han Su-kang, Sylvia, and Lenovo, a bit flustered, wondering if he has to send them through again. Han Su-kang tells him to focus, calling out his distraction, and the mage quickly apologizes, confessing he was totally spaced out by the weird magic. But inside his head, the mage is fuming, thinking this magician is basically a criminal. He quickly distracts himself with dreams of chicken and beer after work, while Han Su-kang, totally unaware of the mage's mental breakdown, is just impressed by the setup. The mage convinces himself it's all good as long as the synthesis magic circle fires up, while Han Su-kang ponders the tower's inhabitants, and with a burst of intense magical chants, the whole crew, Han Su-kang, Sylvia, Lenovel, Porter, and the Elfheim First Prince, plunges into the dazzling portal, vanishing from sight. The magic circle flared, engulfing Han Su-kang and his entire crew, Lenovel, Sylvia, Porter, and the Elfheim First Prince, in a blinding flash, as the old mage witnessed their instantaneous departure. Just like that, the transfer was done. A mage-robed woman greeted them, as a sharp-dressed man boasted, he had just slashed a year-long trip down to 1 second. A sinister grin spread across the man's face, his purple hair and glowing eyes burning with satisfaction as he reveled in escaping all the inevitable headaches of a year-long trek. His fist clenched, a silent, powerful declaration of his absolute delight, as he muttered, he really liked it. Suddenly, the entire temple starts to violently shake, massive stone structures ripping apart and collapsing into a chaotic cloud of dust and debris. Amidst the chaos, a young woman screams, the temple is collapsing. She frantically yells for everyone to run, to pour all their power into getting to the entrance. As debris rains down, Lenovel, running with Han Su-kang, can't believe they're suggesting going into a collapsing temple, exclaiming that as an archaeologist, she just can't pass up a place like this. Her eyes wide with concern, she urgently warns him, it's dangerous. Han Su-kang lets out a sharp cry, as the destruction around them ramps up. Then, with a terrifying rumble, huge chunks of the ceiling and walls just gave out, sending a deadly cascade of debris raining down. The whole place was instantly plunged into total darkness, swallowed by dust and the sheer, crushing force of the collapsing temple. When the dust finally started to clear, Han Su-kang's eyes were wide with pure terror, his voice a desperate gasp as he cried, Lenovel. His plea exploded into a desperate, anguished scream, his face twisted in pure agony as he yelled, Lenovel. There's no hope. But across the chaos, a fierce, red-haired woman was dragging Lenovel through the collapsing ruins, her voice cutting through the noise with a dire warning, if we don't hurry, we'll all be buried alive. Back in the wreckage, Han Su-kang collapsed to the ground, his body battered and spent, as a faint voice pleaded, go. Hero-nim. Completely crushed by the catastrophe, he stared into the void, his hand reaching out in a desperate, final gesture, muttering, this must be my end. But somewhere else, the fierce red-haired woman burned with an unyielding resolve, her eyes blazing as she made a desperate, silent plea, please, defeat the Demon King and save this world. Then, a chilling silence falls. Suddenly, as the temple violently collapses, debris raining down, a red-haired man, eyes wide with urgency, is caught in the chaos, a desperate cry of, hero, urging him to move. He pushes through, his powerful leg driving him onward through the crumbling ruins. A solid thud as his foot connects with the unstable ground. He bolts through the destruction, dragging Lenovel with him, who barely keeps up. Meanwhile, a blue-haired man grimaces, a sinister smirk on his face as he whispers about the unfolding events. His eyes blaze with a sinister purple glow as he grins maniacally, shouting his approval of the absolute chaos. Lenovel, still being hauled along, can only think about how the hero dragged her into this, wishing the Demon King would just die already. A brutal close-up shows the blue-haired man's bloodied leg, clearly injured, yet he cackles, claiming this whole mess just saved him a ton of effort. Han Su-kang is hit with a game-changing system message, 1 hour of repetition equals 5 hours of work. His face says it all, this is a grind, but a powerful one. Meanwhile, as night falls, a cozy campfire lights up the darkness, setting the scene for what's next. But the chill of the night is broken as the fiery-haired hero makes her demands known, dinner, now. An imposing elderly man steps in, pointing a finger and laying down the law, the blue-haired man is on chore duty. And not just that, he's gotta secure the camp and cook dinner too. The blue-haired man's face twists in disbelief. The blue-haired man's eyes practically ignite with fury. He's screaming internally, I'm the hero. Why am I stuck with this grunt work? But the old man isn't backing down, his finger still pointed, dropping the truth bomb, the blue-haired man is the biggest slacker. And with that, the blue-haired man's hand clenches, his face a mask of pure, unadulterated fury as the old man delivers the final, crushing blow, it's you. Defeated, the blue-haired man later mopes by the fire, grumbling about how everyone else, even Lenovel, was terrible at chores anyway, totally justifying his current misery. Absolutely fuming from being treated like dirt, Han Su-kang explodes, screaming about being a slave and wondering why he even put in the effort. Right next to him, Lenovel just looks down, letting out a tiny, confused "ing." Then, with total chill, she drops the bomb, look, I'm a princess and a hero, so why would I do chores? Her words, plus his own exhaustion, hit him like a truck, and he feels himself plummeting, his brain short-circuiting as all his power just vanishes. Still falling into the abyss, he can only mutter, ah, damn, wishing he'd known this was coming. Completely crushed by everything, he just breaks down, tears streaming. Reduced to a floating, ghost-like form in the dark, he's filled with regret, thinking he should have just saved Lenovel and dragged her along, no matter what. But even in this total breakdown, a spark ignites. He decides it's time to get myself together. His ghost self, now just a tiny dot, floats away, carrying the silent promise of his comeback. Out of the crushing darkness, a voice cuts through, a desperate call for the hero. His eyes snap open to Lenovo, her face a mask of worry, demanding to know if the hero is okay. Han Su Kang's head spins as he takes in a strange new place, his mind racing to figure out his location. Then, a sudden jolt of realization hits him, it was only a dream. A wave of pure relief washes over him, as if an actual angel has appeared, bringing solace to his troubled mind. The truth dawns on him, they're in the waiting room of the Demon Lord's tower, and the hero is right in the middle of a daring escape. A relieved smirk crosses his face as he thinks, everything's going according to plan. But Lenovo is already moving, heading to the other side, her next move a mystery. She glances back, a soft smile gracing her features, relieved that he's out of harm's way. Still locked in on his companion, he hears her voice cut through the air. He grits his teeth, a silent vow to endure this madness, because if he lays a hand on her, his path to Porter is gone forever. He makes a solemn vow, no more screw-ups with Lenovo, not like the first time. This round, things are different. Touching down, a single thought explodes in his head, this alien world, with tech like this? Lenovo, seeing his jaw drop, just shrugs, why the shock? He blurts out, I thought you were just a mage. And she, cool as ice, replies, I am a mage. But deep down, she can't shake it, this journey feels less like an epic quest and more like a chore. Han Su Kang explodes, Lenovo, what more do you want? We're literally teleporting with magic. But she fires back, just zipping around without knowing anything. That's not easy. He finally spills the beans on why he kept her, she's a magic powerhouse, capable of wielding all sorts of advanced tech. Lenovo, nodding to herself, thinks she's onto something. But Han Su Kang shuts her down instantly, roaring that there's no loot or power-ups without grinding, and orders her to zip it. He knew the grind, 1 hour of focused repetition equaled 5 hours of normal work, a mindset he lived by, even as he barked, just shut your mouth and follow me. But his companion was clearly thinking, Hieronym, I know this place better, as they rolled up to the Mercenary Guild sign. He immediately started calculating, Merchant Guild. Blacksmith Guild. Gotta snag a ride if possible, maybe even cure a merchant's daughter's infection, anything for that sweet efficiency boost. His brain was already running the numbers for the fastest level up, reputation, and cash flow, but he scoffed at the thought of wasting time on minor quests, exclaiming, I don't have time for such a useless part-time job, you know. As he kept mulling over part-time gigs, Lenovo, utterly fed up with his tunnel vision, shot back with pure sarcasm, so, you've concluded we're not in a hurry, huh? Help me. Orcs are attacking. I need a super healing potion. That's. He's not just calm, he's unbothered, stating he's in no hurry whatsoever, even as a phantom cry for help rings in his ears. Lenovo, totally fed up, snaps at him to listen, yelling they're out of time. But he's still stuck on that plea, asking if they should really be mining or when they're literally in a goblin-infested zone. He just brushes her off, declaring he'll blow them down. And when she tries to find a workaround, he just tells her to shut up and follow if she can't keep up, leaving her with no choice but to agree. Beneath the silent crescent moon. A tiny, glowing-eyed owl creature seems to react to his declaration, whispering a quiet no, into the darkness. Han Su Kang, eyes blazing with purple energy, can't even fathom useless adventures, it just doesn't compute for him. He flashes a smug grin, asking if she's feeling better now that he's laid it all out, but then quickly backtracks, realizing that's not what he truly intended. Lenovo, absolutely fuming, tells him to wipe that smug look off his face, but he just brushes her off with a casual, yes, as she gives up, utterly defeated. With a defeated sigh, she finally admits he's reasonable. The adventure rolls on. Lenovo, buzzing with anticipation, can't help but ask, Hieronym, is this where we're headed? Han Su Kang, with that signature intensity, declares, if you're chasing glory, I'm about to deliver. But Lenovo, ever the worrier, can't let it go, exclaiming, we're on a tight schedule. 2 days of travel for this mountain village. Could this be tied to the Demon King's evil plot? Strolling into the village, Han Su Kang just shuts her down with a blunt, shut up. His eyes locked forward, he adds, especially in this sacred spot. The quaint village structure stands silently. And Han Su Kang realizes the village looks exactly like his first run-through, only this time, he's 9 years ahead of schedule. Arriving at a sturdy wooden door, he raps sharply, announcing, there's Master, are you there? And from inside, a voice booms back, I am Professor Heroes. He's just standing there, but then a voice cuts through, demanding his teachings. A young child, looking up at a woman beside them, softly asks about someone named Malang. Meanwhile, a sharp sound draws Han Su Kang's attention, causing him to glance back over his shoulder. He, Porter, and the woman stand before a rustic building, a narration box declaring that a man is living there, suggesting a new encounter is imminent. A wooden door creaks open, revealing the interior. Han Su-kang confronts the woman directly, demanding to know her identity. The child, looking surprised, then asks if he knows their Malang. Han Su-kang, deep in thought, realizes the woman is the daughter of this village's chief. 20 years. Can you believe it? He's just now realizing how much time has flown by since he first stumbled upon this place, back when the girl he's talking to was just a little kid. Today, the hero's memories are bright, but let's rewind a bit, because the past was a whole different vibe. This was way back, 5 years before that baby was even born, when the village chief's daughter was still in her prime. His childhood memories aren't just some crazy dream, but here's the kicker, that powerful being is still chilling in the village chief's house. The village chief's daughter is all like, "Excuse me, Hironim," and he's totally thinking about this great being she keeps bringing up, the one she talked about after turning down all his epic quests. Lenovo spots this weird green blob and asks, "Is that just a slime?" but gets instantly shut down with a, "Lenovo, shut up." He's like, "No cheesy comments about this thing," because apparently, only high-ranking folks can even see the true form of the hero's great being, and that's straight up in the kingdom's records. He turns to Lenovo, totally roasting her, "Your eyes are just for show, you fool, because this isn't just any slime, okay?" Then, he totally flips, he's right. Malang is cute, admitting this slime is way different and way cuter than all the others. He's thinking, why even bother explaining when he can just show these stupid barbarians what's up? Then, he turns to Lenovo, casually asking to hold this cute and fluffy thing, only for her to instantly correct him, "It's Malang." Her face totally changes, pure shock as Malang actually seems to react. With a soft touch, he calms the slime, promising it'll all be okay. Malang then plops onto the ground with a little "pio" sound. But just like that, it springs right back up, landing perfectly on his chest, jiggling happily. And as it chills there, a soft, otherworldly glow starts radiating from the slime, with little sparkling particles dancing around it. The light just explodes, showing off Malang's true, vibrant essence. His eyes, now blazing with an inner power, lock onto the creature, and a deep understanding hits him as he declares it the most perfect creature he's ever known. An insane surge of raw power just washes over him, hitting him with a profound sensation that echoes through his very being. This is it, he realizes, this is the true feeling of immense power, the real deal. But then, a thought hits him, a deeper understanding that the human body is impermanent. A mere vessel for magic, controls, and power. Seriously, no matter how much you train, if you can't truly use your own body, then it's all for nothing. It's a fragile vessel that can't fully contain a soul, but it's also capable of becoming more than just a vessel, if you can just find the true power of another. Divine power, magic, controls, they're all the same, he once thought, but he was so wrong. It was all in vain. As these glowing green bubbles float around him, he understands that these things are all the same, and the body they chose is a slime, a super special body. With his eyes blazing with newfound insight, Han Su-kang realizes it's a special body by itself, inherently powerful. He's still reeling from the sheer, mind-bending truth he's just grasped, a scientific insight that shatters the very fabric of fantasy itself. This isn't just some minor discovery, it's something that blasts past the wildest dreams of humanity, leaving his crew utterly stunned as Lenovo can only manage a bewildered, "Hironim." It's not just human limits, it blows past the very boundaries of magic, he declares, clutching Malang and confirming his insane theory, Malang is a special body. This isn't just a thought anymore, he's seen it, felt it, and Malang's existence is now burned into his soul. Then, out of nowhere, automatic system control kicks in. His entire crew is left speechless, eyes wide with disbelief. His muscles explode, ripping his clothes to shreds. Pure skeletal muscle just appears. He's absolutely bulking up, leaving his friends utterly flabbergasted by the insane power-up. His crew is absolutely floored, staring wide-eyed at the newly jacked Han Su-kang. Lenovo can barely breathe, demanding to know how he pulled off this insane transformation, and Sylvia's already worried about Master Malang getting caught in the crossfire of his new power. Lenovo, still trying to process the sheer muscle mass, starts grilling him about protein assimilation and growth hormones, completely missing the point that the human body's organs are usually on autopilot, controlled by the autonomic nervous system, totally out of conscious reach. All those crucial functions, heartbeat, digestion, hormones, even building muscle, they just happen, no matter what you want, which makes Han Su-kang seriously question if he could somehow hack into and control all of it himself. But for Malang, it's a whole different ballgame. Total control over its own body is just, like, its default setting, a power so fundamental and obvious that you could never, ever teach it to anyone else. This one-of-a-kind, special existence, radiating from Malang's very core, is clearly built to last, and for a very long time at that. And its main superpower, the ability to be soft, is what truly makes it unstoppable. After Malang's incredible gift, unlocking the secrets of automatic system control and even granting him access to noble knowledge beyond the creature's own will, This incredible breakthrough ignited a powerful declaration within him, "Thank you, Master Malong." Just as the system confirmed his new automatic system control skill and a shattered fist lore, making him feel absolutely unstoppable, a new player entered the scene. Eun-ha immediately called him out, scrutinizing his documents and asking if they were from his journey or some kind of weird demon contract. He instantly realized he couldn't let her see what was coming, the brutal method he was about to use to seize that demon power. He's facing off against a mysterious purple-clad figure, who's totally calling him out for not knowing about the system he literally made. Eun-ha, with those intense red eyes, just shuts him down, telling him he's totally stuck in the past. She keeps going, basically saying he has no right to talk about effort, even if he was some kind of god. Then, a beat of silence, as Eun-ha just thinks. But then, she totally flips, admitting he's right and even apologizing for her staff, because apparently, Han Su-kong was the first person to ever get recognized for his combat skills. She's kicking herself for not knowing his efforts earlier, admitting she had no idea a human made the system, and now she's done arguing for him. Han Su-kong is completely stunned by her confession, and even Malong on his head is apologizing, but he's totally lost on what the little guy is saying. He's still super confused, just chilling in a basic room, with Malong still on his head. But then, a look of pure determination hits his face, and he raises his hand, totally ready for the next challenge. A single foot taps, a testament to pure, unadulterated efficiency. Check the stats. Archhuman, level 201, a hero with maxed out experience, information reading at level 4, and insane physicals. He's already beaten the Demon King, and that was before he even finished his training. What's next for a guy like him? Crafting a level 104 item, that's what. He flies high, reminiscing about the good times and the crew he rolled with in this area. Suddenly, a colossal green dragon with blazing eyes unleashes a booming declaration, "You've aced every single category, knowledge, skill, achievement, potential, and character." Then, a chilling thought, if I want to go home, right? The sheer scale of its ancient power is undeniable, its massive wing dominating the horizon. But then, a new, fiery voice cuts through the air, roaring, "This time, we're graduating Kong Hyun-soo." His sharp, red eyes blaze with unyielding resolve, his expression locked in fierce determination. So, how do you even grade a hero? It all boils down to 4 epic categories: their raw combat power, legendary achievements, public reputation, and, of course, their personality. And let me tell you, in the first round, his combat capabilities alone were absolutely insane. He was on a whole other level, capable of taking down the Demon King all by himself. Achievements? Reputation? No problem there either. Even the lowliest goblins were practically worshipping him as Hero Nim. But now, it's the second round for the hero's duty, quest, and adventures, and he absolutely cannot fail if he wants to graduate fast. He's volunteering for the hero's duty, but even with his insane combat skills and character score, he can't just go kill the Demon King, which means his past achievements and reputation might actually be his downfall this time. Han Su-kong peered into the abyss, a heavy weight settling over him. As he spoke, Porter, looking totally freaked out, turned to him, stuttering, "Hero Nim, this Lee, no." Meanwhile, Sylvia and Eun-ha were just as shocked, with Eun-ha practically yelling, "What's wrong with you, Professor? Only the Professor can summon the Demon King." "Ah, what do you mean, no?" He's staring down the hero's duty, quest, and adventure system, a brutal gauntlet designed to test a hero's limits, even though he's already crushed it once. A system notification pops, revealing a crazy power-up, 1 hour of grinding equals 5 hours of work. He turns to his crew, dropping the bomb, he's doing it. Professor Sylvia practically explodes with excitement, shouting that graduating for the village, even with a little white lie, is the ultimate hero move, calling it absolutely amazing. She's still hyped, beaming with pride that hero Kong Hyun-soo is taking his duty so seriously, even boasting that she can carry his spear. Meanwhile, in some shadowy cave, Lenoble admits to him, she was seriously freaking out that the summoning had totally messed up. He just lets out a quiet hing. Then, with a hint of impatience, he asks, who has time to deal with the small fries? Standing before a terrifying cave entrance, its depths pulsing with an ominous blue glow, he reminds Lenoble that every achievement has a cost-to-benefit ratio, and he's not wasting time. He then declares, there's a perfect target just waiting for them. And from the dark abyss, a monstrous scream rips through the air, and oh. Deep within the cavern, a shocking discovery hit Han Su-kong like a truck, his expression screaming pure disbelief. The squad was already on edge, because they'd just found a baby dragon chilling in Master Malong's cave. And this wasn't just any dragon, it was a fierce, young blue beast, its growl echoing with raw, untamed power. But Malong, always dropping truth bombs, laid down the law, heroes bring hope, not destruction. Lenoble, staring down the dragon, challenged Han Su-kong directly, demanding to know if he'd really leave this problem for the villagers, knowing it would cause massive chaos. Sylvia, absolutely fuming, shot down the idea, shouting that leaving it behind would just mean a brutal massacre for humanity's sake. Han Su-kang, with a steely glare, confessed his intense hatred for dragons, but the hero-nim title was a heavy burden, pulling him back to his true calling. The rest of the crew, Porter, Boon-ha, and Ma-lang, all chimed in, unanimously declaring that ditching the dragon was totally unheroic. After their powerful arguments and his own internal struggle, Han Su-kang finally gave in, ready to face the tough challenge. Han Su-kang's inner demon flares, a shadowy figure with blazing red eyes, as he mentally calculates the sheer grind of his past. An hour of relentless repetition, he remembers, was worth 5 of ordinary effort. Now, facing a new challenge, he demands to know, what could they possibly offer? His mind flashes back to every dragon he'd ever faced, each one a terrifying minion of the Dragon King's elite forces. But this time, everything was about to change. These weren't the big leagues, just a bunch of commoner dragons, he scoffs. He'd spent 10 years fixated on one goal, taking down the Dragon King to truly make his mark. His focus had been laser-sharp, only ever checking off that one, ultimate objective. But not anymore. This time, absolutely nothing would stand in the way of his ultimate graduation. The Dragon Slayer, Han Su-kang himself, takes a deep, determined breath, his resolve unshakable. He eyes the gentle, young dragon, its skill level pathetically low, clearly a result of its easy life. But then, he recalls the immense experience gained from the dragon's heart, realizing this would be a perfectly normal hunt, one that no one could ever fault him for. He knew the drill, 1 hour of repetition. That was 5 hours of work, a grind that echoed in the silent, moonlit mountains. Inside his tent, Han Su-kang let out a heavy sigh, the pressure mounting. He thought, seriously, if she complains after all this, she's got no conscience. His expression tightened, the thought of his troublesome companions weighing on him. He flashed back to a scene around the campfire, Lenovo, Sylvia, Porter, and Ma-lang, all clamoring with their usual demands. Yeah. My spear is for Hero Nim. Experience, they say. You can't always get what you want. The vision dissolved, and he was back in his tent, observing his own sleeping figure. If I wait until morning to leave, the others will notice. He flinched, already hearing the impending lectures. No, the lecturing will be too much. Ah. For the third time. A mischievous grin spread across his face as the perfect plan formed. I've already gone through this twice, so I know. So it would be better if I leave for a moment. Deep in the forest, a subtle rustle cuts through the silence. Then a massive, green, 3-fingered hand clamps onto a tree trunk, followed by a guttural sound. Suddenly, a hulking, tusked beast with massive muscles bursts from the foliage, roaring its presence. It's an orc. Watching the brute, Han Su-kang mentally notes that its name, if translated, would probably be Pig Goblin, thanks to that distinctive snout. But don't let the name fool you, these guys are ripped, built like absolute bodybuilders. The orc bellows again, and just as he suspected, his interpretation skill is useless against their guttural speech. Hidden behind a massive tree, Han Su-kang observes, a soft glow pulsing from the orb in his grasp, his stealth game on point. He understands their short lifespan and inability to use an understandable interpretation language, effectively making them just farming monsters in a game, with no real depth. The squad is hyped, talking up their good-quality hero and ready to jump into action, but Han Su-kang is already locked in. Peeking from cover, he's already telling them to back off, eyes laser-focused on what's coming. Suddenly, through the trees, massive orcs are crashing through the forest, their heavy steps shaking the ground. A monstrous orc bellows, its tusks glinting as it scans the area, ready for anything. Then, a blinding, golden energy barrier erupts, Han Su-kang powering up for the fight. Sitting at level 204, he's ready to grind, knowing he can push his power even higher against these foes. Another companion steps up, offering to help, but Han Su-kang's already thinking bigger. First, clear the orc colony, then it's dragon hunting time. It's pure pandemonium. 2 savage orcs are going at it, one ripping into the other with a brutal, primal scream. But hold up. A system alert pops for Han Su-kang, dropping a bombshell. 1 hour of grind equals 5 hours of normal work. He's thinking, is this my repeating skills going turbo, as his eyes blaze with an intense red power. No matter the how, he's locked in on the what efficiency. With a battle-ready grip on his blade, he's about to go all out, his red aura exploding around him. Then, a massive orc unleashes a blood-curdling roar, its fangs bared in pure menace. Boom. 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 A rapid-fire barrage of devastating hits just erupts. An orc gets absolutely launched, flying through the air, just a streaking shadow in the mayhem. Han Su-kang is a crimson blur, moving at light speed, landing another crushing blow, his eyes blazing like twin infernos. Another orc's face just explodes in pain, its features warping from the sheer power of the hit. Then, a lightning-fast, clean slash rips through the air, leaving a blinding white streak. A blinding flash of blue energy explodes from his blade as Han Su Kong unleashes an impossible burst of speed, leaving nothing but a searing streak of light in his wake. One orc is violently hurled through the air, its body twisting grotesquely from the sheer, unadulterated force of his assault. Another recoiling with a guttural cry as a devastating blow connects, sending shockwaves through the clearing. The remaining orcs react with startled grunts and confused shouts, their primitive minds struggling to comprehend the blur of destruction. One of them collapsing to the ground as another orc finally pieces it together, a chilling realization dawning, so there were scouts. Han Su Kong looks down, his expression a mask of grim determination, his thoughts racing, every little bit helps. I'll take all the experience I can get. And hey, it's a good thing Professor Moral's doing well. A desperate, urgent cry rips through the air, screaming for the hero, as a massive purple energy burst explodes into existence. Lenovo, Han Su Kong, and Malong snap their heads up, totally alarmed, with the blonde mage absolutely convinced he's coming back, no matter how bad it looks. Then, Han Su Kang's face twists in shock, ominous red eyes blazing behind him, as he suddenly grasps the terrifying reality: if the aggro shifts to his crew, they're in deep trouble. Meanwhile, in some dark, grimy cave, a hulking green brute snarls, flat out refusing to do any more work here. Another one of those hulking beasts lets out a blood-curdling roar, its eyes glowing a furious, menacing red. Out of nowhere, a horde of green-skinned monsters swarms Malong, the little blob screaming as they brutally attack. With the battle raging, Han Su Kong just flashed a knowing smirk. Suddenly, a barrage of arrows ripped through the air, heading straight for him. But like it was nothing, he batted them away with his bare hands. The green monsters, absolutely furious, kept up their relentless charge, screaming bloody murder. He knew he could easily block these weak attacks, his body a fortress of pure power. Arrows just exploded against his bare skin, his muscles flexing with every single hit. This insane durability. All thanks to Master Malong's teachings, which had made his skin practically invincible. Then, a system window popped up, showing his stats: level 203, hero job, all A+ skills, and a new madness status. He realized that by tanking these goblin hits, his grade was skyrocketing. Then, a massive impact rocked the area, and the goblins freaked out, scrambling back as a huge shadow fell over them. He'd seen plenty of fighters who thought they were hot stuff, dodging every hit like a pro. But as the goblins went flying with a massive quan, he knew these clumsy brutes were just XP fodder. With a brutal buduk, his kick landed hard. Forget fancy footwork or martial arts mastery, in the real world, a blind arrow always finds its target. Then, a jarring cut to Un-Ha, trapped and panicking, as a system alert screamed, "You'll never survive. A blind arrow will find you. Not enough mana." And a terrifying blue monster let out a guttural kururu, facing the exact same mana crisis. Back to the forest, the fight was done. Han Su Kong stood tall over the defeated goblins, as one pathetic survivor DA'd its way to freedom. Golden magic explodes from Lenovo, obliterating the last foe. She lets out a fed-up sigh, declaring, "I'm done with the rest." But Han Su Kong isn't backing down. His aura flares, and he hypes himself up. "I might not look like it, but I still have a higher level than Hero NIM. I have to do something as the assistant of Hero NIM. Lenovo, ever the pragmatist, cuts to the chase. "How many ORCS do I need to kill for you to stay still?" He just deadpans. "That sounds like magic that I just listened." Lenovo explains the strategy: you have to send one alive so he can gather the rest of his gang. Han Su Kong, ever the skeptic, fires back: "How are you going to find all the ORCS by looking through the whole forest?" A distant "H" echoes through the trees, while Lenovo coolly drops a bombshell: "By the way, I've already prepared a disguise." Han Su Kong, ever the rebel, just waves it off: "I will clear. Leave it." But then he reconsiders, realizing the necessity: "To disguise yourself, you need it." His face now marked with crimson, he states the obvious: "ORCS have a sensitive nose." And then, the kicker, and also the dragon. Deep in the forest, the orcs are on the move, their savage cries tearing through the air. More of these monstrous figures emerge, their numbers swelling, a true horde in the making. Up close, their eyes burn with a primal, savage intensity, a truly terrifying sight. But wait, among the green-skinned brutes, one orc is acting a little too smart. It's Malong, pulling off the ultimate undercover mission. He's right there, in the thick of it. The disguise is flawless, letting him move freely among the orc fighters, a level 200 summon beast, ready for anything. Even with their super-sensitive noses, these orcs are totally clueless. Malong's disguise is just that good. Back at their hidden spot, Han Su Kong, Lenovo, and the real Malong are scoping out the massive orc camp. We're talking 5,000 of these guys. Han Su Kong lays out the master plan: their small group of 5 is going in, he'll lead the charge, and the rest follow in 30 minutes. He's pointing out his 30-minute sprint to the main camp on the map, but Lenovo cuts him off, totally freaked out, asking if they can just ditch this whole crazy plan. She's clearly freaking out, but Han Su-kong just brushes it off, promising they'll blast through those gates, because who really fights to the death. Then his eyes go full demon mode, glowing red with a sick purple energy, as he drops the bombshell, otherwise, you're stuck. Aren't you hyped for reinforcements? Lenovo, totally blindsided by his crazy, tries to lay down the law, one more stupid idea, and I swear I'll. But he just shrugs it off, walking away and asking, what's that? Let's just be better friends. Cut to the orc camp, and Malong is getting manhandled by a giant green brute, screaming, QWAU, for dear life. The entire camp is a nightmare, swarming with orcs under the dark sky, Malong's terrified squeals piercing the air. Lenovo, back at the lookout, is absolutely horrified, barely able to whisper, the orcs. Malong, still trapped, admits it's getting a horrific feeling every time it sees them, like it just wants to cry. Lenovo can only shut her eyes, a silent, desperate sound escaping her, the sheer terror of it all crushing her. But even amidst her crushing worry, a fierce, purple glow ignites in her hand, a silent, powerful declaration of resolve. And as that raw energy crackles around her, Lenovo's eyes blaze with an intense, unyielding light. She's the helper who swore to become the legendary hero's hero, and now, her power absolutely explodes. A primal scream rips from her throat, as a blinding purple aura consumes her, unleashing an insane magical torrent. Responding to that insane power surge, a monstrous, guttural roar tears through the air, fangs bared in pure defiance. With absolute, unwavering resolve, she channels her power, screaming her vow to erase her master's disgrace, right here, right now. Then, a cataclysmic explosion of purple and yellow energy erupts, swallowing everything in its path. The chaotic magical residue hangs heavy in the air, a brutal testament to the raw power just unleashed. Back at the distant orc camp, a lone figure stares up, silhouetted against the fading, destructive light of the magical blast. The very earth vibrated with raw, untamed power. Then, a cataclysmic magical blast ripped through the air, a dazzling spectacle of purple and green energy. Far away, Han Su-kong observed the orc fortress, his mind racing through memories of the monsters and the mountain, as the orc chieftain, deep within his lair, pondered the bait. He meticulously analyzed the orcs guarding the mountain, those who served their demon king, Lenovo, and the other heroes. A predatory grin spread across his face, they were practically begging to be hunted. Unaware of the impending doom, the orc chieftain, a titan among his brethren, held court on his throne. Han Su-kang's resolve hardened, his strategy crystal clear, wipe out the orcs, dismantle their stronghold, and force them to join Lenovo. But Lenovo, eyes wide with a mix of shock and delight, suddenly burst out, raving about the pretty candy, and how amazing it was. Then, a bizarre thought struck her as she stared at the sky, would she end up as barbecue if she couldn't get back home? Suddenly, a glowing, hexagonal mark appears, shimmering with ethereal particles as a desperate voice screams from it, help me. Human, I'll give you anything, just help me. The mark's plea intensifies, revealing it's been trapped and tormented for a whole decade. He lets out a frustrated sigh, a terrible premonition hitting him that this is going to be a massive headache. A system message pops up, dropping some serious knowledge, 1 hour of repetition equals 5 hours of work. Meanwhile, a frantic, help me, screams out, setting the stage for chaos. Dangling upside down, totally freaking out, Lenovo's eyes are bugging out, her blonde hair just hanging there, a total mess. With his eyes flaring red, Han Su-kong grits his teeth, mentally declaring he'll just obliterate whatever's causing this whole mess and the need for compensation. Underneath Lenovo, some tiny, dark-haired kid in red glasses is also hanging, but they're just cackling, hee 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 hee. Time to bounce. Hee hee hee. Someone snarks back, oh, sure, go home. By yourself. With a frustrated groan, a foot stomps forward, as Han Su-kong grudgingly starts moving, totally wishing he could just nope out of this whole situation. He's only getting paid for the work, not the insane risk, and staring down the massive orc chieftain is absolutely something he wants no part of. He's thinking, my power level. It feels way lower than I remember. And he's asking himself, is it because I got sent to this world? Then it hits him, oh yeah, it's because I got kicked out of the academy and became the lowest ranked noob in this whole other world. Talk about a downgrade. Then, a shout of pure victory, thank you for the food. Now, let's talk about this insane gift from the elf prince. This isn't just any blade, it's an elemental sword, totally enchanted. Someone asks, doesn't it just absorb the spirits you kill? But the answer is a hard no. Even Malong is like, huh? The real power? It's the actual voice of the elemental spirit. Mind. Blown. A mysterious green energy swirls within an eye, signaling a massive power surge or a magical anomaly. Out of nowhere, a tiny, blob-like creature makes a break for it, clutching a massive bag, and someone screams, thief. The little thief keeps on running. As the cries intensify, they're screaming that a human is stealing the elf's treasure. The royal treasure has been robbed. Han Su Kong, now gripping the elemental sword as it blazes with a fierce blue light, can only ask, is she crazy? His jaw drops, the truth hitting him like a truck as he realizes, the elemental sword belongs to the elves. But before he can even think, the floor vanishes beneath him, sending him free-falling with a bewildered, huh. He plunges into a shadowy chasm, crashing down right in front of the colossal, terrifying orc chieftain, who growls out a deep, goo-goo. His expression twists into a furious snarl, as he curses himself for being too slow because he slept, and now his whole plan is completely trashed. He stands tall, defiant, atop a gruesome mountain of skulls, the elemental sword blazing in his hand, ready to unleash hell on the monstrous enemy. He stares down the colossal foe, a silent, escaping him as he processes the sheer scale of the threat. Then, with a deafening quang, the orc chieftain unleashes a devastating swing of its colossal weapon, shaking the very foundations of the chasm. But even as it looks terrifying, he quickly calculates, its skill levels are low, its stats are pathetic. No real threat here. With a dismissive scoff, he declares, Unker, just a mere fellow. His confidence is absolute. Suddenly, his blade ignites with a blinding blue aura, and he roars, stay still and accept my experience. The battle is on. Meanwhile, Malong, watching from afar, lets out a bewildered "Ko," utterly confused by the hero's bold declaration, what did you say you had? The orc chieftain's eye flares crimson, a primal instinct screaming, it will be less powerful if you don't land a blow. It's bracing for impact. Han Su Kong closes in, a blur of motion, his elemental sword now a beacon of pure, blinding blue energy, poised for a devastating strike. But as the glowing blade descends, the orc chieftain's eyes snap wide open in horror, a chilling realization dawning, it's a trap. The tables have turned. The trap sprung, and the orc chieftain let out a shocked roar, realizing he was caught. His foot jerked back from the sudden hit, a desperate, flailing attempt to escape. He looked up, eyes wide with absolute horror, mouth gaping as the attack descended. Then, Han Su Kang's elemental sword, absolutely exploding with power, came down, incinerating the chieftain in a fiery blast. The fiery energy just kept growing, swallowing everything whole. Malong, watching from afar, let out a shocked goo-goo, as the explosion rocked the area. The elemental force kept going, turning the chieftain into pure energy. His body just disintegrated into glowing dust, completely overwhelmed by the attack. And then, the energy faded, leaving nothing but sparkling dust where the orc chieftain once was. A massive, green-skinned chief is down, totally out of commission, and Lenovel is creeping up, barely whispering a question. Then, out of nowhere, a monstrous, dark-skinned beast with blazing red eyes unleashes a terrifying roar. Lenovel flinches back, utterly stunned, her voice caught as the colossal monster towers above them. And just like that, the monstrous entity viciously stomps the downed chief, its crushing blows shaking the very ground. Han Su Kong observes the absolute mayhem, grumbling about these crazy stone golems and how he completely missed the massive magic coming from the chief's spot. He's totally annoyed, wishing he could have kept this whole thing on the down low. Just a few feet away, Lenovel is out cold, sprawled on the ground, a tiny, painful sound barely audible. Then, a system window pops up, showing Lenovel's stats, Elf, level 1, HP and MP zeroed, totally unconscious and having a mental breakdown. Han Su Kong just stares at the data, totally baffled why a level 1 elf is even here in this death trap. The system drops a bombshell about Lenovel, flashing back to her as a stunning elf from the black market. Someone's whining about a past failure, but another voice cuts them off, shouting, who cares? Just be a dart. Han Su Kong is absolutely floored by the info, gasping in shock. Seeing Lenovel's pathetic state, he's instantly furious, realizing she would have died for nothing. Then he spots the brutally injured orc chieftain, down for the count with Malong beside him, a mental command to be a dart flashing through his head. Out of the darkness, a massive, terrifying monster with blazing red eyes starts to appear. Han Su Kang's face turns to stone, a total opposite of those heroes from his first run. The shadowy thing closes in with an eerie woo-woo, a massive threat to the downed chieftain and Malong. Its giant, clawed hand reaches out, its terrifying advance marked by a chilling da-da-da-da. Out of the inky blackness, the shadowy monster bursts forth, its form solidifying to reveal gnashing teeth and eyes blazing with an infernal red, letting out a primal growl. But before it can even react, a blinding blue blade rips through its back with a brutal impact, forcing a guttural scream from the beast. Even with the blade still lodged in its flesh, the monster whips around, its glowing red eyes locking onto its assailant, a terrifying, toothy grin splitting its face as it snarls, peekaboo. Give me your experience too, you punk. Another monstrous orc goes down, screaming as it plummets. But Han Su Kong isn't slowing down, his blade is a blur, tearing through the monstrous horde. Perched on a desolate peak beneath a massive full moon, he takes in the insane gains, 1,000 orcs annihilated, 157 levels gained, his race evolving to arch-human, and his level blasting past 13 with a mind-blowing 150 million experience points, making his power go absolutely berserk. He was totally going for the stealth approach, picking them off one by one. But with all this power, facing down the rest of these beasts, he's having second thoughts. His eyes blaze, his sword ignites, and he realizes holding back is just a waste of time. He raises his blade, a fierce challenge echoing, "Come at me, all of you." The challenge is out, and the orc chieftain is not backing down. Its hulking silhouette is pure menace, ready to throw down. Then, a monstrous roar rips through the air, a declaration of war from the chieftain itself. But before that roar even finishes, Han Su Kong blitzes in, a crimson blur. He's got that chilling hee on his face, and his red aura is absolutely exploding. He's a red streak, leaving afterimages in his wake, his hee echoing as he closes in for the kill. Boom! A devastating impact. His attack connects with explosive force, ripping through the air with crimson energy. He's a shadowy, red-hot blur, a whirlwind of destruction, unleashing a relentless, brutal combo that absolutely decimates the chieftain. The orc chieftain lets out a blood-curdling scream, its face twisted in pure agony as Han Su Kang's assault tears through it. And just like that, he pulls back, his face glowing with power, a chilling, triumphant hee echoing through the battlefield. Drifting through the cosmic abyss, a monstrous, grey blob with a gaping, fanged maw lurks in the darkness. But then, a blur of green energy rips through the void, as our hero, Han Su Kang, blitzes past the monstrous blobs. A monstrous goo echoes from one of the creatures, a futile cry as Han Su Kang leaves it in his dust. Suddenly, he's on a new battleground, facing down 3 brutish orc-like foes, and it hits him, this feels like a total reset. The enemies here are barely a tenth of the power he's used to. A deep, booming sound rumbles through the air, but he just stares up, eyes blazing with pure resolve, ready to dominate. And with an explosive burst, a blinding golden energy blast rockets from him, tearing through the air. It slams into its target with a blinding flash. Erupting into a colossal explosion, a fiery, destructive wave consuming everything. He's crunching the numbers, calculating the insane gains from his training, 1 hour of grind equals 5 hours of pure power-up. A smug grin spreads across his face, as a subtle red energy pulses around him, he knows he's leveling up fast. He's absolutely shredding through the shadowy hordes with explosive blue energy, knowing full well that Malang's skills mean infinite recovery, these guys don't stand a chance. Bathed in an electric blue aura, he's not just surviving, he's evolving. But then, a frantic scream rips through the silence, a desperate hieronym, cutting through his focus. Meanwhile, Lenovel is getting swarmed by shadowy monsters, completely out of mana, with Malang huddled beside her, they're totally cornered and can't last much longer. That desperate hieronym rings out again, igniting a fire in his eyes, and he clutches his glowing blade, a furious resolve etched on his face as he prepares to charge the monstrous horde. The monstrous orc chieftain lets out a terrifying Shrek battle roar, brutally smashing into Lenovel and the other shadowy monsters, leaving chaos in his wake. Han Su Kang has made it. Malang, ever the keen observer, immediately notes the sheer power of the enemies they just faced, calling out their surprising strength. And what a fight it must have been. Those monstrous, shadowy figures had come crashing down, their forms now just fading echoes. But the real story is the gratitude. A small, green-skinned survivor bows deeply, uttering a sincere thank you to their savior. The little guy keeps praising him, calling him hieronym, but Han Su Kang just looks up, lost in thought, a different name echoing in his mind, Porter. Someone else asks how he could possibly call himself a thief, but he shuts them down, clarifying that it was his order, not his identity. The little green guy, still totally blown away, can't believe his kindness, admitting he never thought the hero had such a huge heart. Because today, he broke their chains, freeing them from a life of slavery, and from this moment forward, their very existence was his to command. Han Su Kang just takes it all in, letting their words sink deep, his eyes still fixed on something unseen, lost in thought. Elsewhere, Lenovel is finally safe, Malang chilling on her head, complaining, "He got me," but a profound realization hits, his words, surprisingly, came in handy. He's not just some porter, he's a hero. That's the vibe he's putting out, but deep down, he's itching for another dungeon run. But then, a worried voice cuts through his thoughts, checking if their hero is actually okay. One of the green-skinned guys, clearly a leader, has a plan, saying if they get back to the village, their hero can finally chill out. He sees they're totally wiped, and even though he wants to wipe out the rest of the orcs in the forest, they're too tired to be any real help. But Nagus, the green-skinned chief, is all about loyalty, demanding how he could possibly pass up the chance to serve, telling him to find him once they hit the village. Nagus then gets super hyped, shouting that they have to learn to fight because their village got hit by orcs, sealing it with a pumped-up yes. Later, in a quiet moment, Malang's voice pops into his head, calling back to his earlier statement, you said your words didn't have notice, right? He cracks a small smile as Ma Long keeps going, declaring, my awesome hero Nim, you're here. Ma Long's all like, no problems yet, but he immediately shuts that down, dropping the bombshell, nope. Unfortunately, there is. His mind flashes back, a blonde figure's voice cutting through the haze, a stark reminder, you took that elf's life without a second thought, didn't you? The scene warps, her form plummeting through darkness, her voice unwavering, as long as hope exists. They call life a one-way trip to death. Her determined gaze pierces through, a defiant declaration, but that doesn't mean you just roll over. You are dead wrong. Snapping back to reality, Ma Long's sharp critique hits him, a brutal truth bomb, seriously, I can't believe you're not the hero. The gap between you and a real hero is astronomical. Ma Long presses on, a surprising piece of wisdom, why are you so pig-headed? If you don't chase happiness, you'll never catch it. Go get your happiness. The idea hangs in the air, a tantalizing possibility, that he could unlock a happiness he never even dreamed of. He takes it all in, a flicker of realization crossing his features, the weight of the words settling in. He ponders the idea of forging new connections. A sigh escapes him, the truth hitting home, that's tough. Still chasing that elusive happiness, he's like, nah, I'll deal with this after I grab a bite. But deep in this epic, glowing blue cavern, a colossal dragon is just chilling, totally asleep. Back with Han Su Kong, sword glowing and ready to rumble, he's convinced he's about to unlock ultimate happiness. This massive, scaly beast is still catching Z's. It snores rumbling through the whole place. But then, bam. One giant eye bursts open, blazing with an insane, ominous red glow. Totally oblivious to the beast waking up, Han Su Kong announces, he's finally at the right spot. He's locked and loaded, glowing blade ready, as the monstrous dragon finally wakes up, its shadowy form sparking with raw power. This was it, the legendary den where the young dragon once lived. And as he ventured deeper, Han Su Kong plunged into a massive, echoing chamber. His eyes scanned the colossal void, a mere speck in the face of the cavern's monstrous size. But then, from the abyss, a monstrous, shadowy entity materialized, its very being radiating an explosive, untamed force. Incandescent purple eyes blazed through the gloom, unveiling the horrifying face of a genuine chaos dragon. This king-ranked legend wielded devastating skills, breath, roar, scales, a being of unimaginable, ancient power. Yet, despite the sheer, mind-bending power on display, Han Su Kang's determination didn't waver, the true owner of this place hadn't changed yet. Han Su Kang is free-falling, the wind screaming past him as he drops into the unknown. His past life flashes before his eyes, the sheer madness inflicted upon him by that thing fueling his rage, and a guttural cry rips from his throat. And there it is. The colossal shadowy monster, erupting with a blood-red aura, unleashes a deafening roar. Han Su Kang slams into the earth, shattering the ground as he stares down the terrifying beast. His mind knows the truth, but his body just can't keep up with the sheer, overwhelming pressure, so he yells, "Shit." But then, a primal fury ignites in his gaze, his determination absolute. Dark, volatile energy swirls and crackles around him, ready to explode. The shadowy monster lets out another ear-splitting shriek, its monstrous jaws wide open in a challenge. He's back. A hero stands ready, sword drawn, radiating pure power in a blinding purple aura. But wait, a worried voice cuts through the tension, Hero Nim, are you okay? Flashback. Alex Nim is pushing his little buddy to finish some intense quest or training. While our hero is down, totally out of mana and too injured to move, and no healers are anywhere to be found. His eyes snap open in pure panic. For days after his first death, he can't remember a thing about that quest or training, 3 whole days of his memory just gone. He sits up, his little buddy Ma Long by his side, utterly frustrated by the blank in his memory, that lost period of time. It's never letting an intruder go. Then, a raw surge of power explodes. As the shadowy monster unleashes a deafening, purple-tinged roar, mouth agape. That guttural sound just keeps echoing, a menacing growl following the initial scream. As the towering entity just dominates the space. The roar rips through the air, and the shadowy monster unleashes its full, terrifying form, colossal dark wings unfurling. Its monstrous silhouette blots out the sky, a chilling declaration of absolute dominance. Witnessing the sheer terror, Han Su Kang is left speechless, barely able to whisper, did it give up? No way. No, it hasn't given up, it unleashes a devastating, purple energy blast from its mouth, tearing through the air with an earth-shattering roar. The sheer, overwhelming power of the attack instantly swallows Han Su Kang, trapping him in a vortex of pure destruction. The colossal purple wave just keeps growing, devouring everything in its wake. It stretches into the heavens, a terrifying column of raw, destructive might. Swallowed whole by the raging energy, Han Su Kang's body twists and strains under the crushing pressure. When the attack finally fades, debris showers down, a brutal reminder of the monster's destructive force. The monster's attack just kept going, and this little blob creature was not having it, splashing back in shock. Meanwhile, a young woman and the blob creature stared up, eyes wide, absolutely stunned by the sheer destruction. The shadowy monster, a terrifying silhouette in the distance, just kept looming, radiating pure menace. That purple energy attack just kept ripping through everything, shredding trees and pulverizing the ground. The little blob creature could only gasp, shit, knowing a direct hit would have been game over, instantly. But inside his own head, Han Su Kang's system was popping up with physical customizing and recovery management options, a shadowy version of him just standing there, ready to fight back. He zeroed in on his body, cranking up his blood flow, lymphatic system, and platelet production, supercharging cell regeneration and totally shutting down the searing pain with endorphin control. Thanks to Master Malang's insane healing, his brain was totally fine, and with a fierce new resolve, he knew he could absolutely keep fighting. He locks eyes with the monstrous entity, a swirling vortex of shadow and malice, as a voice drops the chilling truth: this is the breath of a demon, a dragon. It's an impossible monster. A wry smile plays on his lips, as he deadpans, I'm unlucky. The monster's destructive aura blankets the land, and a chilling thought hits him: these creatures aren't a big deal, but I can't let the monster Malang is guarding be harmed. The shadowy beast snarls, its voice a guttural rumble, roaring, hey! You old fat lizard! Are you blind? These humans are terrible. Han Su Kang moves with sudden resolve, his thoughts burning: you can only feel the pain of others, but you can't understand it. You're just a monster who only knows how to destroy and kill. He knows the monster's true nature, realizing that, since it doesn't have any interpretation skills, it won't understand what I'm saying. But, he muses, it'll definitely get on the nerves of that killer. The shadowy monster unleashes a torrent of raw, purple energy, a destructive force erupting from its maw. The blast impacts the ground with a deafening roar, sending shockwaves across the desolate landscape. Boom! The shadowy monster unleashes a cataclysmic purple energy wave, ripping through everything in its path. But our hero, Han Su Kang, is too fast, dodging the blast with a wild laugh, kaya ha 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 ha. He's leading it on. Oopsie, he shouts, barely sidestepping another massive explosion, playing a dangerous game of cat and mouse. He's not just running, he's strategizing. As long as it doesn't hit his head, he can turn the monster's poison into his own antibody, even using it for skin regeneration. Talk about turning the tables. A wicked grin spreads across his face as his arm glows purple, the poison assimilated. He cackles, a true genius at work. He's successfully drawn the beast away from Malang's home, but the real challenge is just beginning. How long do I have to keep this up, he yells, the endless chase pushing him to his limits. The shadowy entity roars back, Ku. Cuckoo, unleashing another furious, confused blast of dark energy. Move, he commands, pushing the pace, refusing to give an inch. A tiny pink creature screams in terror as a massive, shadowy claw slams down, ready to obliterate it. The monster's attack explodes in a blinding, earth-shattering flash, a violent burst of purple energy ripping through reality. But from above the carnage, a chilling, almost gleeful laugh echoes, mocking the very idea of peril. Idiots! A hand, crackling with a faint blue energy, dismissively waves, as he declares, you shouldn't have been in the way. He utters these words with a powerful surge of adrenaline and dopamine absolutely pumping through his veins. His dark eyes now blaze with an eerie, electric purple glow, a wide, almost manic grin stretching across his face. He sees not a threat, but a glorious opportunity, declaring his intention to turn this crisis into a strategic, game-changing advantage. A sinister purple mist begins to coalesce from the barren ground. Rapidly swirling and growing in intensity, a surge of raw power. As a small, terrified figure flees its ominous presence, barely escaping its grasp. The mighty orc chieftain, tusks prominent, looks up in utter shock. As the shadowy entity fully manifests, a towering, red-eyed terror looming over a horde of cowering orcs, paralyzing them with fear. His expression is one of pure, unadulterated dread. Elsewhere, Han Su Kang plunges downward. Deep in the abyss, two green-skinned figures are caught completely off guard, their shocked grunts echoing through the void. And as he plummets, a wild, unhinged grin splits his face, a chilling laugh tearing through the air. Then, a system message pops up, locking onto his target. The abyss itself seems to twist with dark energy, a tiny, ominous silhouette flashing by. He slams down with a bone-jarring impact, shirtless and battered, crashing right into a group of shocked orcs. Without even a second to breathe, he springs up and stomps an orc flat, his wild laughter tearing through the air again. Another orc gets absolutely rocked, reeling back in pure shock and agony, a massive, unseen force just blasting it away. The very air explodes with vibrant purple energy, a raw display of unleashed power. Han Su Kang's power explodes, a maelstrom of jagged purple energy ripping through the air. Spreading outward with a furious hiss, shattering the ground beneath him as a thick, noxious purple smoke chokes the atmosphere. The sheer force of the impact sends a bandaged, green-skinned hand into a violent tremor, completely consumed by the malevolent purple glow. The orc chieftain, a hulking beast of red skin and formidable horns, is blasted back in pure shock and agony, its guttural cry of surprise ripped from its throat as the energy engulfs it. Standing amidst the swirling purple haze, Han Su Kang's foot plants firmly on the ravaged ground, a chilling, maniacal laugh erupting from him. The narration confirms the devastating power at play, declaring that the Ghost Dragon King was absolutely ready for this showdown. Han Su Kang, shirtless and absolutely radiating raw power, raises his arms, the purple energy coiling around him like a hungry beast, his body a conduit for immense destructive force. With a predatory grin, he vows to absolutely devour this meal. The orc chieftain's face, contorted in pure terror and agony, is utterly consumed by the swirling, malevolent purple energy. In this brutal abyss, a core rule dictates that whatever damage is inflicted is met with a thunderous explosion of purple and red energy. And the experience for that damage is received by whoever deals the last strike. A sly smirk plays on Han Su Kang's lips as he plots his next power play. His plan is simple yet cunning. By skillfully dodging the dragon's breath attack, everything around it will be poisoned by his SS poison skill, taking the hit instead. Thus, with the chaos unfolding around the massive creature, he ensures he deals the last strike, snatching all that sweet experience. He watches as small, shadowy figures succumb to the spreading poison, a chilling sound echoing through the abyss, a true master of chaos. The colossal shadowy dragon, its form writhing, continues its destructive rampage, completely oblivious to the puppet master pulling its strings. But as the full extent of the devastation becomes clear, a flicker of surprise crosses his face, a quiet admission that even he hadn't intended such a widespread, epic outcome. A voice confidently declares their ability to form a formidable team. As a colossal purple dragon's breath attack erupts with devastating force, its vibrant energy expanding rapidly and tearing through the landscape. The destructive power continues its vertical descent, culminating in a violent impact that shakes the very ground. A distant, resonant ringing echoes through the air, carrying over the rooftops of a medieval town. As a large bell tolls loudly, signaling an urgent alarm. Inside, Han Su Kang exclaims in disbelief that it's a dragon's breath attack, while Lenovo cries out in terror, realizing that Short Dragon King Moose has appeared. The colossal dragon's shadow blankets the land, and panic erupts, screams of "evacuate now," ripping through the air as people desperately seek refuge from the terrifying Ghost Dragon King. But amidst the chaos, one burning question screams out, a desperate plea for the dragon hunter to appear. The very sky itself twists into a malevolent purple, a terrifying canvas for the impending catastrophe. Below, Han Su Kang and Lenovo are caught in a stampede, as the monstrous Petinar, the Short Dragon King Moose, descends like a nightmare from the sky. Petinar's monstrous head dominates the scene, its crimson eyes burning with pure malice, a terrifying roar tearing through the air as raw purple energy surges from its jaws. Its full, terrifying form is unleashed, a titan of shadow and raw power, its body crackling with an infernal purple aura. And then, with an earth-shattering explosion, Petinar unleashes a cataclysmic wave of purple energy, obliterating everything in its wake. Han Su Kang and Lenovo are directly in the line of fire, their bodies violently thrown back by the sheer, unholy power of the attack, Lenovo's scream tearing through the air. The purple inferno engulfs Han Su Kang, his face a mask of pure, unadulterated agony as the devastating power rips through him. Engulfed by the devastating purple breath, he's instantly snagged by a massive, clawed hand, a chilling shriek tearing through the air. But even as chaos erupts, he's already pushing his adrenaline to the absolute max. He bolts through the smoke-choked forest, laser-focused on keeping every single experience point. Up ahead, a monstrous cyclops, a level 693 man-eater, looms out of the swirling purple haze. No hesitation, just a lightning-fast, devastating strike. A slithering beast lunges next, and gets the same brutal treatment. He blazes past a downed minotaur, thinking, after a taste of my poison, even these high-level monsters are dropping like flies. His status screen flashes, arch-human with boosted endurance, speed, and 5 senses, and his current state. Growing, excited, mad. But the real challenge just arrived, as a colossal, shadowy dragon beast with burning red eyes unleashes a deafening "Sicho." He flashes back to a time when he was absolutely dominating, a true pioneer in his fighting style. And with his trusty sidekick, they were an absolute powerhouse duo. They traversed the entire Phantasa continent, non-stop, day and night, and absolutely nobody could even touch them. Whether it was terrifying demons, or grotesque forest monsters, or even entire armies of soldiers and knights. All those pathetic obstacles were just effortlessly swept away, like dust before a superpowered vacuum cleaner. Leaving him with a feeling that was just so Incredibly refreshing. With his repetition skill maxed out and a hunger for more experience from the baddest demons and even the Demon King, Han Su Kong was absolutely hyped, sword in hand, ready to throw down in this barren wasteland. He spun around, radiating pure confidence, eyes locked on whatever was coming next. Every muscle was flexed, every nerve on fire, he was just waiting for the epic showdown. Then, from the depths, a monstrous claw ripped through the air, signaling the arrival of something truly terrifying. The Chaos Dragon Ghost Dragon King Nebius unleashed a soul-shattering roar, its colossal, shadowy body bursting forth, radiating pure, dark power. But the fight was over in a flash, a total stomp, leaving the massive beast utterly crushed, its body sprawled across the shattered ground. Yeah, that was the Chaos Dragon Ghost Dragon King Nebius, and now it was just a pile of defeated pixels. A smug, satisfied grin spread across his face, another boss down, another level up, another step closer to becoming an absolute legend. Even in defeat, the Chaos Dragon Ghost Dragon King Nebius isn't done. Its glowing red eyes pierce the void as it delivers one last, chilling message, a single word echoing into the silence, my friend. Suddenly, a massive, formless shadow, pulsating with dark purple energy, starts to materialize, its sheer presence overwhelming everything. This monstrous, ethereal mass just keeps growing, promising an epic threat. Han Su Kong can only gape, his eyes blown wide with pure shock and disbelief, as this insane power just slams into him. Then, a deep, earth-shattering sound rips through the air, a primal roar from the nightmare taking shape. Out of the swirling darkness, a monstrous face rips through, its glowing red eyes blazing with pure evil, a nightmare made real, a terrifying visage of absolute chaos. This absolute unit of a dragon, with its ancient scales and burning gaze, was the relentless hunter, chasing him down, even as it withered with age. This has to be the legendary beast, the one who unleashed the 5 disasters of Fantasia. Later, chilling with Malong, the little blob chirps, dude, we haven't been together long, but it was awesome. I totally leveled up. Han Su Kong is deep in thought, recalling Professor Moral's wisdom about the immense value of new bonds. But there's a catch, this whole situation is about to absolutely wreck his reputation. He stares up at the sheer, overwhelming scale of the Chaos Dragon King Nebius, its shadowy, monstrous form absolutely dwarfing the entire desolate landscape, a truly terrifying sight. Violent purple energy crackles and swirls around its gargantuan frame, a deep, guttural rumble echoing across the land. The dragon's skeletal, mist-shrouded head slowly swivels, and suddenly, piercing red eyes blaze through the darkness. The sheer, mind-bending scale of this beast is just too much, a swirling vortex of pure, unadulterated dark power. Against the terrifying, star-dusted abyss of the sky, its silhouette stands as a chilling monument to pure destruction. The dragon's head, still pulsing with that terrifying purple energy, just keeps on emanating that bone-chilling, resonant sound. The raw, chaotic energy of the previous confrontation finally fades, but the tension in the air is still palpable. The rumors are still flying about the Demon King Pedinar's epic defeat, and half the continent is still reeling, a wasteland of fear. Han Su Kong flashes back, a memory burning in his mind, Pedinar. The Demon King himself. He froze humanity with just a glance. A woman with dark, flowing hair stares at him, a mix of terror and respect in her eyes, exclaiming, "You're terrifying, student. Absolutely terrifying." He shrugs off her words, but Professor Muriel presses on, "This whole mess dragged on, so I stayed out of it. Just waited for the dust to settle." But the calm was short-lived, as a monstrous, shadowy dragon begins to emerge, and just like that, peace was shattered. The colossal, glowing form of the Chaos Dragon King Nebius dominates the scene, its power absolutely overwhelming. The monstrous shadow towers, its form reaching for the heavens, while a defiant voice roars, "What do you mean, end? It's way too soon to quit." The scene cuts to a detailed map, zeroing in on a crucial area, declaring, "This is the northwestern continent of Fantasia." The ravaged middle continent, half obliterated by the Demon King's fury, dominates the view. As the other continents are already falling under a sinister control. Flashback. A younger Han Su Kong, shirtless and intense, stands with Lenovo, who's practically vibrating with excitement. "See. There's still hope in my research, right?" she exclaims, but he's already shutting her down. "You, too, are a virtual idol, a hopeless." He thinks to himself, even a legendary horse shouldn't wander off the path, hinting at his own wild journey. He can't deny the intel he snagged from his first life. He remembers gearing up for a young dragon showdown, only to find a decrepit, dying elder dragon instead, a mysterious purple energy swirling around him. And because of all that, he's totally over worrying about his reputation, having chased achievements and trashed his good name. Then, a.m. The Chaos Dragon King Nebius bursts forth, a terrifying, shadowy titan, but there's still a piece of him left. Its single, burning red eye pierces through everything, a chilling voice demanding, "You know too, right?" He flashes back to the Dragon King, a beast that defied all odds, fighting to the bitter end. The sheer scale of the creature is mind-blowing, a colossal organic mass. Its dark, scaled body stretches endlessly, a testament to its ancient power. Then, the full, terrifying form of the ghost dragon king Nebius emerges, its eyes blazing with a malevolent red glow, absolutely dwarfing him. Nebius's voice booms, a chilling taunt, reminding him he's too weak to even lift his head. But the young hero stands firm, a glowing staff materializing in his hand, a symbol of his own formidable will. A confident smirk plays on his lips as a radiant sword appears, declaring his enjoyment of the confrontation with the ghost dragon king, Nebius. The dragon king's glowing red eyes narrow, a flicker of something ancient and calculating within their depths. Nebius then speaks of Endymion, hinting at a shared history and the true nature of elemental power. Facing down the terrifying ghost dragon king Nebius, its piercing blue gaze burning into his very soul, a determined Han Su Kong unleashes his glowing blue blade, ready to rip apart the monstrous threat. This wasn't just any enemy, this was a being of unimaginable power, impossible to simply kill, and the very fact this epic clash could even happen was due to something far greater. Screaming with raw power, he slams his sword down, commanding the beast to get out. This was it, the ghost dragon king Nebius, the legendary battle that shattered half the continent, its colossal body vibrating with raw, world-ending power. Just like that, the epic flashback explodes, and Han Su Kong snaps awake, a confused, ripping from his throat. His gaze locks onto a bizarre, pulsating purple mass right next to him, making unsettling thudding noises. He cautiously extends a hand, watching the eerie purple veins throb inside the bizarre, alien mass. Then, the mass starts to swell, growing at an alarming rate, bursting outwards with a strange, spreading sound. It just keeps growing, twisting into jagged, thorny spikes, its purple energy flaring as it morphs into something truly terrifying. The ominous purple mass, a harbinger of untold power, continues its relentless expansion, unleashing a torrent of dark, swirling energy that threatens to consume everything in its path. This isn't just any anomaly, it's the very spirit of the ghost dragon king Nebius, unleashing a flood of pure, unadulterated poison. The sheer power is overwhelming. And it's not just spreading, it's mocking them. A silent, chilling cackle seems to emanate from the very essence of this growing terror. The sheer, overwhelming power of the ghost dragon king Nebius's life force and immense strength is now manifesting right before his eyes, and Han Su Kong is hit with a chill so profound, it makes every other fear he's ever known feel like a summer breeze. And as if things couldn't get any weirder, a glitched system window pops up, flashing Madness SS and Muscle Strength S, leaving him utterly bewildered, staring at the monstrous purple growth and wondering, what is this thing? Just then, Professor Sylvia and Lenovo burst onto the scene, their faces a mask of pure shock as Sylvia can only manage a stunned whisper, and Lenovo flat-out screams, "This is impossible." But just as despair threatens to set in, a new system message flashes before Han Su Kong, proclaiming that a hero candidate is defined by handling the impossible, and he can only muster a sarcastic, "Oh, really?" He's hit with a system shocker. This purple blob is the spirit and poison of the Chaos Dragon King Nebius. It's not just some monster you can heal with mana, it's an impossible challenge. He's like, really? How could a regular student like him even know this stuff? The glowing purple mass just keeps pulsing, and the system drops another bombshell. A dragon once wanted a young hero for experience. He's trying to process it all. The ghost dragon king Nebius was the actual soul of the dragon king. And he just happened to capture it by chance. His hand is glowing with power, when suddenly, a voice shouts, telling him to wait a moment. Sylvia and Lenovo burst onto the scene, and the professor is instantly demanding answers, but he can only give a weak, as you see. He boldly claims he did it all himself, then pivots, saying Professor Morales deserves an answer to his question. The system keeps dropping lore bombs, declaring this is the world's law, a rule the Dragon King follows after capturing the Ghost Dragon King. The shadowy Chaos Dragon King Nebius manifests, its purple eyes burning with intensity, teasing that the Ghost Dragon's tears hold the key, but then drops the bombshell, its forbidden knowledge. Han Su Kong, draped in his red cloak, is reeling from the sheer impossibility of it all, wondering if he's just blindly following a nameless guide into the unknown. Sylvia, ever the pragmatist, suggests they just hit the books and research it, but Lenovo, with fire in her eyes, is dead set on figuring out exactly how he pulled it off. Suddenly, the shadowy entity bursts forth again, its purple power surging, demanding that everyone just hold on. A tiny, glowing purple heart-shaped artifact pops into existence, drawing a quick PFF of disbelief, then sparking an intense internal struggle, open it or not, even if the system screams no. The scene cuts to an ancient, glowing wooden chest, dropping a massive lore bomb. Pandora's box isn't just there, it's meant to be opened. Han Su Kang's hand shoots out for the glowing purple artifact, mentally justifying his move. If it was truly off limits, why'd it show up? And hey, if a teacher is involved, he's off the hook. Blinding light erupts from the chest, as the narrator drops a truth bomb. That forbidden urge to uncover secrets is what actually forged humanity's path to knowledge and power. The shadowy Chaos Dragon King Nebius is back, its purple eyes blazing with pure malice, a terrifying grin splitting its face as it ominously declares, "Now. Let's do this." The system calculates, revealing a shocking truth: just 1 hour of focused repetition could skyrocket productivity, equating to 5 hours of grinding. A pulsating, dark purple heart, radiating an ominous glow, rests in Han Su Kang's hand, thumping with dark power. This is no ordinary organ, it's the legendary dragon heart, a monstrous relic as big as a human head, rumored to hold the very lifeblood of the terrifying ghost dragon King Nebius and even entire mountain ranges. A chilling realization dawns on him: this is bad. This is a dangerous power to wield. Despite the ominous warnings, Han Su Kang takes a bite, and the taste is absolutely disgusting, a sickening blend of raw liver jelly and something indescribable. As the heart's essence enters his body, a searing pain erupts, his eye glowing with an intense, crackling purple energy, veins bulging. The power surges, expanding outwards from him, a deep, resonant thrum echoing through the air, growing stronger. The purple energy intensifies, forming a star-like pattern, the thrumming growing louder, more insistent, threatening to overwhelm him. From the depths of this surging power, a monstrous maw emerges, its shadowy form and razor-sharp teeth hinting at the terrifying entity now stirring within, the ghost dragon King Nebius. Han Su Kang lets out an earth-shattering scream, his entire being consumed by an agonizing, explosive purple energy. His face twists in pure, unadulterated agony, as his eyes and mouth blaze with that terrifying purple power. The very essence of the ghost dragon King Nebius, the Chaos Dragon, starts to take shape, manifesting as a terrifying, shadowy maw of raw power. The Chaos Dragon's power, now trapped inside him, is literally squirming and battling for control within his own flesh. His arm pulses with an insane purple glow, veins popping as raw, chaotic energy rips through him. The transformation rages on, his bare chest now engulfed in that same vibrant purple energy, as the feeling of his body merging into a chaotic mess completely overwhelms him. He knows it: if he can just subdue this Chaos Dragon and claim its power, he'll be stronger and faster than any monster, finding a twisted pleasure in this insane evolution. The raw power of the Chaos Dragon surged through him, but instead of agony, a massive yawn ripped through him. What was happening? Surrounded by chaotic purple energy, he was utterly bewildered, feeling a weird, numbing anesthesia spreading through him. Then it hit him: the numbing sensation was from an endorphin shot, a massive surge of his own body's painkiller. This was next level. Even with the terrifying Chaos Dragon's maw swirling around him, he was just bored. Seriously, when would this epic power-up finish? His eyes, still radiating pure apathy, just stared at the swirling chaos, waiting for the show to be over already. Suddenly, with an explosive whoosh, the chaotic energy vanished, replaced by a calm, clear blue. It was over. He stood in a sun-drenched field, the transformation complete, a single question hanging in the air: was it finally done? With a crackle of energy sparking from his outstretched hand, he was ready to unleash his mysterious new powers, feeling an undeniable surge of muscle and raw strength. The system confirms his evolution, revealing a brand new skill, a monstrous muscle ability, ranked SS. This new mark on his status window isn't just for show, it means the skill is fully activated. Who cares about the name when you've got this kind of power? He's already itching to dive into his full skill ability tab. But then, a bizarre detail pops up in the skill description: does not forget. What in the world could that mean? Never forgetting? That's wild. Could this even be a bug? But honestly, who cares about bugs when you feel this good? He stretches, feeling the raw power surge through his new body. But elsewhere, a mysterious masked figure plots in the shadows, dreaming of a day when even the greatest teachers will be sent running in terror. Just thinking about it sends shivers of pure satisfaction through them, a feeling that pulses with dark, blue energy. They'll treasure this feeling, this ambition, as they prepare to make their grand return to the Great One's domain. Back at the chief's house, a shout of relief echoes: "Hero and I am." Two worried figures, one with vibrant pink hair and the other with mysterious purple, anxiously question his tardiness, confessing they feared the worst. The hero, draped in his signature red cloak, lets out a tired "yeah," while his companions note his utterly drained appearance. His gaze falls upon a lavish spread, and he immediately demands answers, suspicious that they've gone to great lengths, even involving Master Ma Wang's residence. The table is absolutely overflowing with rewards, revealing they were gifts from the elf undertaker, courtesy of Prince Nasus. And there, the adorable green blob, Master Ma Wang himself, happily clutches a piece of bread. Still visibly annoyed, he grumbles about them feasting on his dime. Yet, a massive grin breaks out, red energy flaring around him, as he dramatically announces that since Master Ma Wang is pleased, he'll let their freeloading slide. The others, relieved after a week of silence, demand to know what he'd been up to. Lenovel is totally caught off guard, looking up in shock as Han Su Kang hits her with a question, like, "Seriously, you guys don't know what I've been up to?" She fires back, demanding to know what he's talking about, and he just drops the bomb that the hero Nim completely ditched his schedule. Lenovo, totally fed up, throws her hands up, how could we possibly know? And he just shrugs, saying they had no choice but to keep the narrative rolling, even if it was a total fabrication. Suddenly, a terrifying, shadowy monster with blazing red eyes looms into view, a chilling image of the disaster they're talking about, a catastrophe so epic, they thought it was literally the end of days. Purple energy explodes around the monstrous shadow, and Lenovo keeps going, dropping the bombshell that they thought he was dead because he just vanished. He's completely flabbergasted. Lenovo, looking totally stressed out and clutching her drink, can't believe he's clueless about the absolute nightmare she went through. Sylvia, looking just as worried, chimes in, revealing that rumors even spread across the continent about his epic dragon battle, but the word was he didn't survive, and only a fraction of the land was left standing. The shadowy monster's terrifying mouth dominates the view, as they recap the sheer magnitude of the catastrophe that went down right before the Demon King's invasion, and then, a sudden thought hits them. Han Su Kang's face gets super serious, as he starts to deeply consider what all this means for humanity. He flashes back to the chilling tales, the world on the brink, as the professor and Lenovo face down a monstrous entity that annihilated everything in its path. Even if anyone survived to tell the tale, they'd only remember the Chaos Dragon as a tiny speck, and who even knew the face of the legendary first summoned hero anyway. Because of the sheer disaster and chaos, the one who was black, too, had messed up, couldn't face the music, and just gave up halfway through. He thought his reputation was toast, utterly destroyed, but wait, there's still hope. No survivors, no witnesses, no ruined reputation. His reputation score was still intact. Even after all that went down, there's still a shot to pump up his reputation and achievement scores. He muses, then turns to Lenovo and Sylvia, warning them to brace themselves for his next revelation. He drops the bombshell. He took down the ghost dragon King Nebius all by himself. A smug grin lights up his face, a subtle blue glow radiating from him, as he totally owns the narrative he just spun. Lenovo and Sylvia are absolutely floored, their faces a mix of shock and total disbelief, muttering a bewildered, what? They ask if the hero really took down Nebius, and he just casually confirms it, secretly patting himself on the back for crafting such a believable tale for his crew. He dramatically waves his hand, declaring that the ghost dragon king was totally annihilated by his own power. But then, a jolt of pure terror hits him as the real memory flashes, the ghost dragon king was just chilling, fast asleep in its lair. The whole, woke up because of me and went berserk part. Yeah, that's getting totally cut from his epic saga, because if that little detail ever got out, his reputation would be absolutely toast. Lenovo and Sylvia are absolutely captivated, hanging on every single word as the epic tale drops. He's painting a picture of this epic dragon encounter, with everyone losing their minds, shouting, Hero Nim, like he's the real deal. Han Su Kang plays it cool, dropping a casual, seriously? You guys actually bought it? But Lenovo and Sylvia are totally sold, gushing about how they knew he was amazing from the auction house. Inside, Han Su Kang is doing a victory dance, mission accomplished. He knows these two are hooked, but the real secret is safe, he's the one who actually woke up the ghost dragon king. He flashes back to the terrifying shadow of the dragon, remembering how he actually held back from going for the kill. A wicked grin spreads across his face as he locks in his master plan, he's gonna be the kingdom's ultimate hero, racking up those sweet reputation points, not some lame villain. Keeping this whole charade going feels like a bigger challenge than even the legendary 5 disasters. With his squad still totally buying his story, the hero's epic lie rolls on. The world is screaming for a hero, demanding action against the disasters, but someone's already throwing shade at our weak hero Nim. He knows one of the 5 great disasters has unleashed total chaos, and for Fantasial's people, he's gotta step up. He's totally hyped to make his fame and honor skyrocket, but then, bam. A sudden, unsettling thought hits him like a truck. He gasps, suddenly remembering there's only one day left for his orientation with the legendary Mr. Alex. That thought sends a chill down his spine, and he just turns away, totally lost in his head. Pure terror washes over him as Alex's face flashes in his mind, and he realizes he totally forgot about the guy. He was almost in deep trouble, totally blinded by his own hype and fame, and he completely blew off his old comrade. A memory flashes, Alex towering over a defeated figure, a stark reminder that he can never forget his promise to him. A sly smirk flashes, a quiet sound of pure satisfaction escaping. A voice booms with overwhelming thankfulness. A powerful silhouette stands, sword poised, radiating a mysterious purple aura. Turning to the small, light-haired girl, Han Su Kang, feeling great, tells her to spill the beans, eager to hear all the good things people are saying about him. Clutching a glowing orb, she drops the bombshell, her intel is straight from the black market. The focus snaps to the story of the Elf Queen, then to Sylvia, serene in her coffin, revealed as a guardian knight and the most stunning of the Elf Queen's court. Han Su Kang confirms the black market princess intel, making the girl wonder how he's always one step ahead. He brushes off her curiosity, casually mentioning he barely had to investigate at all. Elves? Weak? Think again. While not dragon-level fighters, some of these ancient beings can hit level 1000. And with the average elf chilling at level 100, they're perfect for your guild's mid-tier missions. But as Lenoble spills the tea, there are, of course, a ton of annoying obstacles to overcome. With eyes practically shooting sparks, she shouts, "Yes, hero and I am. This is it. The start of an epic new adventure." But Han Su-kang, ever the pragmatist, cuts her off with a sharp, "Heard it all. Zip it." Lenoble tries to keep talking, but he's like, "Nah, keep the rest to yourself. Trust me, it's better." Then, he's already thinking about the mission, a high ranker checking out the old Dragon King's castle ruins. His face set with resolve, he's ready for anything. Lenoble, catching his intense stare, can't help but ask about his annoying look and his next move. With a confident smirk, he declares, "I know, right? 10 years as a hero, baby. I'm doing this. I'll figure out the rest as I go." Han Su-kang, never one to mince words, immediately calls out Lenoble for being the root cause of their current predicament, just like last time. But Lenoble isn't having it, firing back that she totally cleaned up all his messes before, then she pauses, a sudden thought hitting her, then. He just brushes her off, chilling with his hands behind his head, proclaiming this round would be different, then hits her with a casual, "Do you even get what's going on?" And just like that, they're off. Lenoble's already pointing the way through a thick forest. The carriage wheels are practically blurring as they hit top speed. Pulled by two powerful white horses, their hooves pounding the ground like a drumbeat. These horses are absolutely flying. But just as they're tearing through the woods, a mysterious cloaked figure, hat pulled low, suddenly appears out of nowhere. A gloved hand lunging right into the carriage window. He squints out the carriage window, spotting a cloaked figure. Are these the reinforcements, he wonders, but something feels off, and he knows he needs to see more. He locks in, channeling his inner power, activating his physical control. The command rings out, "Enhance eyesight." His eye glows, pupil shrinking to a pinpoint, as his vision hyperfocuses with a powerful BWM. His vision zooms out, showing the carriage speeding along, a figure clinging to its roof. Suddenly, a symbol burns into his mind, a shield he knows all too well, a memory-triggering emblem. That symbol. It belongs to the princess of the Holy Empire, the one who rules the border. She's the youngest sister of the Empire's second in line, and the reason she's been reinforced all the way out here is crystal clear. A political purge. The sheer ruthlessness of it all, now crystal clear in his mind. As a cartoonish king in his memory boasts, "I'm taking over the crown." Nice. Just like the first round. He muses on the inevitable, the Emperor of the Holy Empire is set to die in 5 years anyway, so who even cares? Then, a sudden, shocking realization, a gasp of understanding. He remembers the capital of the Holy Empire, a city absolutely decimated by Nebius, the sheer scale of the monster's destruction burned into his mind. An internal struggle rages, a promise to Alex clashing with the desperate plea of those in danger. Two figures appear in his mind, one declaring, "That's a heroic goal," while the other remains silent. Then, a frantic shout, "Ah! Look there," followed by a terrified shriek, "Kaya! Nebius destroys everything. Run!" The memory ignites a fierce determination, he has to save everyone from the prophet's chilling prophecy. Suddenly, a massive skill activates, Poison Breath SS. Han Su-kang drops like a stone from the heavens, unleashing a horrifying stream of purple goo, which hurtles straight for an unsuspecting man below. The vile liquid hits with a sickening splat, instantly spreading and morphing into a terrifying, expanding cloud of death. A poor dog is swallowed whole by the toxic haze, while the man chokes and gurgles as the deadly purple mist completely overwhelms them both. He breathes a massive sigh of relief, as Lenoble confirms there's no zombie dragon anywhere. Alex chimes in with his own relief, and Han Su-kang just admits he messed up, feeling a huge weight lift off him. But hold up, the story rewinds. Back in the Holy Empire, the wise emperor tried to sideline his own brother to keep him off the throne, sending him far, far away. But the brother, now a powerful usurper, challenges his own resolve, having secretly built up his strength and snatched the crown after the emperor's demise. That's when the hero's party swooped in, temporarily putting the rightful heir back on the throne by saving the princess from the usurper's iron grip. Shouting to slaughter every single enemy, they absolutely crushed the usurper's forces. The hero party then proclaimed that a brilliant and genuine young emperor would now lead the nation with care. And without a shadow of a doubt, this new era was born. A serious woman in glasses observes, perhaps the architect of this new imperial order. The history lesson drops another bombshell, revealing the princess who took the throne was absolutely brutal, showing zero mercy in her power grab. A heavy sigh escapes, like, ugh, not this again, as the dark memory slams back into consciousness. Lenouville is totally freaking out, muttering about how she's never been this cursed before. But wait, what actually went down? The story jumps back, asking for the real scoop on that critical moment. Han Su Kang's hand hovers over a grim, purple-glowing wasteland, and he's like, are all these people seriously gone? He's trying to make sense of it, thinking, the Empire's peaceful now, so she must be too, but then it hits him, half the Empire is trashed. He's completely stumped, muttering, what? Never mind. This princess, after snatching the crown, didn't just take over, she dismantled everything and brilliantly brought her enemies into her fold. A delicate hand reaches for those iconic glasses, a subtle move that screams, brains behind the throne. But even with all that power and smarts, she ended up as the terrifying Empress of Blood, and guess what? She got murdered in the end. He's caught in a moment of deep thought, grappling with annoying quests and questioning if he's actually to blame for this mess. He lets out a heavy sigh, utterly bewildered, wondering if this whole thing is some kind of sick joke. His face twists in pure disbelief, and even the little cat creature next to him looks utterly flabbergasted. Then, with a desperate edge to his voice, he asks if he's really supposed to kill it, remembering how tough it is for him to take down human-looking monsters. A shadowy, horned monster with glowing red eyes appears, radiating pure menace, and Lenouville admits just how incredibly hard this is, a shockwave of power blasting from the beast. His face is a mask of pure frustration, as he bitterly admits that everything he's done just wasn't enough against this terrifying enemy. His mind flashes back to Mr. Alex, remembering the Imperial training room where he used to push his limits. Alex, looking tough but wise, thinks back on his lessons, wishing he'd pushed the hero to have even more fighting spirit. His hand grips his sword, a silent vow that it's absolutely not too late to turn things around. He flashes back to the hero's intense training, who was absolutely determined to push his limits. But Alex was like, hold up. He knew the hero was still reeling from past trauma, but his eyes burned with resolve. Still, Alex couldn't deny the hero's insane spirit, a power that went way beyond just skills or brute force. Alex's own belief was rock solid, never, ever give up, no matter how many times you get knocked down. The hero's eyes blazed with that exact fire, a pure, unshakable will to win. The flashback ends. And we're back to reality. Meanwhile, check out this epic view. It's the Holy Empire's royal palace, home to their emperor and princess. With the hero pushing himself to the absolute limit, it's like His Majesty himself is blessed by the gods, a total power-up for that little dumpling. Lenouville, ever the quick one, blurts out, seriously, it's all because of His Majesty Malong. Wait, scratch that, forget I said anything. Her mind races, they barely made it in 20 days, considering the Imperial teleport network was a total mess. But even then, they were still a day late on their 10-day promise. Then, a chilling voice cuts through the air, you promised us 10 days. Suddenly, King Malong himself emerges, booming, even for me, Malong, keeping a 10-day promise is totally doable. Han Su Kang is caught off guard, exclaiming, what, as a terrifying shadowy monster looms behind him, but a voice whispers, no worries, hero. You're the one who's gotta save the world. Looks like that deadline issue is totally sorted. And then, the view dramatically changes to a massive archway, emblazoned with, welcome to the Imperial Training Court, as Alex's long-awaited orientation finally kicks off. Imagine the grind, 1 hour of pure repetition, and you've basically done 5 hours of work. But looking at him, it's clear he hasn't been putting in the proper training. But then, a fierce determination flashes in his eyes as he declares, he'll turn him into the kingdom's ultimate swordsman. But the young man just shrugs, annoyed, complaining he has no time left, barely scraping by from the last round. And who's on standby for Alex's brutal training sessions? The healers, of course. Their crucial job is to patch up the poor souls he decimates, so he can keep on dishing out the pain. A sly grin spreads across Alex's face as he echoes, time, huh. His mentor's face hardens, confirming, yeah, we're all alone out here. The world is a ticking time bomb, teetering on the edge of chaos, with the next Demon King's assault always just around the corner, a terrifying, shadowy beast with burning red eyes. His resolve solidifies, his voice echoing with unwavering commitment as he declares, even if it costs me everything, I will teach you as. He plans to use the healers to supercharge Alex's skill, a revelation that makes Alex's jaw drop as he blurts out, what did I do? Han Su Kang lays down the law, stating that Alex needs to master his power to avoid needing healers, hinting at a skill up, but making it crystal clear, refusal isn't an option. Alex can only manage a soft, the weight of humanity's fate pressing down, leaving him with no choice but to accept the brutal regimen. Han Su Kang mentally scoffs at Alex's apparent eagerness, then a system window flashes, revealing his own insane stats, level 292 swordsman, S-rank in everything from sword skills to immunity, powered by Sage's advice. Alex, still reeling, silently confirms his resolve, there's no backing out now. Han Su Kang throws down the gauntlet, questioning if Alex really thinks he's above this training, which makes Alex scoff internally. What could a measly level 292 possibly teach me? Dead serious, Han Su Kang doubles down, claiming he's giving genuine advice. Then, the mic drop, he casually reminds Alex that he was the one who swept the entire continent and personally took down the Demon King. The truth bomb lands, and Alex's jaw practically hits the floor, utterly stunned into silence. Alex's mind was blown, still trying to process the sheer audacity and power he'd just witnessed. Did the Imperial Knights even see that? But Han Su Kang just laughed, a booming, confident sound, practically screaming, if you're gonna lie, you better make it believable. All Alex could think was, this guy's seriously a hero. What a journey he's been on. Then he remembered the Dumpling King and started wondering about his own power, thinking it was time to check his stats. But then, a status window just popped up, showing the hero's insane power, Chaos Human, level 999, hero job, with skills like SS Spirit and S Endurance. Alex instantly knew a million of him wouldn't stand a chance against this guy. The window kept going, showing a mysterious F-rank skill he got after beating the Ghost Dragon King, a skill named the Black Den. Even though it was F-rank, the skill's name was chillingly simple, does not forget. But before Alex could even think about what that skill meant, BAM. A sudden, brutal impact rocked him, as the hero's fist came flying at his face. He snapped back, gasping in shock, as the hero's words hit him even harder than the punch. Real heroes don't stand around chatting before they strike in a real battle. Alex is already on the back foot, yelling at Han Su Kang for another surprise attack, but it's already too late. Boom! A devastating punch lands. And Alex is rocked, remembering Han Su Kang's exact same move from the first round, calling him out for being so childish. But Alex's eyes flare with electric blue energy, instantly seeing through the feint. He knows exactly what Han Su Kang is really aiming for. Boom! Han Su Kang unleashes a brutal kick, but Alex is ready, blocking it with lightning speed. Alex's hand glows, a shadowy figure beginning to form, a skill that would instantly show him the exact number of attacks coming his way. Schweik! The shadowy power surges, but Alex pulls back, deciding it would be too much, too unfair, to unleash his full strength. Kwang! The two warriors collide in an explosive blur, their power shaking the very air. Kwa! Mawang and the princess are absolutely stunned, their jaws practically on the floor from the sheer power on display. He slams into the dirt, but the relentless voice of his trainer cuts through the dust, barking at him to get up and stop holding back. Because on the battlefield, enemies don't wait. Alex, teeth clenched, lets out a furious curse. Another brutal kick sends him flying, and a desperate, chilling vow escapes his lips. He's down, but not out, his eyes burning with defiance, vowing to kill the man who will one day witness his rise as the legendary Sword King. But right now, Han Su Kang's voice cuts like a knife, reminding him of his pathetic weakness. His eyes narrow, challenging Alex's very right to teach anyone. Another savage kick connects, a harsh reminder of the Imperial Knight's current, crushing vulnerability. Han Su Kang's words cut deep, accusing him of being powerless to protect himself, yet still trying to teach others. He delivers the ultimate truth, don't judge by looks, but by true ability and decisive action. The brutal lecture continues. He's laying down the law, every fight is win or die, and a proud idiot like Alex. Ignoring this ironclad rule, is just asking for an early grave. But Alex, even while getting pummeled, is still spitting fire, a flashback to his arrogant past screaming, "You can't teach me." He's slammed to the ground, his body screaming from the relentless beatdown. Flashback time. A younger, cocky Alex, all suited up, is yelling, "You'll regret this, Leader Alex." Lenovo looks worried, but Alex just brushes it off, thinking, this isn't even a real fight. Then another memory hits, Han Su Kang's hand reaching out, a stern voice saying, "I gave you a shot, and you're trying to bail." Alex flinches, a small hat escaping him. Snap back to reality. Han Su Kang looks down, cutting to the chase, "Looks like I can't convince you with words, so let's skip the talk and get to the real lesson." Standing over the battered Alex, he taunts, "See? I'm a good teacher who actually protects his students, unlike some people, right?" Then, with a sudden, intense stare, he demands, "Do you even know what truly matters in a real fight?" Alex, battered but unbroken, locks eyes with him, a new fire of understanding and fierce resolve burning within him, ready for whatever comes next. In a flash of pure power, Han Su Kang unleashes a devastating, blue-charged blow, absolutely crushing his armored foe and sending them flying. A chillingly confident smile spreads across his face, revealing the ruthless logic behind his overwhelming power. Because for him, it's all about eliminating future threats before they even begin. A tiny, red-clad version of Han Su Kang is held in the colossal grip of a shadowy, muscular giant. Suddenly, he's on a shimmering purple platform, declaring, "You get it about the princess and the hero's help." A mysterious woman with dark hair and glasses, looking intense, lays it all out. I had to strip you of your past and your future burdens. She presses on, you couldn't just ignore the world's fate, so you had to let go of everything for the future. Then, with a piercing gaze, she challenges him, can't you forge a better future, even after one failure? Her hands ignite with a powerful purple glow as she confesses, and my biggest regret. I couldn't erase my own ID with my own hands. His eyes burning with resolve, he shouts, solution. A subtle smirk plays on her lips as she agrees, it's the ultimate move. And that Alex guy? He's about to become even more crucial. The deep talk continues. He's dropping wisdom bombs about ditching the past to rewrite the future, declaring that the ultimate win is conquering yourself. Then, the mysterious cloaked figure drops a bombshell, urging them to give the stubborn hero a shot, claiming tolerance is a hero's ultimate power, and Han Su-kang is absolutely stunned. But the masked enigma, with eyes blazing behind that red visor, fires back. They argue that kind of thinking means tolerating the Demon King, which is a total betrayal of everything a hero stands for. With a look that's a mix of deep thought and pure annoyance, Han Su-kang just declares, we wait. Then, a lone silhouette, sword ready, emerges in a blinding, ethereal light, a powerful symbol of a hero's unbreakable will. His eye bursts open, wide and bloodshot, veins practically popping around his iris. A bare foot slams down, grounding him, as a hand, rocking a golden cuff, clenches tight, hinting at a massive change coming. Meanwhile, two shadowy hooded figures are watching from the dark, one gasping in shock while the other lets out a chilling, knowing giggle. He's just chilling, taking in the view, but you know something big is about to drop. Then, out of nowhere, the news hits him like a truck, Imperial Knight leader Alex is gone. He's reeling, thinking about the kingdom's top swordsman, and all he can manage is a stunned, God. But then, a hand reaches out, a voice cutting through the panic, telling everyone to chill out. He stands up, making it clear there's no time for fear, because the guy who used to protect everyone is now out of the picture. A chilling grin splits his face, his eyes burning with a sinister purple glow, as he drops the bomb, you still have the hero nim, you know. A powerful blue aura flares around him, his determination now absolute. He's thinking back, remembering how he was literally built to be the ultimate hero for a decade, and how that whole, bright smile, calm the people, thing just didn't cut it. And he was so sure that strategy would work. His eyes blaze with electric blue power, a dark aura exploding around him as he locks in his new, ruthless resolve. Facing down a masked foe, he snarls, they're not scared because they think they're not powerless. With a chilling sneer, rot and filth fill their very core. Let's burn their faces into memory. He thinks back to Alex, the Imperial Knight's armored leader, admitting he'd have killed a scumbag like that without a second thought. But Alex was the Empire's military backbone, and his death would rock the entire kingdom. He'd taken him out with zero regrets, and now, he'd own every single consequence. Hands shooting skyward, a thunderous command rips through the air, Royal Knights. Assemble. Sword gripped tight, his back to the audience, he snarls, you want to die? You don't even need to. Two figures nearby flinch back in pure shock, gasping at his chilling declaration. Then, with a furious patter of footsteps, he takes off, a blur of motion. Han Su-kang stands before his soldiers, radiating an unspoken command. But elsewhere, a shadowy entity is watching, its red eyes burning with pure menace. He addresses his men, cutting straight to the chase, soldiers, as you've seen, Alex has died during the training. The shadowy figure, ever present, simply thinks. He continues, his voice unwavering, death during training happens sometimes. He drives his point home, the most important thing is that the real game is not violence. It is intuition. The shadowy entity's voice cuts through the air, a chilling challenge, is there anyone who wants to die for not understanding? Its red gaze burns brighter, a malevolent aura practically boiling off it. The soldiers visibly recoil, a cold shiver racing down their spines, their fear palpable in a choked gulp. The shadowy figure, shrinking into the background, delivers its final, chilling assessment, since no one answered, it seems that they have understood everything very well. This atmosphere feels like admiration towards me. This was it. His orientation was ending, and he was laying down the law, get rid of the problems tearing this country apart. Meanwhile, the shadowy entity just watched, its presence chilling. He could practically feel their confusion. You look like you don't quite get it, he challenged, his voice dripping with menace. Then I'll ask some serious questions with the back of my hand. He flashed a gloved hand, a brutal promise. Any knights with questions? This is the hand you'll want chopped off. A tense silence, then a smirk. No. Everyone's a quick study now, huh? He gave a sharp nod. Just as I expected from the Royal Knights. Now, we split into two teams. Lenoble stepped up, taking charge. Half of you are with me, the other half with him. Their target, the legendary Queen's Villa. And inside, he dropped the intel, open the third room, and you'll find a secret passage hidden inside the purple closet. He's laying down the plan, revealing that this path leads straight to a court. But a shocked voice cuts through the air, demanding, "Your Majesty." Elsewhere, the Princess of the Holy Empire is overseeing some serious business, with two figures strung up like trophies. Glowing with intense purple energy, she barks orders, "Wipe out all interferers and grab that evidence." But three shadowy figures are totally caught off guard, one sputtering, "No, I. How did the princess even get here?" Another shouts, "High Priestess, get out now." The princess's eyes blaze with dark power as she roars, "You idiots." A faint voice pleads, "The queen, there's still hope." Han Su-kang stands firm, announcing, "The hero will execute her." But a defiant voice retorts, "The hero, you can still be saved." Then, out of nowhere, a cloaked figure dramatically declares, "Knock knock. The princess has a delivery." Without a second thought, Han Su-kang explodes into action, sending a cloaked figure flying with a brutal kick while yelling, "Get back, all of you morons. These are the children of the dark gods." His eye flares with an electric blue, a silent challenge echoing in the void. Suddenly, a chibi guide pops up, declaring that this kind of service usually comes with a hefty price tag. A flashback or a thought bubble shows a fierce, mustachioed man, proclaiming he served the queen for free, utterly smitten by her grace, and swore to purify the entire kingdom, no matter what. Han Su-kang, the red-haired hero, confidently states he'll send a guide back to the second successor's palace, his former workplace, promising to squash any issues, which leaves the little guide utterly confused, asking what he means. Elsewhere, the Princess of the Holy Empire, eyes blazing with purple power, confronts an invisible Professor Corrales, revealing her mission, to secure vital evidence. She reminds the professor of her past triumphs, even in this barbaric land, boasting about solving countless problems. While she confesses her work isn't always flawless, she often does it for free. Han Su-kang wraps up his explanation, asserting that despite any flaws, he holds profound insight into the kingdom's populace, especially its deepest secrets. His hand tightens, a fierce resolve burning within him, knowing he needs even more solutions. But elsewhere, a chilling voice from a masked, shadowy figure cuts through the silence, asking, "Because Alex has died?" This revelation changes everything. Han Su-kang's eyes narrow, a grim determination setting in as he remembers how quickly things can fall apart, becoming a total mess, just like the first round. With an unshakable will, he proclaims, "I will solve all of the problems." Suddenly, a booming voice shouts, "Everyone freeze." It's the hero and his royal knights, making a grand entrance. Without missing a beat, the hero raises his hand, and drops the hammer, "Arrest all of them." Fast forward 5 days. Inside a majestic castle, frantic shouts erupt, begging for the majesty and highness to intervene and save them. And the word from inside the castle? The hero is absolutely bonkers. Meanwhile, a bald, bearded figure on a throne looks utterly distraught, lamenting the harsh lesson he learned after joining the hero's party, and how it exposed a massive flaw in the world's entire system. He screams, "You call him a hero? He's the worst villain. And the culprit? The level system itself." Leveling up isn't just about numbers, it grants incredible boons, like defying age and boosting stamina. Imagine reaching the absolute peak of human performance, like a super athlete, all by hitting level 5 in this insane world. But here's the catch, the brutal truth, there are shockingly few ways to actually grind out that precious experience for leveling. You have to fight with everything you've got. And then ask yourself, how much blood have you spilled, how much have you slaughtered just to get ahead? Welcome to the brutal reality of the FFF class Trashero. If you wanted to live long and prosper in this harsh reality, you had no choice but to chase those levels. Warrior types, the ones who live for the thrill of battle and monster hunts, they thrive here, because this barbaric world offers an endless supply of monsters to fight. But then there are the scholar types, the ones who avoid the front lines, and they're completely screwed without battle connections. Someone screaming, "Your Majesty," as the legendary hero, Han Su-kang, makes a dramatic entrance. This guy, ever since he was a teenager, was basically a system breaker, ending up in prison by year 20 of his first run. And a dark-haired woman is spilling the tea, saying he literally sacrificed families just to power himself up. Then another guy, a dark-haired man, is totally freaking out, yelling it's all a political plot. The hero's playing games, and he got caught for the same reason back in year 7. Even the bald guy is screaming about it, confirming he got caught for the exact same reason in year 7. But then, Han Su-kang, with a terrifying shadowy monster behind him, drops a bombshell, admitting he was literally about to throw them all into the ocean and drown them. But wait, he found a better solution. He calls out to some light-haired guy, who immediately snaps to attention, calling him Hero Nim. Han Su-kang then turns, asking the light-haired man if he caught all that, especially the part about how much he loves experience points. The light-haired man, looking totally determined, confirms he's on board, saying he knows very well what's up. With a terrifying purple aura erupting around him, Han Su Kong declares his chilling mission, to keep the waters clean. Han Su Kong, spear poised, looms over a defeated foe, boldly stating his plan to install a new, cleaner, for the kingdom, replacing Alex. With deliberate steps, he closes in on his target. A chilling gaze falls upon his victim, who is nothing more than a stepping stone, a source of experience points, bait for the true hunt. Suddenly, a game notification explodes across the screen, confirming the porter has utterly annihilated Noblemana with a devastating strike, racking up insane damage. Then, a brilliant orb of 6 million experience points bursts forth, with a satisfying crunch, as he effortlessly claims his massive reward. But the spectacle isn't lost on everyone. 3 noblemen, including the bald man, are utterly aghast, one of them screaming in shock, questioning if this brutal end was truly deserved. Another woman lets out a sharp gasp, her mind racing as she grasps the sheer, terrifying efficiency of this move. Tedious missions, instantly cleared. He mentally applauds his own ruthless efficiency, but these executions are just the warm-up, a mere appetizer for what's to come. All that meticulous planning, all that effort to gather these guests, it was all for the main event, the true feast. Tied to a stone pillar, the queen is screaming, pleading her innocence to the king. Her son, a prince, is on his knees, begging his father to stop this madness, as the queen herself wonders if she's truly being abandoned. It's confirmed, this is the queen, captured by the demon devil, and someone else is screaming for the hero to save the king. The princes are also caught up in this, captured after the first battle round for supposedly committing crimes to fund the war. The queen's desperate cries just keep going, her voice ringing out as Han Su Kang's inner thoughts just brush them off as useless mouths, reminding them they called themselves princes. A single tear escapes the queen's eye, her face a mask of pure despair. A cold, chilling smile spreads across Han Su Kang's face as he gives the order, execute them all. The bald man, a clear authority figure, whips his head to Han Su Kang, asking if he heard that right, begging for another chance for the condemned, as the queen and prince are still tied up in the back. The bald man is absolutely stunned, reminding Han Su Kang that the royal family is sacred, and that executing both the queen and the princes is a massive deal. As the protests against his decree echoed, a thought formed in his mind, dismissing such sentiments as utterly foolish and weak. His expression hardened. And he silently condemned them as nothing more than barbarians. He knew he needed a deeper understanding, for if he was to become the king of this world, he had to grasp the fate of those who betrayed the crown, and the consequences awaiting the weak. With cold resolve, he declared the queen a worshipper of Satan, and the princes, children of Satan who had sold their country to demons. Every citizen knew the truth, he asserted, they knew who had betrayed the holy bloodline and the nation, branding them all as traitors. Therefore, he commanded, they would be executed according to the kingdom's laws, his gaze piercing as he demanded understanding. A glowing blue blade descended, the silent reply confirming the grim understanding. A piercing scream erupted as the blade struck, sealing their fate. The desperate screams of "Mother" and "MOM" ripped through the air, only to be met with a cold, decisive query, "What? Finish off the princes too?" Elsewhere, a burly man, shielding a child, gazes up in awe, his voice booming with approval, "Yes. Hero M." The system flashes, confirming the brutal efficiency, declaring the porter has defeated the queen and defeated Prince A. The grim tally escalates, as Prince B2 succumbs to the porter's decisive blow. Each execution fuels his ascent, as the porter racks up crucial experience points. Han Su Kang surveys the aftermath, a chilling thought forming, I hope the princes don't fight back and go to their mother. Once the queen and her sons were branded as Satan worshippers, the public silence was deafening, no one dared to question their swift demise. When even the royal family faced such absolute judgment, who would possibly object when the task of judging such evil was already so arduous? In truth, the masses had been clamoring for the porter's righteous judgment, understanding that the greater the villain, the richer the experience points he would ultimately reap. Check out this status card. It's the life of a slave, starting at level 1, 365 days ago, now a human farmer with judgment and endurance skills. He turns his head, and someone's calling him Hero Nim. He gives a thumbs up, and then gets told he needs a perfect wife. What? The guy quickly clarifies, he wants to make our hero the king. He goes on, saying the current dumpling king is out, and our hero is the real king who will bring peace and stability. The dumpling king is just snoozing away, totally clueless, while Han Su Kang remembers executing him the day after he started looking for the princess. Apparently, the king was trying to clear things up by making up some wild story about the queen and princess worshipping demons. And he was going to use the princess in a forced marriage, but the real problem was the firstborn princess herself, because that was also a way to get rid of her. With a fierce look, Han Su Kang asks himself why he should leave them alone when he's trying to purify the whole kingdom. The old king, Petinar, screams in pure agony, his face twisted as the shadowy monster absolutely dominates him. And now, the final stage kicks off, bringing a brand new guardian to this purified kingdom. A deep, powerful bell tolls. Its sound absolutely booming through the air. Surrounded by a massive crowd of guests, the man in the blue cape gets called out for his gloomy face. A cheerful voice hypes him up, reminding him he's about to meet the royal family, and today is his moment to shine. Hieronym, still unsure, wonders if he'll actually be okay if he takes on the role of husband. But the cheerful voice quickly shuts down his worries, insisting he's absolutely perfect for a husband. But his inner monologue drops a bombshell: he brutally murdered the princess' entire family. He's thinking about marrying her, and it's a lot, but then his inner voice cuts in, saying it's basically an execution. With a chilling grin, he declares, this whole thing is pure justice. And he's totally aware that her family, her mother and brothers-in-law, are still haunting her thoughts, living proof of what he's done. Elsewhere, the princess, looking stunning in her white gown and veil, is seen from behind, but she's surrounded by creepy shadowy figures with glowing red eyes. The rumor is she's a Satan worshipper's daughter, and even though she's innocent, that dark cloud hangs over her, with a weird, fleeting thought about her underwear. Back to him, he decides that even if those rumors were true, the evidence just isn't strong enough to stop him. He thumps his chest, telling himself to trust the hero, because he's got this. Meanwhile, a serious-looking man in fancy robes is deep in thought, telling himself he needs to focus on the most important thing right now.